Chapter 16. Zabuza said, well, I don't know much since we stayed at this place in the woods Gato provided for us. I know he's got 2 mercenaries working for him as bodyguards and several dock workers and thugs. Maybe 100. I can't be more specific, but we stayed away from populated parts of the village so the old man couldn't get a description of us to alert Konoha, who would alert Mizu. Naruto sweat dropped and said, that's it, where were you supposed to get your pay from? How do you contact Gato? Anything. Zabuza said, cool it, kid. Gato living at the Wave Lord's mansion, and that is where I am supposed to meet him after I kill the old man. Missing means don't contact our clients for problems. We either deal with them ourselves or die. Naruto rubbed his temples and blinked and quickly put his hands together and said Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. As 10 clones appeared and Naruto unsealed a scroll, which he unsealed several scrolls and bottles of ink and said begin sorting that info. As he gave the clones the ink and scrolls. Ten said, what's up, Naruto? Naruto said, too much info right now, give me a few minutes to sort it out. Then I'll tell you. Hibi said, hey Gaki. What can you do about our 2 guests here? I mean, they agreed to let you seal them. Naruto thought a moment and said, Kakashi-sensei, Gai-sensei. Do either of you have a problem having control over Zabuza? Zabuza said, what do you mean control? Naruto said, I'm going to place a seal on you that will allow you to go 100 yards away from either Gai or Kakashi. You will have access to your chakra, but if you exceed that limit your chakra will seal off and you will begin to feel pain similar to the Hyuga cage bird seal, except it will start out as just a tingle, then a slight burning, then it will feel like you're on fire, and then extreme pain until you either pass out or die. The only way to stop it is to get back inside the range of Kakashi and Gai, who will have a control seal on them. If you act suspicious or attack us, then either of them will be able to activate the seal on its highest level, stopping you. Also, if you think killing them and taking the seal to escape, it would also be a bad idea because the seal that gives you the range to move around will be encoded to their chakra signature, and if one of them dies, then if you're not close enough to the other it will be like you ran outside of the probation area you are given. I'm asking both Gai and Kakashi because I know that with your chakra sealed off either of them will be able to stop or kill you. I am also going to ask Nico and Hibi to do the same for Haku. Same condition, but I am also putting a bloodline protection seal that will protect her bloodline but can also be used to seal off her bloodline if she breaks her probation. You may be Tenten's uncle, then again, you could have already knew who we were and had this all planned to get close to us. With what we are preparing for, I wouldn't doubt the second possibility. A clone said, hey boss, check this out. Naruto blinked and said, what? As he walked over and looked at the map the clones had made by putting the scrolls together and said, so you got all the info already? Another clone said, yeah, we did. Naruto said, alright, start explaining what you got while I begin sealing these 2. Zabuza, you're first. Zabuza frowned and said, you do know what you are doing, right? Naruto glared at him and Kakashi said, Naruto is actually Konoha greatest seal master. He's already destroyed Orochimaru curse seal as well as created several other seals. Zabuza said, right, what do I need to do? Naruto said, just sit down and shut up while I draw the seal over your heart. Zabuza glared at him and sat down and Naruto began to draw a seal as everyone moved to the 5 feet by 4 foot map on the ground. A clone said, now as you can see this is an aerial view of Wave. Right here is the bridge that the old man is building. There is a crane, a few boxes and some bags of cement, a mixer, and metal supports to go in the concrete. Other than that there isn't really anything else on the bridge. Over here we have the village, and let's just say my childhood would be a good example of how things are going there. There are 37 mercenaries stationed around the village. All the people cleared the streets as a 5 o'clock curfew is in effect there, and anyone caught outside is used as entertainment by the mercenaries. There was 40 mercenaries who caught a little girl before she could escape, and my bird clones used wind manipulation on its wings and sliced their heads off of the other 3 mercs. Zabuza said, those birds are clones and yours. Naruto glared and said, unless you want to spend the rest of the month as woman on her period, you will shut up. I got the memories of freezing to death when Frosty over here froze the bird and knocked it into the water. And who told you to stop? Keep going, lazy ass clone. The clone said, kiss my blonde ass. A kunai killed that clone and Ten said, we really need to address your mental evaluation, Naruto. Naruto said, no, there's nothing wrong with my mind, it's my personality that's fucked up. Now one of you continue. As he continued to draw the seal. Another clone said right now the only business still open after 5 p.m. is a bar that is owned by Gato, which has several hotel rooms above the bar and is rented out by the hour with a slave chained in each room, and I don't mean just woman either. Causing everyone to shiver. The clone continued, anyways, over here we have a set of warehouses. There are a total of 12 men guarding these warehouses. After checking the inside of them, we found 2 Iwanins Chunans I say building a bunker under the warehouses. The crates inside are stored with food, medicine, weapons and armor. Kakashi said, wow, what are they doing here? The clone said, I'll get to that in a minute. Now over here at these warehouses there are 12 more men guarding them. Inside are shipping crates on top of shipping crates that have people inside of them. How many I can't be sure, but I did find 3 very interesting prisoners, the Godei Mizukage and her 2 bodyguards. At this everyone's eyes widen, and Zabuza said, her when the hell did they replace Yagura, and who is it? The clone said, Mei Terumi. Zabuza screamed, what? As Naruto said, Seal. As Zabuza instantly felt pain and Naruto saw Zabuza fall to his knees, and Naruto pulled out 2 tags and said, stick those on the top of your hands and send chakra into them so they can transfer to your skin, and hurry. Until you do, no brows is being tortured. Kakashi and Guy quickly grabbed them and after putting them on, Zabuza began to relax, and Tenten glared at Naruto and said, what did you do that for? Naruto said, Zabuza been who knows how long doing things his way. Sooner or later he would have tempted himself to see how bad the pain would be by trying to escape. I simply sped the process up. I trust I don't have to do the same to you. As he looked at Haku. Haku said, no, but where will you have to place the seal? Naruto sighed and pulled out a scroll and unsealed a huge towel and said, this is the best I can give you, and if you want you can go behind the tree for some modesty and call me when you're ready, but it will have to go over your heart also. Haku took the towel and went behind a tree, and the clone said, as I was saying, Mei is currently being held prisoner in one of the crates along with some guy named Ao who dresses like Haku, so I am assuming he's a member of the Hunter Nines. Zabuza frowned and said, worse, he's the head of Kiri Hunter Nin division. He got the title after he killed a rude assassin who came to kill Yagura. As a reward, Ao was given the assassin eye that he lost in serving the Yonde Mizukage of Byakugan eye. Both Miji and Hinata eyes widened at this as other frowned. The clone said, yeah, I can tell by the talismans that he has on his head that it is both a gift and a curse. It can't be transferred or removed. Anyone who attempts to do so will be killed. Even Ao. As Haku called Naruto over after he gave Hibi and Nico the same type of seals that he gave Kakashi and Guy, he asked, what about the other guy? The one with that fucked up sword. The clone said, oh yeah, him. They call him Chojuro. He's got this double-handled sword thing wrapped on his back. He has sharp teeth like a shark and wears glasses and looks like headphones. Zabuza, who had gotten up, said, so he's a member of the 7 swordsmen, I wonder who died. As he saw everyone looking at him and sighed and said, once you're a member of the 7 swordsmen it's for life. You don't replace a member until an old one dies. That is why even though I tried to kill Yagura, I'm still considered one of the 7. Besides being swordsmen, all our teeth are sharpened like sharks, using a jutsu to help separate us from other swordsmen and to scare our enemies. Naruto, who came back around and said, well, Haku done. So we have the Godei Mizukage, the head of the Hunter Nines of Kiri, and another member of the 7 swordsmen. Anything else? Ino said, shouldn't you already know? I mean, you get the memories also. Naruto said, you're right, I do. But if you ever been in my apartment, you would notice that I've come up with a way to sort the information into an easier way of getting it. Normally it's like a massive jumbled up information, which is why I have clones work on specific things. Like on this I had one work on building a detailed map of the island, one on building locations, one on enemy locations, one on VIP, one on targets of ability, and one on threat assessments. That way I don't actually have to spend hours or days looking through the memories and possibly lose some of it. Sakura said, well, that explains why you went to so much work to set your apartment up like that. Naruto nods, and one clone said, boss, I still think you should look at this. Naruto sighed and said, what is it? As he walked over to the clone. The clone said, look at the map from this spot. Naruto looked at it and said, what? The clone said, don't you see it? Naruto said, see what? What are you wanting me to look at? The clone said, the seals, boss. The seals. Naruto blinked as he looked at the map and his eyes widened and said, what the hell? As he bent down and began to look at the map closer. Sasuke said, what is it, Dobe? Naruto narrowed his eyes and said, is this accurate? as he looked at the clone. The clone said, I went over the memories several times to make sure. It's real. Naruto frowned and said, but in a quieter, confused voice. Tenten asked, what is it he's talking about? Naruto, who had his eyes narrowed, and said to Tazuna, how much do you know about the history of Wave? Tazuna said, some. I've lived there all my life. Why? Naruto asked, who built the drainage canal system? Tazuna said, the people of Wave put the locks up. It was a group thing to help keep the island from sinking. Naruto shook his head and said, no, I mean who actually built the canals themselves. Tazuna blinked and said, no one, they're natural. Naruto said, no, that is something I am sure about. These canals are not natural, they were created by someone who was extremely powerful and extremely smart. Kakashi said, what are you going on about, Naruto? Naruto said, look here, the smaller lines in the background of important places, look at them closely and tell me what you see. Kakashi looked at it, as did the others, and Kakashi said with a surprised voice, they are seals. Naruto said, but not just any seals. I recognize the design, it's the basic seal design for my 4 heavenly swords. Jutsu, someone's designed this to create a clone of themselves in the future to deliver a message or do something. The thing is, I have to know for sure. As he stood up and began to go through hand signs slowly. Kurenai said, what are you doing? Naruto, who continued with the hand signs, said, hand signs and seals are both nothing more than a form of molding and manipulating chakra. Since I've studied so much about both seals and hand signs, breaking them down to be used in either case, I can tell which hand signs would be used to do the same thing with seals, so I am reversing it and transferring those seals over to hand signs. As he finished, and a puff of smoke covered the clearing. When the smoke cleared, a very old-looking woman in a traditional Chinese-style dress stood there, and several gasped as they saw the look of how closely the woman was to Tenten. The woman said, hello to whoever has found this. I know this must be exciting for you having figured this out, but this message is for a very specific person. Myself. I am Tenten Ukami Uzumaki. At this, everyone was wide-eyed, and Tenten and Naruto both looked at each other in shock. The woman said, if things work out like I think they will, then I hope this will get to me before it's too late. To prove I am who I am, I will tell a secret that nobody knows. The night before the wave mission, I wasn't at my cabin. I wasn't even in Konoha. Everyone turned to Tenten, who was frowning, and Ino said, is that true? Tenten glanced at Naruto, who said, yeah, it's true, and neither was I. Before anyone could say anything, the old Tenten said, now I won't say anything else about that, and if you are not me, then you will find most of this boring or confusing, but this message was for myself. I'm sure you have many questions, and most I won't be able to explain because I don't want to ruin the surprise of life. I won't explain how I am doing this, or how I am even here. All I am going to say is you must warn your father-in-law. The father of the other fiancé is dead. Killed by the man who shed skin like a snake. He took the form of the man he killed and will use it to strike at the will of fire. While doing so, he will kill the man who took 2 cherries in 1 day and paid for it with months of service. In order to save the will of fire and the thief, the lost prince of Whirlpool must go to the bottom of the whirlpool in the lighthouse. At the bottom of it is a scroll. It is both a blessing and a curse. The prince must get it and use it before entering the land of his first half of his real last name. If he does, then the thief and the will of fire will be safe. If he doesn't, then both will be lost. All hope rests on the shoulders of the lost prince, and if he is able to save the mistress of boiling lava. Be warned, though, the old wolf of stone and his stone army waits for the prince to get revenge for the cub he lost to the coward of light. Without the whirlpool's curse, the prince will fall. Have faith in the prince, and be sure to kick the maiden of wind in the twat twice. Good luck, and enjoy the journey I am. Before she disappeared in a puff of smoke. Once she was gone, everyone was looking at Tenten, who said, okay, I'm confused as hell. Naruto said it was coded so if someone else got it they wouldn't know it, or at least know all of it. It's obvious that she said the Kazekage is dead or will be dead, and he will be impersonated by Orochimaru. It's also obvious that Orochimaru is going to attack Konoha. The lost prince was me, and she meant I need to dive into the bottom of the whirlpool in the whirlpool seal. I don't know who the stone wolf is, but I'm guessing it's an Iwanin that wants revenge for what dad did to them. I have no idea who the mistress of boiling lava is. The maiden of wind might be the Kazekage daughter. Who would the cherry thief be? Tenten said the cherry thief was my dad. I won't explain, and I knew it was code talk. I was just confused on who the lava mistress is, and how in the hell that was me as an old woman. Naruto said I have no clue on the last one, but I did understand the other part of the message. The only way this could have been done was with my help, and she said for you to enjoy the journey. She is. Not was. Somehow I am still alive when you're enjoying life. Tenten smiled and said good save, so what should we do? Naruto looked at everyone and said what do you think? Zabuza said I don't know how that just happened, but if it was real, the mistress of boiling lava would be Mei. She possessed both the lava release bloodline as well as the boiling release bloodline. Asuma said the old wolf is the Sandaime Tsuchikage if this was real. It was a message warning us that Iwa is coming after you. Zabuza said, but the thing I found interesting was the name she called herself Uzumaki. Naruto said so what about it? Zabuza said you wrote the seal on my chest left-handed. Skin on skin contact. I can't see it but I know what I felt. Naruto eyes widened as he paled, as did Tenten, and Kushina said, oh, is there something you both want to tell us? Naruto said nope. Kushina said in a motherly scolding tone, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, you will tell me this instant what is going on. I know what Zabuza was gesturing toward. Now tell me why are you wearing a ring on your ring finger? Naruto gave her a deadpan expression and said at that tone, don't work on me. I've faced the Shinigami literally. I've been closer to death more times than most Chunin. If I said there is nothing to tell, it either means there is nothing to tell or it is none of your business. Kushina said it is my business, you're my son and she's my goddaughter. I have the right to know what's going on in your life. Naruto said, and that is exactly why you don't know. It's my life. He was stopped by Tenten who placed her hand on his shoulder. Naruto sighed and Tenten said he's mostly right, it's our life, the reason we weren't in the village and were late getting to the gates is because we wanted something that was ours. It was our wedding. Everyone's eyes widened and Kushina said you got married. As a shock look was replaced with a hurt one. Naruto said yeah. Kushina said but why? Tenten said because it was our wedding. If we told you it couldn't have been just our wedding. It would have become the Yondaime's son and the Ukami clan heiress wedding. Hundreds of people would have had to come because it was socially required, the same people who made Naruto life a living hell by trying to kill him for protecting them. Dad would have wanted to go all out as best as he could afford to make it special, and you would have tried to make peace between Naruto and his father, who would have had tried to earn points by sucking up, but would have blown it because people would be coming up to him sucking up, ruining our wedding. Naruto doesn't love the other girl. She's marring him out of duty. All she is and will most likely be is nothing more than a bitch to give birth to a kid for the sake of a treaty, and yet if we waited to get married and do it at the same time with her, it wouldn't be our wedding, it would be the son of the Yondaime, the Kazekage daughter and some minor heiress. Our vows to each other were ours and ours alone. What was said and what was offered was only for our ears and hearts. We didn't fall in love because of an arrangement. We fell in love because we trust each other and cherish each other, not because you said so, but because we actually do. We've been each other's strength and weakness, each other courage and fear. If you actually love your husband, then you know what I am saying. Kushina looked down and Naruto said also, it's because I couldn't trust you. You already broke my trust once by listening in on my conversation with him and had everyone here witness what happened and what was said. Kushina said I see. Tenten said we didn't want anyone to know because we were planning to let you have your big wedding and ceremony if we couldn't figure some way out of Naruto marrying that other girl. That would have been the wedding for you and everyone else to come to. This was just going to be our secret. Naruto said, but you thought you had to meddle in our affairs, and so did you. As he kicked Zabuza in the leg that Haku was healing, causing Zabuza to flinch. Zabuza said, well, excuse me. I just met my niece who I just found out about and I'm trying to figure out as much about her as I can. Naruto said, well, ask her. The only other info I got is that Gato has 60 men on guard around the Wavelord's mansion where Gato's living. He's also got 5 slave women there for his personal use. That's all the info I was able to receive. Kakashi said, well, at least we have a general idea of what to expect now. I don't like the fact we got those Iwa Anins here and there could be more in underground tunnels. Iwa can make them in less than a week. Was that real, Naruto, not one of your tricks or pranks? Naruto frowned and said, Kakashi-sensei, I may be better than average, but I don't know shit about earth manipulation, and even with my reserves there is no way I could have dug those canals in the shape they are in since we graduated the academy, and before that I knew jack shit about seals. And do you honestly think the people of Wave would let me come here and dig those seals? This is legit. I may be a prankster, but even I would never dream of something like this. Kakashi said very well, the message said there's a scroll you need to get. If you and Tenten went through all the trouble to set it up, then it must be important. Naruto sighed and said right. Watch my body. As he walked over and sat down in a meditative position. A few moments later, Tenten said he's inside the seal. Kushina said you talk with your uncle. I'll watch him. Tenten frowned and said all right, but if anything happens. Kushina said I'll summon you immediately. As she sat down in a meditative position also. Naruto was standing beside the whirlpool when Kushina walked up and she said, are you sure about this, Naruto? Naruto said no, but if we set this up, it must be important. Kushina said I should warn you, when you enter the whirlpool it will be like that storm you were in, except much more extreme. This whirlpool is created with all the knowledge of everyone connected to it, and if you're not careful it might consume you. Also don't fight the pull, flow with it, use it to your advantage. While the currents of the whirlpool are strong and hard to break free of, the center of the whirlpool at the bottom is also the weakest and easiest place to break free of. Naruto bit his lip and said I see, that makes sense actually. Kushina said I'm sorry son, I just. Naruto turned and hugged her and said I know mom, I know that you didn't mean to do it and you want to make up for lost time, but I'm not a kid in the eyes of the law. I am already an adult. I've already killed mom, my hands are stained with blood. Respect me as your son, but also respect me as an adult. Kushina said it's hard, I have to cut the apron strings before they were ever tied. Naruto said just knowing you love me and didn't abandon me was enough mom. Knowing that was one of the 3 best presents you ever gave me. Kushina said what were the other 2? Naruto said my life and my love. You knew Tenten would make me happy even before I was born. Because of that, I now have the greatest wife in the world. Kushina smiled and said so do I need to start worrying about grandkids. Naruto blushed and said mom. Kushina laughed and Naruto smiled before he jumped into the air and backflipped and dived into the middle of the whirlpool. Kushina choked as she saw this and bit her lip and closed her eyes and said whoever is up there watching over us, please return my son to me and let him and his wife have a long happy life. As she sat down, Naruto, who was being pulled down, began to swim with the current as memories and feeling hit him over and over again. Back with the others, Tenten frowned as she felt Naruto emotions and thought please be safe. Niji walked over to her and said can I speak with you privately? Tenten nods and both walked away from the others. When they were a distance away she asked so what did you want? Niji said what are we? Tenten sighed and said I know what you're asking, but answer me this, if Naruto didn't trick you would you have asked me out? Niji said no, as Naruto said I am betrothed currently to Hanabi-sama. Tenten said I see, well, did you like me? Niji said truthfully, I did care for you but not like you claimed you cared for me. I think it was more of a sisterly feeling. We have been through a lot, and don't tell Lee I said that, but I actually feel more of a connection to both of you as family than I do my clan. Tenten smiled and said so when you asked me out it was a brother kind of thing. Niji said yes. Tenten said good. I don't have to cut off your balls now, but I do care for you also, just not like Naruto. I can't explain it. Niji said unique, I believe he can change fate. Tenten glared at him and said anyways, what I wanted to talk to you about is I wanted to tell you the truth, not like it came out earlier. I wanted to ask you if you had feelings for me, and if you would help us to keep our marriage a secret. You heard why we wanted our wedding private. Niji said yes, and I could understand that. Truthfully, I'm surprised it took you this long to do it. Tenten's eyes widened and said what? Niji said my eyes see everything. I could tell you were falling for him. I could tell by the way you walked to the way you talked that something inside of you had changed and you were falling for him more and more. Also don't tell him, but I saw through his act. Tenten blinked and became shocked as the words registered and said then, but Niji smirked and said what Naruto said about prodigies is true. We do look for the easiest way to get strength. My path was learning to read body language and using it to my advantage. Tenten said, but that would mean you jerk. As she smiled as she punched him in the shoulder. Niji said you're one to talk. Now come on. I'm sure you're worried about your husband. Tenten smiled and said thanks Niji. Niji said fate decided long before we ever met that you and he were to be together, considering somehow you both broke the bonds of time together, somehow shows this. Even escaping to a different time you can't escape fate. Tenten glared at his back and said sometimes I wonder what it was that I saw in you. Niji turned and said you liked my eyes because of the color and you liked my ass. Ten became red and said pervert. As they both came back to the group, Ten was still glaring at Niji and Zabuza asked everything okay. Ten said yeah. Nothing to worry about. As she glanced over at Naruto and bit her lip. Chapter 17. It was half an hour later when Kushina, who was sitting by the whirlpool, noticed something. At first it was minor, but slowly building up. The whirlpool was stopping. After the water completely stopped, blonde hair could be seen coming out of the top of the water, slowly followed by Naruto's head and then his body as he walked out of the water with a huge 3-foot-long and 2-foot-thick scroll in his hands. Once he stepped out of the water onto the shore, he fell down on his ass and said, "Damn, this had better been worth it." Kushina said, "Are you alright, son?" Naruto said, "Besides the fact I saw countless memories from Kyuubi and saw the day I was conceived from both yours and Dad's view, yeah, I'm pretty good." In a sarcastic yet amused tone. Kushina blushed and Naruto said, "By the way, I'm killing Dustin for what he did to you." Kushina said, "I already got my revenge, so you can't do anything to him." Naruto frowned and said, "I can still prank his ass anyways, come on, I'll meet you outside with the others." Kushina said, "But what about the scroll?" Naruto said, "Just trust me." As he stood up and walked to his exit. A few moments later in the real world, Naruto yawned before he opened his eyes and held both hands flat out in front of him, and his hands began to glow as chakra began to take shape and took the shape of a scroll before it became solid, shocking everyone. Kushina said, "How did you do that?" Naruto said, "Don't worry about it. Let's see what was so important." And thought or see the looks on everyone's faces when they hear what I suspect after I saw some of Kyuubi's memories. As he opened the scroll and the scroll began to smoke before a puff of smoke, and another Naruto who looked to be in his 60s stood there, but he was wearing a white robe and black tinted glasses. Old Naruto or Honoru said, "Hello, so it looks like this is just outside of Wave since I see Tazuna and the others, I guess my wife was right." Kushina said, "Naruto, is that you?" Honoru said, "Hello mother. It's good to see you after all these years. How are you?" As a look of sadness briefly crossed his face. Kushina said, "I'm well, but why are you here?" "I mean," Honoru said, I wish I could tell you mother. I wish I could tell all of you, but what I have to say can only be heard by Naruto and Ten. It is for them alone. I know you all don't like this, but it's something personal. It's how to cure him of dying an early death. It's a secret though, please accept my answer." Kakashi said, "Very well. Will this take long?" Honoru said, "About 15 minutes at most. If you would both follow me." As he began to walk away. After going about a mile away with both Naruto and Ten following him, Honoru said, "If you would both sit down and listen. I don't have much time and I have a lot to say. A lot of it will make you confused at first, but hold all questions until the end." Both nod and Honoru said, "I partially lied back there. While I do know the cure to heal you, and will tell you it wasn't the actual reason my wife and I went through all the trouble we did to do this, as hard as this is to believe, you need to know the truth about what's going on. You see, while I am in fact an older you, I have lived by another name for many years. That name is the Six Realm Sage." Causing both Ten and Naruto's eyes to widen. Honoru saw Naruto was about to speak and said, "No questions now. I know you're asking how is that possible. Well, it's possible because of my enemy, the enemy who was responsible for the Kyuubi attack, responsible for the Uchiha massacre, responsible for the attack on Whirlpool, responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of people and so many more horrible things." Ten said, "Who?" Honoru said, "I can't tell you, I won't tell you. There is a chance to stop it from happening, but the only way it can happen is if you don't know who he is until you stop the genjutsus. You see, as crazy as this sounds, there is a genjutsu that has been placed on the moon. This genjutsu was created with the sole purpose of killing me. All those deaths, the Kyuubi attack, the Uchiha massacre, all 3 great shinobi wars, the destruction of Whirlpool, all of these things were done by this genjutsu. All to destroy me before I have to confront the man responsible for casting the genjutsu." Naruto asked, "But how is that possible?" Honoru said, "There is a secret in the Uchiha clan that almost nobody knows about. There are in fact 2 types of Sharingans. The Sharingan of the hand and the Sharingan of the mind. Most Uchiha have the Sharingan of the hand, but every once in a while an Uchiha is born with the Sharingan of the mind. Those Uchiha who are born with that one are called Uchihas instead of Uchihas because they have the power to bend or destroy a person with a simple glance from their eyes. They can make you do anything you want with their eyes. Even kill yourself, but there is another secret that is even more feared in the Uchiha clan. An Uchiha can feel guilt over killing their best friend, and the guilt gives them what is known as the Mangekyo Sharingan. It is incredibly powerful but comes at a price. The more it is used, the more the person who has it goes blind. The only way to save their eyesight is to not use it or to take the eyes from another Uchiha, usually a sibling. By doing this, the Uchiha gets an even more powerful Sharingan and doesn't have to worry about going blind. But you see, if an Uchiha or an Uchiwa took the eye from someone who had the other eye, they would gain extreme powers. An Uchiha gaining the Sharingan of an Uchiwa gains the power to alter reality around them limitedly to where they could become as fake as a simple bunshin as an attack passes through them but then becomes solid a moment later. They also gain some ability to control people with Genjutsu. Madara Uchiha falls into this category. Both teens' eyes widen and honor is said, but an Uchiwa who gains the eyes of an Uchiha power with Genjutsu becomes nearly absolute, where they can alter reality on a huge scale to where Genjutsu becomes reality. My enemy, the one who is behind all of this, falls into that category. The only limit he has is the amount of chakra he has at his disposal. What I am here to do is to warn you about this man and about what I call the keys. Certain people who are deciding factors in the events of the world that is created by the Sharingan. These people are people that my enemy knows stand a chance in either weakening me or destroying me. The attack on the village of Whirlpool was an attempt to kill Mom so I would never be born. The first two shinobi wars were used to try and kill Dad by killing his parents, since my enemy doesn't know who his parents are. Ten said are as in still alive. Honor said yes, Dad is in fact the son of Tsunade Senju and Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Sandaime Hokage. Naruto breath froze in his throat as he heard this, and Honoru said that is how the son I had was able to possess the Mokuton bloodline. Naruto said how is Gigi? Honoru said Tsunade little brother had died on a mission when she was just a little older than you both are. Since he was the last family she had left in the world at the time his death hurt her greatly, she tried to drink her pain away. Now her teammate Orochimaru thought that she should just get over it and go on with her life. Jiraiya though tried to comfort her, but he got drunk and made a pass at her and she nearly killed him. Hurt him enough to put him in the hospital. She was arrested and Gigi came and got her out of jail and took her back to his place to try and help comfort her. Somehow one thing led to another and boom, Dad was conceived. All I know really for sure is that Tsunade didn't know she was pregnant. War was going on, she went into labor in her 7th month. By the time I found this out, Gigi was dead, so I can't be sure what happened. Tsunade was told the baby lunges was not mature enough and passed away. All I can tell you is that he did what he thought was best for everyone. Naruto said, but Honoru said war was going on. If Tsunade wouldn't have become a Sannin by becoming a mother, then Konoha would have fallen and Dad would have died and we wouldn't have been born. She was too young to become a mother and Gigi couldn't have taken care of a baby while trying to lead an army to save the village. If he could, I'm sure he would have taken us in instead of what happened. There are hundreds of thousands what if and could have and should haves as well as what ifs. Think about Hayashi Hinata, father. I bet there are days that he wishes he could go back in time and shove his brother out of his mom's twat first instead of him coming out first. Both teens blushed at the thought of that and Honora smirked and said all we can do is do our best and live with the results, and right now it is time for both of you to do just that. Aki is preparing to kill you and destroy Konoha. If you kill him first or stop him, then everything that was affected by the genjutsu on him will be reversed and everyone and everything that was affected by it will cease to exist as a new reality will be formed. In order to get to the real reality, you must destroy all the keys before they destroy you in Konoha. Normally if I tell you who the first key is, and you stop him when reality resets itself, you would lose all your memories and knowledge, but the Whirlpool Lighthouse seal was designed by me. It protects both of your minds so when reality resets your bodies will reset but you both will still remember what has happened as well as my warning. Unfortunately when reality resets some things will change in ways you could never have comprehended. Kyuubi will be returned to the seal inside of you and Mom and Dad will stop existing as you know them. Naruto screamed, what? Honor said, shut up, I know you don't want to hear this, but this reality around you isn't real. You and Tenten were not really engaged to each other. Mom didn't give her cherry to Dustin. She didn't escape Whirlpool with Evie and Dustin. She came to Konoha when she was 9 years old. The Uzumaki do have a bloodline, but we are not the source of all bloodlines in the world. Our bloodline is stronger chakra because you are the father of the Uzumaki clan and you are the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. The genjutsu of us being the source of all bloodlines was part of the illusion on Madara to get him to destroy Whirlpool in hopes of destroying Mom. This is only a part of what is wrong with the world. The only reason Mom and Dad are back is because of the genjutsu on the Tsuchikage in order for him to hate you because Dad killed his son during the war. My enemy would do anything to stop me, and that is to turn everyone against me and hate me. Our bloodline QB, our parents, even Tenten. Tenten frowned and Naruto glared at Honoru, who said, "Look, I hate doing this to you, but if you don't stop the first key, then Konoha will be destroyed and my enemy will destroy the world. All our friends, family and loved ones are counting on us. If you are who I remember being, then you vowed to protect those precious to you even at the cost of your life. You would do anything for them. Well, that is exactly what is required. To save everyone you have to give up everything. Damn it, I'm almost out of time. Listen and listen closely." As he took a deep breath and said, "As long as you have the Whirlpool Lighthouse seal on, you will be able to remember everything to help you get stronger to protect your precious people. This is a game, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. In a few days, the Tsuchikage himself will appear here and wait to set up an underground base to house his troops who will sweep in and destroy Konoha. In order to save Konoha, you either have to kill the Tsuchikage or stop him from being able to set up his base here. He is the first key. Do that and reality will reset. The other keys are Orochimaru, a man who calls himself Pain, who possesses the legendary Rinnegan Kisame Hashigaki Madara and all the bijou he has with him, and finally, my enemy, the real man behind everything. To save your life from the effects of regeneration, you will have to get the blood of a Hydra and drink it. A Hydra regenerates also from its wounds, but it has special antibodies that keep it from dying quicker. Those antibodies are in its blood. You know where it is, but you can't get to it until an enemy tries to get it. You will have to get it then or die at a young age. Tenten, your choice is this: you can either help him as his wife living through all the journey coming, or you can remove the seal from your neck and forget all about him when reality resets again. The choice is yours. Good luck, both of you." As he disappeared in a puff of smoke, Tenten glared at the spot Honoru had been, as did Naruto, who frowned as he looked down, and Tenten said, Naruto put his hands over his eyes and said, I knew it couldn't be real." Tenten frowned and said, "If what he said is true, then there is no way you could have known about the Genjutsu." Naruto looked up at her and Tenten's eyes widened as she saw tears, and Naruto said, "Not that. I knew nobody could actually love me. The only reason you're here is because of some fucking Genjutsu." Slap! Naruto was knocked back on the ground several feet away by Tenten, who was pissed and had her hands on her hips and was giving Naruto what he would soon learn was called the look. Tenten said, "Don't you dare say that my feelings for you is some kind of trick or joke. I meant every single word I said to you yesterday. Every word was spoken from my heart, and I don't care if we weren't together because of some arrangement. It actually makes me love you that much more. You are my husband. I am your wife. Never doubt my feelings for you. I don't care if I have to fight every demon in hell, every angel in heaven, every ninja in the world, as well as the Shinigami. I am going to be by your side, giving you my love always. Now stop acting like the poster boy for Emo Weekly, or I will put a kunai where the sun doesn't shine." Naruto moved his jaw back and forward and said, "You slapped me." Tenten said, "You damn right I did." Naruto said, "I can't believe you slapped me." Tenten said in a sickeningly sweet voice, "And I can do it again if you don't snap out of it." Naruto looked at her eyes for several moments, and Tenten said, "What? Finally having enough?" Naruto smiled and said, "I just remember why I fell in love with you. I'm sorry I doubted you for a moment. I just." Tenten pulled him into a hug and rested her head on his shoulder and said, "I know I questioned it myself for a moment, but then I remembered every moment we have been together and I realized I was being an idiot. It's not a Genjutsu that made me fall in love with you. It's who you are here." As he put her hand above his heart, Naruto let a tear fall and said, "You don't know how much that means to me." Tenten said, "I do, because you mean that much to me." As she moved back, Naruto bit his lip and said, "What do we do?" Tenten frowned and said, "What do you think? I don't do things half-heartedly. We sent this message for us and set this up. I guess the only thing we can do is face these challenges." Naruto said, "But what about Kyuubi? Aren't you scared of him?" Tenten said, "The fox is the fox, Yurio. I may be scared of him a little, though it's kind of hard to be scared of him when you've seen him as a chibi, but either way I'm not scared of you." As she turned and started to walk back to camp, Naruto shook his head and thought, "I will never understand you completely." Tenten smirked and thought, "But are your feelings for me real?" Then a flashback of the words her future self said appeared in her mind and thought, "I guess we both have moments. Naruto, I believe in you." When they made it back to camp, Kushina said, "So, what did he say? Where is he?" Naruto said, "Gone." He only had enough chakra for a short message. Kakashi said so, what all did he say? Naruto said not much, just the location and what the cure is to make it where I won't die young. Tenten said he also told us one other thing, I think it would be a good time to summon Hokage-sama here. Naruto said Tenten, what are you doing? Tenten leaned over and whispered in his ear, if what he said is true, do you want to have the last days you can see your parents being remembered where you couldn't trust your mom and you dad thinking you hate him? Naruto bit his lip and after a few seconds said alright, I guess you're right. I mean we may be good and could do it ourselves, but it won't hurt to have someone a lot stronger to help deal with this. Hebe asked deal with what? Tenten said that Tsuchikage himself will be arriving in a few days to set up an underground base in Wave. It's going to be a staging area to launch Iwa Nins into the fire country. The other Naruto told us that if we could stop him then it would force Iwa to come in across land. He also told us if we could him somehow then it would force Iwa to completely drop the idea of attacking the land of fire. Dragon said, and you weren't going to inform us about this, Naruto? In a bitter tone. Naruto said I was going to inform you all after we got to Wave, because right now our mission is to protect the bridge builder. To do that we first have to learn as much as we can about what is going on there. If I told you all now, I was afraid that everyone would focus on gathering information to counter the Tsuchikage and then we would fail to complete our mission of protecting the old man or gathering info about other threats. Kushina said, well, your actions might have been justified, son, but we need to know about this. I think having Minato and the other Umbu will be a good idea. As she took out a tri-pronged kunai and sent chakra into it before throwing it. A few seconds later a yellow flash appeared and Minato appeared in the clearing, quickly getting into a fighting stance looking for a threat, and Sweat dropped a moment and said what's going on? Naruto sighed and explained what had been going on. When he was done Minato said, so let me see if I got this straight, you both eloped, met clones of your future selves, met your uncle, learned how to save your life which you won't tell us about, learned Orochimaru has or will kill the Kazekage, and learned that the Tsuchikage is about to set up a base here to launch surprise attack on Konoha after Orochimaru attack. Naruto said, yeah, that's it pretty much in a nutshell. Minato was quiet for several minutes and said, Nico Hebe guy. I am ordering you three to take the Genin and escort them along with Zabuza and Haku back to Konoha first thing in the morning. The rest of you also rest. I'll summon the other Umbu when we get to Wave and we will prepare a defense there to end this. Naruto said, but Minato said, no son. You're strong but you don't have experience. I know Hebe had you kill a prisoner so you won't freeze up, but the others might. I am not going to take you all into combat so you can all die. Also we might be able to end this without anyone dying. As Hokage, I am ordering you to follow my orders. Naruto frowned and remembered Tenten words earlier and said Dad. In a soft voice, catching everyone's attention. Naruto bit his lip and said I don't hate you, I am angry and hurt, but I don't hate you, I wanted to make you hurt you for all the pain I felt, but I was wrong. I am proud to be your son and yours also mom, and I trust you also mom. I just wanted to be selfish for once, to have something that was mine that wasn't given to me because of my parents. Kushina smiled and said, it's alright son, I just wanted to meddle in your life like an overprotective mother to make up for you know. Naruto smiled softly and he walked over and hugged his mom and then walked over and hugged his dad and said I love you. In a whisper. Minato smiled and Naruto stepped back and looked at both his parents and thought, I'll destroy whoever you are for taking this from me. Across from him, Tenten was silently making a similar vow to herself. The next morning the Genins from Konoha would leave heading home, but several birds watched over the ninja of Konoha who marched into Wave. They watched as Wave was liberated and then 2 days later watched as several ships exploded and began to sink into the sea, with the ninja of Konoha sending attacks at the Iwanins who were at a disadvantage, being surrounded by water where they couldn't use most of their jutsu. The battle between the Tsuchikage and Minato was short-lived as he went to fight Minato. His anger over the surprise attack on the ships as well as seeing Minato was enough to cause his blood pressure to climb till he had a heart attack, and so the Sandaime Tsuchikage died not in a glorious battle but drowning, trying to get his heart to work correctly as he sank under the water. As this happened, the birds dispelled their chakra before the world began to shift and distort. For Naruto. Him and Tenten both held onto each other at the cabin his clones had repaired as reality shifted and was destroyed as the first key was destroyed, and so the next morning both teens woke up in a new realm the day of the Genin exam. Chapter 18. Naruto blinked as his eyes slowly focused and he saw the old familiar look of his apartment ceiling and frowned as a knocking noise was heard. He sat up and looked around the apartment and thought, what the hell, I'm here, but was that a dream or was it real, and what's that noise? Naruto, after a few moments of sitting there confused, he got up and walked to the door and opened it and saw Tenten standing there looking worried, and she said Naruto in a questioning tone. Naruto smiled slightly as he raised his left hand before touching his ring finger, and Tenten, seeing this, dove into the room, tackling him into a hug, and said, "Oh Naruto, it's really you. I was so worried." As she began to cry tears of joy, Naruto rubbed her back and whispered, "Shoot, it's all right, I'm here." Tenten, who had hiccups, said, I was so worried. I woke up this morning and found myself in my bed at the shop alone, and oh god, I am so happy to see you." Naruto said, How long have you been back awake here, whatever? You know what I mean." Tenten said, "About 2 hours ago, I woke up when my alarm clock went off. Oh god Naruto, everything different, we're in the past, it's the day you stole the scroll." Naruto said, "I see, what should we do?" Tenten said, I don't know, I'm scared." As she kept her head buried in her chest, Naruto tilted her head up and looked into her eyes and kissed her and blinked as they broke apart and said, "Great, I'm shorter than you again." Tenten sniffed and smiled slightly, knowing he was trying to cheer her up, and said, "Yeah, do you remember everything?" Naruto thought a moment and said, "Yeah, thank you for telling on me. I didn't want to believe our future us, but seeing as we are here, I guess it's true. I'm glad I got to make peace with mom and dad." Two voices in the back of their minds said, "So are we," causing both Naruto and Tenten to go wide-eyed. Naruto said, "Mom, Dad," as he nods to Tenten, and both sat down and entered the lighthouse whirlpool seal. When they got to the primary whirlpool, it was spinning again, and beside it was Minato and Kushina. Kushina said, "Surprise." Naruto asked, "But how are you here?" Minato rubbed his head and said, "Well, your mother convinced me to help her meddle. She didn't think you were telling the complete truth about what the other you said, so we sort of worked together to break in your mind, son, to find out what was going on. When we found out the truth, we decided we couldn't let you both do it alone without some help, so your mother and I changed our whirlpool seals a little to make it where we would be pulled along also, as well as a few other surprises, like you both know how you feel weak." Naruto nods while narrowing his eyes, and Minato said, "Well, the reason is you lost all those months of muscle memory and training, so before we sent you both back to Konoha, I sort of put a time-space seal on you that would lock your bodies out of time connected to the whirlpool seal. What I can do is, with your mother's help, is transfer your souls to your future bodies while storing your current bodies inside the whirlpool seal, because, well, I think I know how you became the Six Realm Sage, son. I researched the Rinnegan as well as the Six Realm Sage and learned the sage had what he called paths. 6 bodies that were identical to his own, each with a special power. I think that each of those bodies were in fact the bodies you should have had in each of these genjutsu. The world is caught in it's only a theory, and I won't do something like this to force you like I did with sealing Kyubi, but Kushina said we want to help you and our daughter-in-law any way we can. If you're angry at anyone, be mad at me because this was my idea, it's just I don't want to outlive my child." And Naruto asked, "What about the twins, mom, what has happened to them?" Kushina said, "I think I'm still pregnant, but time doesn't exist here, son, so I can't have them." Naruto frowned, and Tenten said, "Where are our other bodies stored at?" Minato walked over to a tree that Naruto and Tenten hadn't noticed before, and when he touched it, the tree shimmered and revealed both their bodies. Tenten said, "Okay, how do we transfer to our other bodies?" Naruto said, "Tenten don't." Tenten said, "Quite. I know from training with Gai-sensei that muscle memory is just as important as chakra control is. Our bodies are only about 4 months older than us at this point, but our skills are that of our older bodies. Not these ones. It's bad enough we have to do the same missions over most likely. I don't want to repeat all our training to match where we are now. Besides, I got an idea to get these bodies up to our future bodies level quickly." Naruto frowned and said, "What's your idea?" Tenten said, "Remember that trick you did with the birds? What if you did that to these bodies we are in after we get our older bodies? You could do that, couldn't you?" Naruto said, "Well, yeah, but isn't that a little too close to what Orochimaru does?" Tenten said, "He takes over the bodies of others, we're just taking over our own bodies." Naruto looked at her and then at the bodies, and after a few moments said, "You're right." Kushina said, "Women usually are," as she shot a smirk to Tenten. Naruto sighed and said, "All right, let's do this, because if we are really when you said we are, then I have to get to the academy and you have to get to your team." Minato said, "All right, let's do this." Back outside the seal a few minutes later, both Naruto and Tenten were covered in smoke. Back inside the seal, Minato said, "Kushina, I just thought of something. Their bodies were stored, only their bodies." Kushina's eyes widened as she realized what Minato meant. Naruto and Tenten both waited until the smoke cleared, and when it did, both became beet red as they found themselves standing completely nude. Naruto turned around quickly and Tenten covered herself with her hands and arms, and she looked around for anything to cover herself with, and she blinked as she saw her wedding ring on her finger, and she bit her lip and lowered her hands to her side and said, Naruto. Naruto said, I'm not looking, go ahead and get some cloths out of my room. I got my eyes closed. Tenten smiled slightly as she blushed and said, turn around. Naruto said, but Tenten said, I told you to turn around, we are husband and wife. It's only right that you see me like this. Naruto said, but Tenten walked forward and put her hand on his shoulder and said, you are my husband, I am your wife, seeing me like this is something only reserved for you, and seeing you like that is only something reserved for me, I love you. That's not going to change, so turn around please. Saying the last part emotionally. Naruto slowly turned around as Tenten stepped back and she watched as his eyes slowly trailed down her body and she fought to control herself to keep from covering herself. Naruto stepped forward and said, you are even more beautiful than I could ever imagine, I love you. As he kissed her. Tenten blushed and returned the kiss and put her arms on his chest as he pulled her closer to him as the kiss heated up. After several minutes of kissing they broke apart and looked into each other's eyes and Naruto said in a soft gasping breath, I think we should stop. Tenten said, yes we should. As she pressed her body closer to his. Naruto gulped and said, we wanted to wait. Tenten said, I know. As she began to rub her leg against his crotch. Naruto groaned and said, we have place to be. Tenten said, yes we do. As reached a hand down and stroked him. Naruto breath hitched and Tenten smirked before dropping to her knees. Naruto went wide-eyed and gasped at what was happening. Tenten, who glanced up from where she was, smirked and thought, must thank Anko and Kurenai for teaching me advanced kunoichi lessons. As Naruto got closer to release, Tenten picked up her pace and as she watched she smirked, and right before he released she stopped and stood up quickly, causing Naruto to get a shocked and hurt look on his face. Tenten said, now we are even for that thing in the woods. We'll have to continue when we are not in a hurry to go somewhere and when we have time, husband. As she kissed him and to his shock shushined away. Naruto blinked and thought, when the hell did she learn Shushin, and what the hell am I going to do about this problem? As he groaned looking at his problem. After a very cold shower, Naruto noticed that all the seals he had on his body was still there, and he noticed the Dreshpir seal as well. Trying it out found Naruto in his Umbu uniform before he tried it again, and found one of his civilian cloths before he found his full combat cloths. Thinking it over, Naruto went back to his civilian cloths, which consisted of a black pair of pants and a blue shirt. Naruto then shushined away to the top of the academy and while walking down the side of the building before he entered the building. As he got to class and opened the door, Iruka looked at Naruto and said, you're late, Naruto. Naruto rubbed his head and said, sorry, I'm late, I got lost before I got on the road of life. Iruka slapped his head and said, why were you late? Naruto said, someone stopped me to tell me something important about the number 9. Iruka and Mizuki eyes widened while everyone else looked confused. Sakura said, what the hell kind of excuse is that? That's the stupidest thing you have ever said, Baka. Naruto looked at Sakura and said, no, the stupid thing I have ever said is, how is the smartest girl in our class who spends all her time not chasing Sasuke or playing dress up in the library too stupid to look up the rules about restoring clans, or how is it the heiress to one of the major clans of Konoha break up her friendship with her best friend because she was too stupid to study the laws? She needs to know about her duties as a clan heiress, after all, since Sasuke the last male of his clan with a bloodline by law, he has to have more than one wife, meaning you both never had to break up your friendship. You could have shared. How's that, Ino pig forehead? Sakura said, what did you say, Baka? Naruto said, I just commenting how everyone makes fun of you and every other fangirl because anyone with common sense knows that Law, hell, your mother is a librarian and knows that Law and Ino dad is a clan head and they never told you. Hell, I bet Shikamaru and Choji knew this as well. You know why they didn't tell you. They know their dad has made it where when you pass today, the next generation Ino Shikacho group will be formed together, so Ino won't be with Sasuke, and as long as she spends all her time being a useless fangirl they don't have to train hard because it's too troublesome, and your mom never wanted you to be a ninja Sakura where you could go on a mission and die, or worse. Iruka said, that's enough, Naruto. Naruto looked at Iruka and said, answer me something, Iruka-sensei, why is it as their sensei who is supposed to prepare them for their future as shinobi and kunoichi that you never told them that they may be great at book smarts, but when it comes to actual skills they are the worst too in class, even worse than me, and that book smarts only get you so far? Iruka frowned and said, Naruto, I'm warning you. Stop. Naruto said, what's the number one rule of being a ninja, sensei? Iruka blinked and said, what? Naruto jumped to the wall and then to the roof and stuck to it, shocking most of the people in class, and Naruto crossed his arms and said deception. As he reached into his weapon pouch, causing everyone to tense as suddenly the room was filled with clones of Naruto, who was sending chakra to a kunai in his weapon pouch that he had took from his shinobi outfit. Naruto said clones. Before he replaced himself with Mizuki, who fell to the ground landing on his arm, causing him to cry out, and Naruto said replacement. Before he hinged into Sasuke and said HN. Before he turned and walked out of the class with his hands in his pocket as a puff of smoke appeared on the desk where the hides were, and one appeared on Sasuke's head as he walked out. Suddenly all the clones disappeared. Irika shot a look at where Naruto was and frowned, and Mizuki said, "What should we do, Irika?" Irika frowned and said, "He passed the test, Mizuki, there is nothing we can do. The only thing we could get him for is being late." Sakura said, "What about those things he said?" Irika closed his eyes and said, "Sakura, as much as I hate to admit it, everything he said was true." Ino screamed, "What?" Before she turned to look at Shikamaru, who looked bored, and Choji, who was eating a bag of chips, and she said, "You both knew." Shikamaru sighed and said, "Troublesome." Choji bit his lip and said, "If we would have tried to tell you, Ino, you would have yelled at us and say we were jealous of Sasuke. You can be a real." He was stopped by Shikamaru, who covered his friend's mouth. Shikamaru said, "Troublesome woman, I just can't believe Naruto of all people had the balls to say it." Kiba said, "Hey, where's Sasuke?" Shino said he snuck out after he heard how both Ino and Sakura could share him. "I think he's becoming a missing nin." Just then a swirl of leaves appeared and an Umbu in a Hydra mask appeared with Sasuke, who was screaming, "Let me go, let me go." Hydra said, "Sorry, Uchiha, but you can't leave the village because of your fangirls. It would cost the number of cannon fodder we have to save the lives of real ninja to decrease by not having them here in the village when they chase after you." As he shooshined away, leaving Sasuke. Kiba said, "Hey, was that?" Shino nods and Shikamaru said, "Troublesome." Nobody noticed the shock looks on both Sakura and Ino face. Irika said, "Settle down, class, now we will proceed with the Genin exam test." When Naruto got to the cabin, he smiled slightly as he created 20 Kage Bunshin, and they began to clean the weeds from the flower bed, cut the grass with kunais, cut the overweight branches in the trees and disposing of them. Cleaning the dust out of the cabin and cutting a tree with wind chakra to make boards to replace old ones, as well as tiles on the roof. This was the site that Dustin walked in on. Dustin looked around and said, "What is going on here?" All the Naruto there stopped and the real Naruto said, "Get back to work. I'll talk to him." As he walked forward to Dustin. The clones got back to work and Naruto said, "Hello Dustin, sir. It's good to see you again." Dustin frowned as he looked at Naruto and said, "I've never met you." Naruto sighed and said, "My name is Naruto Uzumaki." Dustin said, "I know who you are." Naruto said, "Your name is Dustin, you're from the land of Whirlpool along with your wife Evi, who passed away giving birth to your daughter Tenten. Your wife is buried over there and your daughter is named after her favorite flower. This cabin is owned by your family and Tenten comes here at times to think or be alone to be closer to her mom. You own the Wolf Claw weapons shop." Dustin asked, "And how do you know so much about me?" With narrowed eyes. Just then a Shushin was seen and Tenten appeared and blinked as she said, "Dad, what are you doing here?" Naruto said, "He got here a few moments ago and I was trying to explain why I was here." Dustin looked back and forward and said, "What's going on here?" Tenten sighed and said, "You may not believe this, Dad, but in about 4 months my team and Naruto team was sent on a joint mission together that went from a C rank to an S rank. An enemy ninja used a wide area attack where I was at and Naruto here used the Hiraishin to get to me and tried to get us out of the attack to save my life. Somehow the attack and us using the Hiraishin sort of caused a chain reaction that threw us back in time till last night. Ever since then, we have been trying to gather information on what day it was, what's going on, how we survived, if we can go back to our own time and things like that. It's been one big headache." As she rubbed her face. Dustin blinked and said, "Is this true?" Naruto said, "Mostly there are a few things she left out." Tenten walked over and elbowed him in the ribs and Naruto groaned as he rubbed them and Dustin asked, "Like what?" Tenten said, "Dad, before I tell you, can you answer a few questions? You see, we're not exactly sure we wound up back in our timeline. I've noticed a few minor things that seem to be different. This was all one big accident to begin with and we're not sure all the effects." Dustin frowned and said, "So you're saying you're not Tenten?" Tenten said, "No, Dad. What I am saying is I may not be your Tenten. I'm still your daughter, but we don't really know what's going on." It could be that we could be I am your daughter and like the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu all the memories of another Tenten were given to me when the other Naruto tried to save her. That may be the case with this Naruto as well. We just don't know, it's all confusing. Dustin said not really if you know someone who's messed with time-space jutsu. Naruto said like my dad. Dustin eyes widened slightly and Naruto said yeah, I know who he is. Dustin said I see your dad and I were friends. I made the Hirashin kunais for him. Naruto asked did you know my mom and did Evie and mom make any long-term plans for Tenten and me? Dustin asked like. Tenten said an arranged marriage. Dustin eyes widened and said no, Kushina spent most of her time with Uchiha Makoto. I don't think Evie and her ever met outside of shop business. Only reason I even know who your mother was because Minato introduced her once and told me if anything happened to him the secret of the Hirashin was to go to her for their children. Naruto frowned and said so this is a different timeline. Tenten said yeah, looks like it. As she looked at Naruto. Dustin looked back and forward before he asked, why did you ask about an arranged marriage? Tenten sighed and said originally Naruto and I didn't actually meet until later tonight. Over the next couple of months, we became the best of friends. A lot of things happened, including his parents coming back to life. We found out his mom and my mom had arranged us in an arranged marriage, but because of all the crap that happened with people hating him for Kyuubi and then turning around and sucking up to him because of his father when it was announced who he was as well as some other matters right before the mission that we mentioned earlier, we sort of secretly got married. Dustin screamed married. Naruto said more like eloped. Tenten hit him in the stomach again with her elbow and Dustin said and was I there? Tenten said there was another wedding coming up, one between Naruto-me and the Kazekage daughter. An arranged marriage between the Yondaime Hokage and the Yondaime Kazekage. His parents and you were all sort of full throttle for that wedding where it was shaping up to be your wedding and not ours. We hadn't even met the other girl and didn't actually want her, but nobody really was listening to us so we went to a nearby town after Naruto had a fight with his dad and broke his dad's jaw and got married. Dustin frowned and said are you happy with him dear? Tenten said yes. I love him dad. Dustin smiled slightly and said good, I don't know what is happening but you are my daughter and while your mom and his mom may not have had any arrangements didn't mean his father and I didn't. Both teens face faulted and Tenten looked at Naruto and said Niji. Naruto said Niji. Dustin looked confused and Tenten said so you don't have a problem with us being together. Dustin sighed and said truthfully dear. I didn't really want to force you into it. Minato and I went drinking one night after peace had been declared between us and Iwa. It was more of a joke and neither of you were even thought of at the time and so I really didn't consider it real. It was just when you asked about an arranged marriage it triggered an old memory. Tenten said so you okay with this dad? Dustin looked around and said I guess the reason you're fixing this place up is you're planning to live here huh? Tenten said yeah. Dustin sighed and said I hate doing this. I feel like I'm losing a daughter. Naruto said no you're gaining a son heads up Umbu incoming. Tenten glanced at Naruto and said what did you do this time? Naruto said motivational speech to my Genin class and told them basically kiss my ass. Tenten slapped her head and said I swear. As she shook her head. Just then a Umbu appeared and said Naruto Uzumaki you are ordered to come with us. Naruto said where to? One of the Umbu said to see the Hokage. Naruto said fine. Let's go. As he walked over and the Umbu shoo-shined him away. Dustin said I take it that kind of thing's normal. Tenten said you have no idea dad, what are you looking at, get back to work. As she saw all the clones stop working. Dustin got an amused smile on his face and said come on dear, let's head back to our home for now. I want to talk to you some more. Tenten nods and they both began to leave. When Naruto and the Umbu appeared in the Sandaime's office, Naruto's face became neutral and the Sandaime said leave us. The Umbu quickly left and the Sandaime looked at Naruto and said you have some explaining to do Naruto. Naruto said in a bored voice, do I like what? The Sandaime said like that stunt you pulled today in the academy. Naruto said which stunt would that be? The Sandaime said quite playing dumb Naruto you know what I am talking about. Naruto said do I perhaps I do perhaps I don't. Perhaps I don't trust you enough to tell you the truth. The Sandaime said I order you to tell me the truth, Naruto. Naruto said, but I'm not a ninja to be ordered yet. I haven't passed the real genin test. Still in a bored tone. The Sandaime narrowed his eyes and said, how do you know about that? Naruto asked, know about what? The Sandaime sat back in his chair and looked at Naruto, and Naruto said, holy shit, what the hell? As he grabbed his arm where his umbu tattoo was. The Sandaime pursed his lip and said, how do you have an umbu tattoo, Naruto? Naruto frowned and said, what are you, goddamn, what the hell? As he grabbed his arm again. The Sandaime said, if I were to guess, I would say Anko gave you that tattoo. She may not be up to Jiraiya or the Yondaime Caliba, but she's no slouch either. She put snake venom from a fire snake in the umbu tattoo ink along with a small loyalty seal, and anytime an umbu loyalty isn't to the Hokage, the seal would flare to life, activating the venom in the ink, causing you incredible pain. So the way I see it is you can either start talking or I can sit here and watch as you suffer. Naruto quickly took off his shirt and began to look at his umbu tattoo and whistle slightly, and said, I'm impressed, Anko, not to advance but not to novice either. The entire seal is basically a live electrical wire that makes contact with water when you go against the seal's primary directive. Personally, I would have modified the single polarity seal with a dual integrity seal. That way if the Hokage is someone like Danzo, they won't become subject to him and can still be loyal to the village and not to him. The Sandaime eyes widened and said, who are you, because Naruto Uzumaki wouldn't know the basic of those seals. Naruto glanced at him and stuck his thumb in his mouth and said, really, by the way, tell Anko she needs to redines the subpillar support seal, all it would take is blood coated with chakra to do this. As he wiped blood across part of the seal and it glowed a moment before turning black. Sarutobi asked, what did you do? Naruto shrugged and said, turned off the part of the seal that could cause pain. Now I don't actually have to explain anything unless I want to, grandfather. Sarutobi frowned and Naruto said, and for you info, I was talking about blood relations, not sentimental. At this the Sandaime eyes widened as he paled. Naruto stood up and said, since it seems I have you over the pit so to speak, here is what we are going to do. You are going to tell Anko to find Jiraiya and Tsunade. Tell her that someone has discovered a way to remove the curse seal, but for safety reason to make sure she doesn't die, we need both Jiraiya and Tsunade here to assist in the process. Tell her the quicker the better. You are also going to tell Ibiki a deep cover umbu created by the Yondaime Hokage has come out of cover and will be providing valuable intel for him to sort through to protect Konoha, but for security reasons the umbu identity has to remain unknown to everyone but you. Tell him the umbu mask is Hydra. Next, you will put me on the same team with Sasuke and Sakura under Kakashi-sensei. Once Tsunade and Jiraiya returns, I will tell you everything you want to know, and I will even let you talk to your son since both mom and dad sealed themselves inside of me also. At this, the Sandaime nearly had a heart attack and said, what? Naruto said, who do you think helped train me in seals? Now there are things going on I can't tell you about. If you have to give Anko a letter for Tsunade, telling her about me and the truth about dad, but both her and Jiraiya have to get here before the Chunin exams. Orochimaru is on the move and has help from Danzo. The Sandaime said, what do you mean? Naruto said, don't worry about it. Just know that Danzo won't live to see the exams. As he shoe-shined away. The Sandaime frowned and thought, what happened to you, Naruto? Chapter 19. That afternoon, after spending several hours working on the cabin, Naruto shoe-shined to his apartment and took a quick shower and changed into his civilian clothes again after washing them and using wind chakra to dry them. As he was getting ready to start cooking, there was a knock at his door. Naruto thought, I know the signature and don't consider it a threat, but I can't remember whose it actually is. As he walked to the door. When he opened the door, there stood an umbu in a rabbit mask, and Naruto thought, oh, so that's who it is. And said, can I help you? Rabbit said, Naruto Uzumaki, you are ordered to appear before the council. Naruto frowned and said, mind if I turn my stove off real quick? I was about to start cooking, and I don't want to burn the neighborhood down on accident. Rabbit said, very well, but please hurry. Naruto nods and walked back into his apartment, and after he rounded the corner to enter his kitchen, he quickly used the dress fair seal to change cloths to his umbu cloths and grab a Hydra kunai, and then switch to his ninja cloths before grabbing one of his swords and a scroll before changing back to his civilian cloths and putting the sword and a seal on his right hand before putting the kunai on his left hand, and he put the scroll in his pocket. Rabbit said, hurry up. Naruto said, sorry. My stove's a little old and the knobs stick, so it takes a lot of muscle to turn them there. Got it, here I come. Before he walked out of the kitchen, and Naruto said, thanks. Rabbit said, come, I have to take us there. Naruto said, so is the Sandaime going to be there, or is it just the old fossils? Rabbit said, I do not know. As he placed his hand on Naruto's shoulder and both disappeared in a shushin. When they appeared in the council chambers, Naruto frowned slightly as he saw the Sandaime wasn't there and Koharu said, you may go Umbu. Rabbit nods and left, and Hamaru said, Naruto Uzumaki, you have been brought here to answer our questions because it has come to our attention that you cheated today at the academy on the final test. Naruto looked bored and said, really? I thought that was what ninja do. We lie, cheat, steal and kill in order to complete our mission for the good of Konoha. If that's not what we do, then you really need to check the lessons they teach us at the academy. Causing a few to snicker slightly. Koharu said, so you admit that you cheated? Naruto said, I admit nothing. As he crossed his arms and sent a small pulse of chakra to a seal on his arm across from his Umbu tattoo. A civilian said, show some respect. Naruto looked at him and then around the room and said, why the hell not? You only live once. As he turned and walked toward the door and pulled out a scroll unsealing a tag that he quickly placed on the door before activating, causing everyone who hadn't been murmuring when he turned and started to walk away to look questionably. Hayashi asked, what did you just do? What is that tag on the door? Naruto said, oh, that a special tag I created that makes it where nothing can enter or leave this room unless I release that tag. Also for all of you who can use chakra, well, you can't now. I made it where you are all locked in here with me without the ability to use even an E-rank jutsu. Hamaru said, release the seal. Naruto smirks and said, or what you will call Umbu, go ahead, it won't work. Try calling Root also, they can't help you, and neither can any of you who have bloodlines. I would suggest not trying it, Aburame-san. If your allies leave your body, they will lose their connection to you, making you weaker. Besides, none of you besides Danzo has anything to worry about. As he looked at Danzo bored. Danzo said, what do you mean, nine-tailed child? Naruto snorts and said, after I kill you, I'll take your body to the forest of death and let Kyuubi play with your body. After all, that's where I released him at. At this several screams were heard in the room and Hamaru said, order, order now, what did you? Naruto interrupted him by summoning the Hydra kunai from his hand and threw it at Hamaru but hit the wall behind Hamaru and a puff of smoke appeared and another Naruto appeared grabbing the kunai and held it at Hamaru's neck and the real Naruto said, now shut up all of you. I'm only interested in talking with the traitor Danzo. At this, several people were now weary of Naruto and Danzo got to his feet and said, who do you think you are talking to? Naruto said, Orochimaru's secret ally who plans to assassinate the Sandaime Hokage. Causing everyone in the room's eyes to widen. Inoichi said, what did you say? Naruto looked at him and said, do you want to make Ino parentless good? Now shut up, you can quit trying to use that Sharingan, Danzo, it won't work. Murmurs of Sharingan began to go through the room and Naruto turned back to Danzo and said, oh yes, I know about the 3 you have in that arm as well as the 1 you have under those bandages. Seriously though. Did you have to pull a Kakashi with that one eye covered and one eye not? I mean, sure, parting your bandages so you can cast Jinjutsu on the idiots in this room is all good, but come on, don't all those bitches you have en route give you enough blowjobs? I mean, look at the 2 bitches you use it the most on, Hamaru and Koharu. Hell, I honestly don't want to know what's sagging on their bodies that you have to fuck with them for, but come on. At least use it on someone who can make that little thing you call a pecker stand up. I mean, come on. You allied with Orochimaru, the guy who switches bodies when he wears it out playing with himself. I thought you were supposed to be some great ninja at one time who almost became the Sandaime Hokage. Danzo said, I have no idea what you are talking about. Naruto said, that won't work either, Danzo. I know about the Mokuton bloodline in your arm also. After all, you were the person funding Orochimaru experiments on those people. Hell, you were also the one who funded his experiments on the curse seal, hoping to help make Super Ninja who became more and more loyal to you every time they use it. That was until Orochimaru got tired of being your bitch and left the village. Danzo grabbed his cane and twisted the handle and pulled out a sword, shocking several, and Naruto said, oh, I'm scared. Before he summoned his sword from the seal in his right hand. Naruto said, come on Danzo, give me some credit. I can still use my chakra, you can't. I have the advantage of knowing what you can do. You don't know what I can do. I can escape this room to rest, you can't, and if you use anyone here as hostages it won't matter to me because most of the people in this room can kiss my blonde ass. Konoha would be better off without most of you anyways. If you think that the sleeper you have en route who are in the village will follow your orders after you're dead, well, I may not be a puppet master like Akasuna no Sasori, but I am a seal master and I can reanimate your body and have it order the Aburame and the Yamanaka who you have as bodyguards in the secret room next to this one to put a special seal on all of your root agents. And since they all have to follow your orders because of the seal on their tongues making them loyal to you and not Konoha, they would, and once they do that I can activate the seal similar to the Hyuga cage bird seal and kill them or torture them or command them to turn themselves and they won't be a problem. The way I see it, you're screwed, Root's dead, and my grandfather beat you again just like his bastard son did. Several people became confused by this, and Danzo, who was trying to buy time, asked, "What do you mean your grandfather beat me?" Naruto said blonde has never been a very widespread color in Konoha. In fact, the only reason Tsunade Senju has blonde hair is because her mother was a Yamanaka. My mother was Kushina Uzumaki from Whirlpool. Before you die, let's see if you can figure out my family line. Danzo blinked and thought Kushina was a redhead and Minato was blonde. He mentioned Tsunade, but why bring her up? Wait, Tsunade was Minato mother, that has to be it, but he called Minato a bastard son, so if Tsunade is his mother and Minato father was someone, it can't be. Danzo eyes widened and said no, impossible. Danzo was silenced by Naruto, who had popped his sword up, grabbed it by the blade, channeling wind chakra into the blade and threw it like a javelin right into Danzo's chest. Danzo flew back, pinned to the wall, anchored to it by the sword in his chest, and he looked at Naruto and said weakly as blood came out of his mouth, "I lost again. Hi, are you Zen?" As he leaned forward and died. Nobody could say or do anything, shocked that Naruto had done that just then, and Naruto looked at Danzo and said, "For those of you who are wondering if I am going to kill any of you, then the answer is no." Danzo has been giving the village security patrols away to Orochimaru, who has founded his own village called the Hidden Sound. I don't know where it is, but the plan was for Orochimaru to assassinate the Kazekage and impersonate him in order to have Suna aid Sound in attacking Konoha during the Chunin exam, whereas disguised as the Kazekage, Orochimaru would either kill the Sandaime or weaken him before being killed, and Danzo would have his root sweep in during the confusion and kill the winner. And then using his Sharingan Ion, Koharu and Hamaru would have himself named the Godame Hokage. He also has been giving Orochimaru the names and mission details of those who would oppose him when he took over, so Orochimaru could kill them, thinking he was weakening Konoha to make it easier to attack during the Chunin exams. Orochimaru is also targeting Sasuke Uchiha so he can take over his body because he wants the Sharingan. Naruto walked over and ripped Danzo's shirt off his arm, and everyone saw 3 metal bracers on his arm, and Naruto began to remove them, showing the eyes under them, and Naruto said, "Inoichi, tell Anko in about a week to track me down and I'll remove her curse seal since I've discovered how to destroy it." Also there is a genin named Kabuto Yakushi. He's Orochimaru top spy in Konoha and Danzo contact. He may be ranked genin, but he's actually good enough to kill an entire team of Umbu, especially with his teammates Yoroi Akadu and Masumi Tsurugi, who are both traitors. Also Mizuki, the academy instructor, is also a traitor who plans to steal the Forbidden Scroll and give it to Orochimaru so he can join his village because Orochimaru offered him power when he saw Mizuki murder his own teammate some time back. Naruto then was covered in smoke and changed into his ninja cloths and grabbed a scroll and unsealed a blank scroll and a bottle of sealing ink that he took the blood leaking off his sword and put in the ink and began to draw on the blank scroll. As he said, also for those of you with girlfriends, wives or daughters who are Kunoichi, the Wolf Claw weapon shop in about a week will start selling a seal called the anti-rape seal, which will protect them from being raped. The details on how it does it will be available at the store, as well as a medical seal, a chakra seal, and another seal that allows you to change clothes like I just did. Hayashi, I have almost also finished a bloodline protection seal that will allow you to not only unite your clan but take full control of it away from your council. I should have it finished before the Chunin exams, provided the Sandaime doesn't kill me later. Naruto stood up looking at the seal he had drawn and walked over to Shikaku and said, "Please send chakra to this seal." Shikaku said, "What does it do?" Naruto said, "Switches control of all root agents who has the seal on their tongue loyalty to where they will have to follow your orders. I figure since you're the smartest person here, you will be the most responsible in dealing with them. I could have done what I told Danzo I would do and reanimated his body, but feel that would make me more of a monster than Orochimaru, so just switching their control to you would be the best option. You might be able to use them to restart the police force since they won't be trusted after everything Danzo done, even though most were taken as children and forced into root." Shikaku sent chakra into the seal, and it glowed, and 3 council members screamed a moment before passing out, and Naruto said, "Those are root members. They will know they have to follow your orders when they wake up." Shikaku said, "Troublesome." Naruto pulled out a scroll, another scroll, and began to write in it quickly, and once he was finished walked over to Inoichi and said, "This is classified info. There is a mission coming up in the next couple of months. If I am in jail or dead, please make sure that team guy gets this mission if I'm not around. If you do, then Konoha might be able to get a new alliance with who is in this scroll. Someone on that team is related to a person who will contact them on that mission and will help get the alliance, I think. Inoichi took the scroll and opened it, and his eyes widened and asked, how did you get this info? Naruto said, sorry, I can't tell you that anyways, don't worry about Kyuubi. Even though I don't have him in me, I sealed his soul in a clone body that is only as strong as a normal fox, and put limit seals on him so he can't escape while I took all his chakra for myself. I also put his clone body someplace so secure that nobody will ever be able to find it but me. Naruto walked over and took the sword out of Danzo's body and wiped the blood off of it on Danzo cloths and said, that's my second kill. Before he put his sword in a sheath on his back and walked over, taking the kunai and putting it in his weapon pouch, and dispelled the clone. Naruto sighed and walked over to tag on the door and took it off and destroyed the tag, and Koharu said, Umbu. Naruto chuckled and said the tag on the door was only to keep people from using it. The actual seal to stop people from using Shunshin Jutsu chakra and being heard is on my body. I'm done, I'm tired. It's been too much for me. Before he was covered in smoke again and shocking everyone. Now he was dressed as an Umbu, and Naruto said, I did what I had to do to save Konoha. Danzo was a traitor, but now my fate rests in yours and the Sandame's hands. If you want me to live, say that an Umbu named Hydra killed Danzo. If not, tell everyone it was me. Truthfully, the only person in this village who will even care if I live or die is my wife, and since nobody but her and me know we are married, she can move on. I am Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki, son of Minato Namikaze Uzumaki, Yondaime Hokage of Konoha, and Kushina Uzumaki of Whirlpool, grandson of Tsunade Senju and Hiruzen Sarutobi. Bet none of you saw that coming. You can figure the rest out by saying I'm related to every Hokage, but too much shit's happened. I just want to rest. As he sat down and canceled the seal on his arm and put his hands behind his head and said, life's too troublesome. The seal's off, call Umbu, call Kami, call Nami. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'll be on the Hokage monument, getting lost on the road of life. You can all go to hell and kiss my blonde ass. You all hate me for saving your ass from Kyuubi, but you will probably kiss my ass because of my ancestors. Naruto sighed and said, personally, I like it better when you hate me, at least then you're honest instead of being self-centered conceited assholes. Take your pride, honor, respect and praise and pack it real tight, and when you can't put any more in it, shove it as far up your ass as you can, because to me wiping my ass with your respect is about all it's good for after all the hell you put me through. My grandfather can shove it up his ass also. He abandoned my father for some damn reason, and he's basically abandoned me all these years and lied to me about everything. Respect is earned, not given, but none of you would know that. You're all living off of others' sacrifices and stealing others' respect. If you can't figure out who's, go to Training Ground 7 and look at the names engraved there. They are the ones who should be respected, not you assholes. See ya. As he closed his eyes behind his mask and shushin away. Koharu said, Umbu. Hamaru said, shut up, Koharu, or I'll kill you myself. The same goes for all of you. Also take Danzo's body to the Umbu morgue. Have it examined completely. Danzo is a traitor to Konoha and was executed as such. As the Umbu arrived and looked around, the Umbu quickly took the body, and Hamaru said, an Umbu of Konoha killed Danzo. If any of you say otherwise, I will see to it personally that you are killed for treason. Koharu and the clan heads, I want you all to come with me to see Hiruzen. We have much to discuss with him. Koharu said, and why should I listen to you? I am equal rank with you. Hamaru said, because if that boy is telling the truth, then all of Konoha owes him a debt we may never be able to repay, because if Suna and Sound attacked us unprepared, Konoha could have fallen or Danzo could have succeeded, and if he had, then all of us would have been the first to be killed so he could rule unopposed. Besides, you all saw it, didn't you? Causing everyone in the room to look confused. Hamaru said, think back to what he said and did. He called himself a seal master. He said he had full control of the Kyuubi. He said he was married. He called himself an Umbu. He created that clone that had the kunai at my neck without seals. He used wind chakra on that sword to kill Danzo. He just took control of an army and gave it away because he didn't need it. He also has detailed information about not only Orochimaru plans, but information on another hidden village as well. Which village was it? Inoichi. Inoichi frowned and said, the Hidden Mist Village. Hamaru said, which is in the land of water where the hidden village of Whirlpool used to be before it was destroyed by the hidden mist. I bet my life that boy knows the Hiration. I bet Minato sealed instructions on how to learn seals in the Kyuubi seal and had it release when he learned about the Kyuubi. He has to have some way to spy on others to find out all he did about Orochimaru, the hidden mist village, as well as Danzo. That boy's played us for a fool for years, I bet. I bet he's been secretly training all these years, and he's finally had enough of hiding. This was a message to us. It's his way of telling us he's not Konoha whipping boy anymore, and we fuck with him and he'll leave our village and join another village and become our enemy. Who wouldn't want a living relative of all the Hokage? Well, besides Iwa. Hell, look at what he said about the Hyuga seal and Orochimaru curse seal. If he can replace the Cagebird seal, I bet he could remove it also, and making it where others could steal their bloodline. He's forcing the Hyuga clan to be his ally. I bet if he removes Anko curse seal, she would become loyal to him over Konoha also, since she hates that thing so much. If that happens, then he has full access to all our Umbu intel. We're screwed. It's his game now. He really is Hiruzen's grandson. Nobody else could manipulate a situation like this. Hell, the thing at the academy today was a setup, I bet. I bet he knew we would want to see him so he could kill Danzo. A civilian said, are you saying he's some kind of prodigy? Kohara said, damn it, Homer, this is like trying to trap Sensei in that damn bell test all over again. We are getting schooled here by that boy. Think about the seal he said was going on sale at that weapon shop. When it goes on sale, nearly every kunoichi in the village will respect him for protecting them. Shibi said, I believe the medical seal and the chakra storage seal will have similar effects on people as well. Before anyone could say anything, chuckling was heard as the scroll in a Noichi hand was covered in smoke, and there stood Naruto, who said, you haven't seen anything yet. The prank master from hell is back with a vengeance. Say hello to a couple of guests. As he quickly began to draw seals in the air, and within 7 seconds 2 puffs of smoke appeared, and there stood Minato and Kushina, causing everyone but Naruto to pale, and Minato said, good job son, now go spend some time with your wife. I'll take it from here. Naruto said, right dad, by the way dad didn't seal a scroll on seals, he sealed himself along with mom. Who better to train me than the master, but now I am the master. As he disappeared in a puff of smoke. On top of the Hokage monument, Naruto burst out laughing and said, oh, I'm glad I listened to them, now let's go see Tenten. As he shoo-shined away. Minato said, now let's go see dad. We have much to discuss with him. The thought running through everyone's head was, oh fuck. Chapter 20. When Naruto appeared at the cabin, he saw his clones working, and he asked, where's Tenten? A clone said she went with her dad back to the shop. Naruto said, oh well, continue to work on the cabin then. As he shoo-shined away. After he was gone, a Kage Bunshin said, alright, he's gone, so whose turn is it? Another clone said, it's your turn. Seal or no seal? The first clone said, no seal. The second clone said, okay, then for 1/10 of my chakra you must impersonate Gigi. How you think he will look when he finally meets dad? A puff of smoke and the first clone changed to look like the Sandaime with a fish out of water look, causing all the other clones to laugh. The second clone walked over and sent a small amount of change to the first clone, who said, alright, number 6, seal or no seal. When Naruto appeared at the wolf claw weapon shop, he saw the closed sign and he frowned before he looked left and right, and then jumped up the telephone pole and stopped at Tenten window and saw her room empty. A male voice said, what are you doing? Naruto looked down and saw Dustin, and he jumped down and said, hi, sorry to disturb you, I was looking for Tenten. Dustin said, she's not here right now. Naruto blinked and said, she's not, do you know where she is, because I just came back from the cabin and didn't see her. Dustin said, yeah, some pink hair and blonde hair girl came by asking for advice on how to be a better kunoichi, and she left with them to go see Anko and Kurenai. Naruto said, I see, well, could you tell her I came by and I'll see her tomorrow? Dustin nods and Naruto shoo-shined away. Meanwhile in the Hokage office, Minato was smirking at the pale Sandaime Hokage, who was being asked all kinds of questions ranging from his secret love affair with Tsunade to hiding the family line Naruto had. When someone asked either him or Kushina a question, both would look at each other and said, ask the Sandaime, we don't know what he was thinking. After several hours of this, Minato said, alright, enough, it's been a long day, and none of you have more of a reason to demand answer from Sarutobi here than I do. Now my wife and I have much to discuss with him about our future as ninja and the future of our family. If you would all leave us, you can continue to in 2 days after the genin teams have been selected, since some of you have children who are waiting at home expecting praise from their parents and giving up their childhood and become adults in the eyes of the village, unless you want them to figure out that they can now buy alcohol and have sex on their own since they got their height, but I'm sure some of you are ready to become grandmas and grandpas. At this several people paled and began to quickly leave while muttering they would continue at a later date. After everyone but Minato, Kushina, Hamura, Koharu and Hiruzen left, Hiruzen said, Hamura, Koharu, can you give us some time alone? Hamaru said, we will leave in a moment after we ask, is Minato going to take back over as Yondaime? Minato said, no, my wife and I are going to take our son and his wife and go track down Jiraiya and Tsunade and bring them back to the village to help prepare for the invasion. These aren't our real bodies. They're a special clone body that our souls were transferred to, and we aren't fully sure the full ability of them yet. I have my knowledge, but I don't know if this body has my skills. Hamaru frowned and said, I see. Come, Koharu. Koharu said, I'm not your bitch to order around. Hamaru looked at her and said, really, that's not what you said when we were younger. As he walked out of the room, Koharu glared at his back and began to follow him. After they were gone, Hiruzen looked at Minato and Kushina and said, so Minato said, I just want to hear your side of the story. You owe me that much. Sarutobi sighed and said, what happened between Tsunade and me was a mistake. After her brother passed away, she began to drink, and heavy. Jiraiya tried to cheer her up, but he let his pervertedness get the better of him and she wound up putting him in the hospital, and Umbu arrested her. When I went to talk to her in the Umbu holding center, I found her nearly dead. She had used chakra scalpels on herself to cut her wrist. I saved her life but couldn't take the risk that she would try and kill herself again, so I had her move in with me so I could keep an eye on her. She tried again. Unfortunately, I had to come for an important briefing with an Umbu team who had reported Iwa troops were on the move. When I got home, she was reaching for her wrist with the chakra scalpels again. I lost it and slapped her. I demanded to know why she would do something so stupid. She looked at me with those dead eyes and told me she was numb, she couldn't feel anything anymore, that death would be better than living like that. When everyone who cared for her and she cared for was dead, I argued with her and told her not everyone who cared for her was dead. When she asked who I mentioned her teammates, and she told me that Jiraiya only wanted to fuck her and that Orochimaru didn't care about anyone. I couldn't think of anyone else, so I told her I cared. We argued some more and she claimed I only cared out of a debt for her grandfather and granduncle. That I didn't care for her, and the only way I could think of to prove to her I cared was to kiss her. The kiss turned into more, and in the end you were conceived. Minato frowned and said, that still doesn't explain putting me in the orphanage or letting me live all my life without knowing. Hiruzen said, no, it doesn't. You were 3 weeks old when an Iwa assassin came looking for Tsunade. He found her breastfeeding you. It was her first kill. After that, Tsunade put protecting you as her most important priority. You were everything she had. She went days without sleep or food, making sure nothing happened to you. When she went into the hospital from total exhaustion, I had to step in. I couldn't stand to see her destroy herself and consume you as well, so I put you in the orphanage. When she recovered enough, I told her that I had put you someplace safe where Iwa couldn't find you. I told her if she wanted to protect you, she was going to have to do it as a kunoichi because she wasn't ready to do it as a mother since she couldn't even take care of herself. It was for that reason she fought and trained so hard. When she was 18, you had just turned 3. She came to me and begged me to let her have you. I told her she could only have you when she got married since I couldn't be sure she could take care of you after her failing the first time. It hurt her, but she reluctantly agreed. For the next 3 years she tried to date, and then she met Dan and fell in love. You got older and Dan was killed. Tsunade figured that you lived all those years without her, that you didn't need her, and she didn't want to get close to you because she believed she was cursed. The rest you can say is history. Minato said, that still doesn't explain why you couldn't have been there for me. Hiruzen said, because you would have been in the same danger as you would have if people found out you were Tsunade's son. After all, Naruto would have been in the same danger if people found out he was your son. Minato said, that's a low blow. Hiruzen said, maybe so, but you know I'm right. Kushina saw Minato biting his lip and said, look, you need to deal with the fallout of what happened today. Minato and I are taking Naruto and his wife out of the village to find Jiraiya and Tsunade. Arrange the teams however you want, but we're leaving tomorrow. Hiruzen said, I haven't agreed to that. Minato said, yes you are, or else I'll break every bone in your body. I saw everything Naruto went through. You owe us, and this is a clan matter, so you have no say in it. Hiruzen frowned and said, very well, but who is his wife and when did he get married? Kushina said, her name is Tenten, she's on Guy's team. The Sandaime eyes widened and Kushina said they got married a few days ago after dating for several months. That's all you need to know. Hiruzen said, but Naruto not an adult, so the marriage is not valid. Minato said, you forget you and the council made him an adult when he was still a kid. Hiruzen sighed and said, I have no choice, do I? Minato said no. Hiruzen said, very well, I hope we can discuss this later though. Minato said, perhaps, but I got other things to worry about like my son and daughter-in-law. Good day, Hokage-sama. The Sandaime sighed as he saw Minato and Kushina leave and thought, I'm sorry. Chapter 21. The next morning Naruto awoke to the sound of someone knocking, and he blinked and thought, okay, what the hell is up with waking up to someone knocking on my door all the time? As he got up and went to the door and blinked as he saw Teen Guy standing there, and he frowned and said, can I help you? As he glanced at Tenten a moment. Tenten walked in and said, get dressed. I'll explain on the way. Naruto frowned and Guy said, Tenten, you shouldn't enter a person's house so unyouthfully. Naruto waved his hand and said she can enter any way she pleases. Guy-sensei, don't sit on the couch though. As he went to the bathroom. Tenten asked as the bathroom door closed why. Naruto's voice was heard over the noise of the shower being turned on. I had guests who didn't have a place to stay last night, so they crashed here. Unfortunately, by the noise that woke me up about 2 a.m., they broke in my couch, if you know what I mean. Tenten blushed and walked to a closet and opened it and grabbed a chair out of the closet, and Neji said, you seem pretty familiar with his apartment, Tenten. As they heard the shower shut off. Naruto's voice came out of the bathroom and said, of course she's my wife after all. All of Teen Guy's eyes widened at this, and several shouts of wife were heard, and Tenten glared at Naruto and said, I thought we were going to keep it a secret. Naruto yawned as he came out of the bathroom with a towel around his waist and made his way to the bathroom, and Guy's eyes widened as he saw the Umbu tattoo, and Naruto went to the bedroom and said, we were, except mom and dad are sort of pulling us out of the village the next couple of months. We are going to track down Jiraiya and Tsunade and bring them back before the Chunin exams to help protect Konoha when Orochimaru attacks. Also, we are going to run by and get your uncle to help us also, from what mom and dad told me last night. As he walked back out dressed in his normal clothes. Tenten frowned and said, then you most likely already know why we are here then. Naruto said, not really. That's what's surprising me. Mom and dad told me that I had 3 days to get ready for the trip, and that in the next 3 days I have to destroy the curse seal on Anko, give the new seal to the Hyuga clan to replace the Cagebird seal, to unite the clan under one house, have the templates made for the anti-rape seal so your dad can start selling them, as well as the dress sphere and the medical seal I created. As such, they told me to not even go through the bullshit of heading to the academy today, since I won't be put on a team for now, and to be busy working on those. Since it's going to take me several long hours to do that, I was sleeping in while I could before starting, which is why I was confused when you guys showed up. Tenten said, and why haven't I heard about this yet? I mean, what if I didn't want to come? As she crossed her arms. Naruto said truthfully, I don't know. They said they were going to talk to your dad and you this morning, since they didn't leave Gramps until nearly dark last night, and since I couldn't find you when I came by, I figure that they just were waiting till today to discuss it with you. Shocked the hell out of me, because I was expecting to head to the academy and be put on a team with Sasuke and Sakura under Kakashi today. Neji said you should not fight against your fate, you can't free the Hyuga branch house. Naruto looked at Neji and said, dude, didn't you hear about anything that happened yesterday? Hayashi already knows that he has no choice but to accept my seal because of the law the Fire Lord made before the Hyuga clan ever joined Konoha. If they don't, the entire branch house would become free, and the main house will either be kicked out of the country or executed, depending on if they activated that seal on anyone after they knew a new seal was designed. So in other words, your clan has no choice but to accept it and free your ass. Guy, seeing the shock look on Neji's face, said, are you ready to go, Naruto-san? Naruto said, I am, but only if you tell me first where we are going. Guy said, yes, we are to escort you to the academy where we are to meet Hokage-sama. I do not know what is to happen after that, but hearing your youthful words, I believe that my team will be redesigned with a new student today. Naruto and Tenten frowned, and Naruto said, temp. Student Guy-sensei. Tenten is still your student and will be most likely returned to your command once we return. It's just that Tenten's coming with us to train in her family jutsu, as well as to meet her uncle to get him to come aid Konoha for the upcoming invasion, which is why we are also tracking down Tsunade and Jiraiya of the Sanins to come back to Konoha to help defend it. Lee asked, invasion? What invasion? Naruto sighed and said, Orochimaru has built his own village, called the Hidden Sound. They are going to attack us during the Chunin exams. Possibly with Suna help, depending on if Orochimaru has already assassinated the Kazekage or not. If he has, then Suna has been compromised. Guy said, are you sure it is wise for you to be speaking about this so casually, Naruto? Naruto said, those who don't follow the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Gigi hasn't classified info about it as a secret, and if I can save the lives of Konoha ninja and civilians, then I'll personally tell every person in the village to prepare them so it might save their lives. Guy said, I can see my cool hip rival's teachings in you. Naruto said something like that. Guy said well, I believe that we should continue on our mission, let's go Naruto-san. Naruto nods and offered his hand to Tenten, who took it and stood up, and they quickly left. When they got to the academy, a person screaming could be heard as the group saw Mizuki on the ground with his arms pulled behind him and a foot on his spine pushing forward, and Kushina was the person who had her foot on his spine and arms pulled. Naruto's sweat dropped and said, Mom, what are you doing? Kushina turned and said, Morning, son. This traitor here was planning to kill you by rigging an exploding tag on your seat in the classroom, so I'm teaching him a lesson about what happens to those who try and hurt my son. Naruto frowned and said, You shouldn't get upset in your condition, Mom. Just do this. As he drew back and kicked Mizuki in the balls, making the other guys wince. Kushina said, Damn, and I was having fun. As she pouted. Naruto walked back over to Team Guy and said, Shall we? Causing everyone who watched what just happened to sweat drop. Tenten said, Are you bipolar now? Naruto said, Not really. I just really don't give a damn right now. Tenten frowned and grabbed his arm and yanked him inside the building. Once they got inside Irika classroom, the Sandaime said, So you have finally arrived, Naruto. I expect you to be on time next time. Naruto said, Sorry, I'm late, my parents got lost on the road of life last night, and I had to take a detour and took the long way around. Guy said, Damn you Kakashi and your cool hip attitude infecting young Naruto. Both Minato and Kushina were bright red and the Sandaime had an eyebrow twitch, and just then a swirl of leaves appeared and Kakashi appeared and said, Sorry, I'm late, Hokage-sama, I got lost on the road of life. Naruto said, Blonde, blue, pink, brunette, or redhead. Kakashi gave an eye smile, and the Sandaime, whose eyebrow was twitching even more, said, As I was saying, you should be on time next time. Naruto said, Were you talking to me or him, because he was later than me? The Sandaime slapped his head and said, I give up. Naruto said, What's new, grandfather? Hey Uncle Asuma, Gigi tell you that dad over there is really your half-brother and I'm your nephew. Asuma, whose face was neutral, said the Sandaime informed me as he smoked his cigarette. Naruto said, Cool, what the hell you looking at? As he saw all the wide-eyed looks the class had. The next moment Naruto's face met the floor as Tenten hit him on the head and said, Quit being an asshole. Naruto mumbled, Yes, dear. Tenten crossed her arms with a smirk on her face, and the Sandaime thought, So it's true. And said, Anyways, the reason we are here today is to assign teams. Due to recent events, I have decided to change up the current Team 9 to balance the teams out. The teams are as follows. Team 7 is Naruto Uzumaki, Tenten Uzumaki, and Sasuke Uchiha under Hitaki Kakashi. Kiba said, What the hell? If you're his grandfather, how come his last name is Uzumaki, and if his father is the Yondaime, how come it's not Namikaze? Why is her last name the same as his? Naruto said, Shut the hell up, Kiba, she's my wife, and since the bastard right there put my father in the orphanage instead of raising him, then my dad grew up thinking he was an orphan, and when he married my mom took her clan name, which is Uzumaki. As everyone who didn't know went wide-eyed. The Sandaime closed his eyes and said, Before I continue, Minato, Kushina, I agree with the mission you detailed with me yesterday, but you are taking all of Team 7 with you, including Kakashi and Sasuke. That is non-negotiable. Now Team 8 is Kiba, Shino and Hinata, Team 9 is Niji, Lee and Sakura, and Team 10 is Ino, Shikamaru and Choji. Kakashi, Sasuke, Minato is the client for your mission, and you can get the details from him. As he shoe-shined away. Kakashi said, It's good to see you again, Minato-sensei, but how are you alive? I had heard the rumors, but I hadn't known for sure. Kushina said, Even when you passed out last night when you saw us on our way to Naruto apartment. Kakashi said, I had a very long mission I had just returned from, so I wasn't sure if fatigue had made me imagine it or not. Minato said, In 3 days, I want you and Sasuke to meet us at the South Gate at 7 a.m., and I mean 7 a.m. Kakashi. This will be a long-term search and retrieval mission lasting until most likely the Chunin exams. I want you to help Sasuke pack everything he will need in multi-purpose storage scrolls between now and then. Once we are on the road, I will explain in more detail about our mission. Naruto, you already know what to do, and I'll inform Dustin. You can inform Tenten. Naruto nods and said, See you in 3 days. As he grabbed Tenten's hand and both disappeared in a swirl of leaves, shocking everyone. Shikamaru said, Troublesome, when Sakura said, Wait, how is Naruto married to Tenten and why her? Kushina said they've been married a little over a week now and have been dating for almost 5 months secretly. Now if you will excuse me, I have to prepare. As she left in a swirl of water. Minato walked over to Asuma and said, "Can I talk with you later today, Asuma?" Asuma said, "How long did you know we were related?" Minato said, "Not until after I died. I'll explain more privately, say Tower in 44, 5 p.m. Asuma nods and Minato said, "Good CYA." As he shoo-shined away. When Tenten and Naruto appeared in the woods, Tenten turned and punched Naruto in the face and put her hands on her hips and said, "What the hell's going on, Naruto?" A swirl of water caught her attention before Naruto could say anything as Kushina appeared out of the water and Kushina said, "Oh, looks like I got here just in time. Have you told her anything yet?" Naruto scowled and said, "No, Mom. I don't know how to explain it, I need some time alone." As he left in a swirl of leaves. Tenten frowned and said, "What is going on, Godmother?" Kushina sighed and said, "After you and Naruto got your other bodies, Minato and I had a visitor in the seal, the Shinigami." Tenten eyes widened and asked, "What?" Kushina said, "Yeah, he came to collect our souls, mine, Minato's, Naruto's and yours." Tenten paled and said, "What happened? Why did he come for our souls, my soul?" Kushina said, "Basically we broke a shitload of rules. Minato cheated the Shinigami by not giving him all his soul to seal the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi soul was released from one of Naruto bodies, which is owned by the Shinigami, as part of his payment for sealing the fox. When both of your other bodies were sealed in the Whirlpool seal, you both were considered dead, and then switching bodies for the other bodies killed them, so those two should be dead. Naruto's soul is owed to the Shinigami as part of the price of the sealing of Kyuubi, and now so is yours." Tenten said, "What, but why? I mean, none of this was our idea, really." Kushina said, "I know, but there were other rules that were broken like these." As she rubbed her belly before she said, "The dead cannot create life. Life is a plus, death is a minus. Death can take away from life to create more death, but a minus can't make a plus." Tenten bit her lip and asked, "What's going to happen to us?" Kushina said, "Naruto is immune to Sertian laws because all this going on is being done to him without his choice of consent. You on the other hand chose to join, and we took steps to involve you. Minato and I were able to make a compromise with the Shinigami though. Orochimaru is a key that will reset the world again. Once that happens, Naruto will be sent to another reality, the real reality, but this time though Minato and I won't be coming with him. Our deal with the Shinigami is that Minato will summon the Shinigami to take Orochimaru's soul before I have these babies. Orochimaru has been breaking the rules and cheating death, so we offered Orochimaru's soul in exchange for giving you the same pardon Naruto has in these reality jumps. When reality shifts again, you and Naruto will be inside the bodies of the Naruto and Tenten of that world, while the soul of the Naruto and Tenten from that world just like this one is consumed by the Shinigami as payment for your new lives." Tenten gasped and covered her mouth and said, but Kushina grabbed Tenten by the arms and said, "Listen to me, you are all Naruto has to stop this madness. He can't do it alone. You and him have a bond that unites you both in life and death. If you both don't succeed, then the other Naruto and Tenten won't exist in the first place. Our world won't exist in any way, shape or form. You are the future and the past of our world, Tenten. Even if you haven't realized it yet, you are the mother of the future kunoichi of the world, while Naruto is the father of all the future shinobi of the world. He is the sixth realm sage and you are his wife. You want to prove kunoichi can be just as strong as men? Well, here is your chance. You want to be a strong kunoichi like your idol Tsunade-sama? Well, guess what? She's your great-granddaughter just like me. I wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you. All my ancestors would not exist if it wasn't for you. Naruto wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you, and you wouldn't exist if it wasn't for him. He is your Adam and you are his Eve, he is your earth and you are his heaven. Together you are the world." Tenten was shocked as she heard Kushina words and Tenten said, I didn't know. Kushina said, "I know you didn't realize it, none of us did. Do you think I realized when I gave birth to Naruto he would become the child of Prophesy?" As all color drained from her face, Tenten asked, "What's wrong?" Kushina shook her head and said, "The toads, they have a prophecy about a child who would either save the world or destroy it. Naruto is that child." Tenten said, "You're starting to freak me out, Godmother." Kushina shook her head to clear her thoughts and said, "Listen, Tenten, I know this is a lot to put on your shoulders, which is why I want you to forget it." Tenten screamed, "What, you want me to forget it? Forget my husband?" As she got an angry look on her face. Kushina said, "No, I mean forget about everything else going on in the world. You create your own destinies. If Naruto is to become the sixth realm sage, he will do it. If not, he won't. You may be destined to become the mother of all kunoichi, but you may not also be. We really don't know what is going on. All we have is the word of someone who looks like you and Naruto, claiming to be these people. Since we know an enemy is controlling things through Genjutsu, that means that the whole thing with those future you and Naruto could be all a trap to weaken you. Tenten frowned and said I didn't think about that. Kushina pulled Tenten into a hug and said listen Tenten, you have no idea how proud you have made me. Your mother would never shut up about how proud of you she would be if she was here today. You are a beautiful young woman. Smart, strong and caring. I can see why my son fell for you. I'm going to miss you both when this is over. As she released Tenten. Tenten bit her lip to hold back the tears in her eyes and asked what is going to happen. Kushina smiled sadly and said Minato and I won't be around for much longer. We only have until the Chunin exam finals to find Orochimaru and Minato to summon the Shinigami to take his soul. After that, the Shinigami said he was going to break these Genjutsu on you both and take you to the real world back to yesterday. When you wake up that day you will have the bodies of every you from the different realities sealed on a seal the Shinigami is going to place on you just like the one on Naruto. Naruto can make it where nobody can see it since he's done that for himself. That seal is like a watchdog. It is going to let the Shinigami know where and when you are no matter what, so when you die he can come for your soul and make sure that you end up going where you should. Tenten closed her eyes and asked, am I going to hell? Kushina said no, you're going to limbo, all of us are. The Shinigami is going to have Kami review our case and decide our fate. While Kami decides our fate, we will exist in a place that souls who can't easily be placed get put. When Minato summons the Shinigami to take Orochimaru's soul, Minato, me and both the babies will be taken there where I will be able to have these children. Then when you both die hopefully of old age after giving me lots of grandchildren, you both will come there to live with us until our fates are decided. Tenten frowned and said so should Naruto and I try our best to be as good as possible to help our case before Kami. Kushina shook her head and said no, that would pretty much damn you to hell. That would be you doing what you thought you should to gain favor with the judge and wouldn't be the real you. The best thing you can do is live your life the way you want it. Once you die, if you live a good life the way you wanted it and not the way you think Kami wants it, then you would be honestly judged by that. But if you live how you think Kami would vote good for you, then you would be committing a sin of doing it to save yourself and that wouldn't be good. Tenten asked how do you know that? Kushina said your husband asked the same question to save you, he even offered to take your place if you were to be sent to hell, he loves you that much. Tenten said wait, he knows all this already. Kushina said we showed him yesterday using the whirlpool before he was summoned to the council chambers. That was why he killed Danzo, it's also what shoved a kunai up his ass today. He hates himself right now. He hates himself because he's hurt you. Tenten asked what he didn't hurt me. Kushina said he saw it in your eyes when you admitted to your dad about you may not be his Tenten. That hurt you to know that the dad you had isn't the one you were born to. He also hurt you by possibly damning your soul to hell because of getting close to him. Tenten pursed her lips together and said he's pushing everyone away isn't he, that's why he's acting like a jerk. Kushina nods and asked can you blame him to finally have his parents in his life and accept them and learn that they are going to be taken from him to find out the only person to care for him without doing it out of pity, guilt or duty to us is going to be possibly punished because of him. Tenten closed her eyes and Kushina said that is why I am begging you to save him from himself. You showed me the reason you first started to fall in love with him is his faith in himself. In this clearing you saw as he was nearly destroyed thanks to that bastard Mizuki, why do you think I was hurting him when you arrived? He could have destroyed the Naruto that you fell in love with, the one who you know more than anyone else, the one only you know of. This is the same thing. Irika may have helped him some, but you saw his memories of the night after he got home where he thought he was destined to be alone because of Kyubi. It was you who saved him when you entered his life. As she got on her knees and said as she bowed, please save him again. As the tears she fought to hold back began to fall. Tenten, who was shocked, felt Kushina's sorrow in her heart and said please get up godmother, I'm his wife. I would have saved him even if you hadn't have asked me to. Kushina slowly stood up wiping the tears from her face and whispered thank you. Tenten sighed and said my vow to Naruto was real, even if in this timeline our marriage isn't legal, I still love him and consider him my husband. I made a promise to be his strength and he promised to be mine, I just wish he would have told me what was going on. Kushina giggled slightly and said he gets that from his father, it's one of the reason I fell for the baka. He's so selfless, willing to sacrifice everything for others, but when he has his own problems he tries to hide it and hold it in, but he can't hold it in, it reflects in his life. I sometimes joked around saying when Minato had something troubling him it was like he had male PMS. I can see the same thing is happening to Naruto now. The only way I found to help Minato is to push and push until he finally breaks down and tell me what is wrong. He fights, he tries to push back and tries to ignore the problem or distracts me by changing the subject or starting a fight, but he's a guy, he may have PMS, but there is no way a guy will ever be a bigger bitch than we can be. It's what makes us special. Tenten giggled as she saw the look on Kushina's face and Kushina said, but that's what works for Minato and me. Naruto is a lot like his father. You are his strength, but you are also his weakness. If something comes up that he believes is a danger to you, he will protect you any way he can. You're going to have to prove to him that you can take care of yourself and that you're here to save him. He's strong physically, but emotionally he's as fragile as glass, being dropped as his wife and a woman in general. You are going to have to be the one to catch him before he hits the ground and shatters. I know sometimes glass can fall and not break, but how many times are you willing to risk something as precious as him to being dropped before he's destroyed forever? Tenten sobered up at Kushina's words and said, why are you telling me this? Kushina smiled and said, men don't understand women physically. Men are stronger than us, but then why were women created from a male's rib? The answer is because we are not here to be their physical strength. We are here to be their emotional strength. That is why we were created by a bone on the inside of a man used to protect them. Women were created to protect men emotionally. I'm telling you this so you know and understand your duty as a woman, a wife, and someday a mother. Your father did a great job raising you, but there are some things that a man cannot understand or able to tell. This is one of those things. Tenten said, you make it sound like we are weaker than them. Kushina said, it's easy to heal from being cut by one of these. As she held up a kunai, physical strength isn't really something to brag about, but a woman can cut a man in ways no physical weapon can. We can destroy a man with a look or a word, and they could be destroyed forever, and the wounds we cause take a lot longer to heal than any physical weapon. Some never do heal. You have that power over Naruto. Naruto will be physically stronger than you, but like what is happening here, he can be destroyed emotionally so easily. In your relationship with him, you are his strength and weakness as he is yours. You're a strong and proud woman. My son can be a bit stubborn and hard-headed at times, but you both are all the other has. That is why we are going on this training trip. Minato and I are going to spend time with you both, teaching you things that we think can help you in the life you both have in front of you. Sometimes it will be about combat and training, and other times it will be about love, loss, and life like this. These are the things that define who Minato and I are. These lessons are the ones that we wish to teach you so that way you can teach them to your children and they theirs. Tenten rubbed her head as she was embraced, and Kushina said, you picked that up from spending time with Minato and I after you were born. Tenten stopped rubbing her head and Kushina said, well, that's all I came to say. I still have to talk with your father about you leaving, so see you later, and remember we leave in 3 days. As she shoo-shined away, Tenten looked at where Kushina was a moment and thought, I think I understand now what you were saying. Thank you for stopping me from making a mistake. Now where can you be, Naruto? We need tea talk. Naruto was sparring in the woods behind the Hokage monument when a kunai destroyed a Kage Bunshin and Tenten appeared, quickly grabbing the sword that was dropped and attacked Naruto. As both began to battle each other, Tenten said, talk. Naruto said, huh, about what? Tenten said, what shoved a 3-foot kunai up your ass? You're starting to act like Neji. If I wanted someone who would be emo, I would have married him instead of you. Naruto scowled and said, maybe you should have. Tenten's eyes widened as she heard this. The next moment Naruto was getting his ass handed to him by Tenten, who was fighting to take limbs off. As Naruto ducked and lost half the spikes on his head, he flipped away and said, what the hell, Tenten? In a shocked voice as he saw his hair on the ground, Tenten said, how dare you say that to me? Do you know how much that hurt me? As she glared at him, Naruto frowned and thought over a moment what he said and said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, it's just. Tenten, who had crossed her arms, said, it's just what you were going to tell me. What the hell gave you male PMS, or I am going to kick your ass all over this mountain. Naruto sighed and said, did mom tell you about the Shinigami, about what's going to happen? Tenten said, yeah, and Naruto blinked and said, and what doesn't it upset you about what the Shinigami said that you? Tenten said, will be just fine, I'm not some weak little girl who needs to be protected, Naruto. I'm a kunoichi, and I can take care of myself and deal with the consequence of my decisions. I'm not worried about what happens later. You talk to Neji about fate, and yet here you are thinking you have to accept this fate or that. We decide our own fate, isn't that what you told Neji? Are you being a hypocrite? Naruto said no, but Tenten said no buts. Now I'm not going to worry about the future. In the words of the man I married, the future can kiss my ass. I'll make my own future now. I am wondering where the hell the man I married is. Naruto said, I'm right here. Tenten said, no you're not. If you were, then you wouldn't have ran away like a little pussy to go have his little emo party. He would have come to me and told me what the hell, cut off his balls and turned him into a woman with PMS. Naruto looked down and said I'm sorry Tenten. Tenten said, just shut up, you hurt me a minute ago when you said I should have married Niji. I love you, damn it Naruto, but I'm not going to be treated the way you are trying to treat me. I am your wife, your companion, and your equal. You are my strength and I am yours. Remember our vows to each other. Now you either shape up and start acting like the man I married instead of the pussy who came up here to hide, or I am going to show you who the biggest bitch on this mountain is and kick your ass all over it. Naruto said, you think you can kick my ass? Tenten took a stance and said, yeah I do. Naruto took one as well and said, your ass is mine. Tenten said, we already know that, but we're not talking about sex. Both got a smirk on their face and Naruto's smirk softened and said, I love you Tenten. Tenten said, and you Naruto, just please talk to me and tell me what is bothering you to help you deal with it from now on, that's my job. Why else do you think women were originally created from a man's ribs? We are here to protect you on the inside. Naruto smiled softly and said, I see, I'll try to do better in the future then. Naruto blocked the strike from Tenten, who said good. As they both began to spar. Chapter 22. It has been 3 months since Team 7 left Konoha. Minato shook his head as he looked at the scene play out in front of him and thought there is just no way possible to explain this. As he slapped his head, Kushina next to him smirked and said, I told you. Minato said, I know, what do you think Kakashi? Kakashi was rubbing his mask and said, do you think the Sandame will have me arrested for losing Sasuke? Minato said he would have to find out first. Seriously, though, Sasuke got to have worse luck than my mother, and that's bad. Tsunade eyebrow twitched and said, shut up brat. Speaking of brats, where's yours? As she began to look around. Just then Tenten came walking in with a diamond necklace, a black silk dancing dress and a pair of high heels, and a smirk on her face as she rested her head on Naruto's shoulder, who had his arm around her and came in wearing a long silk robe with jewels and gold trim in it. Everyone in the room stopped what they were doing when they saw Naruto and Tenten enter, and Kushina said, son, why are you and Tenten dressed like that? Naruto said, well, you know, Wind Country. Tsunade said, what about it? Just then Jiraiya and another man both came walking in with a cardboard box around each of their waist, and Naruto said, well, I sort of own it now. Minato asked how. Naruto said, well, remember how we first met grandma here? Minato said, how can I forget? Flashback, it had been a little over 2 months since Team 7 had left Konoha. Naruto and Tenten were walking through a small gambling town called Urchin, and Tenten said, you really need to calm down Naruto. I know he pisses you off, but there's nothing you can do. Naruto, who had his fist clenched, frowned and said, I can't believe that bastard, he had the nerve to demand my parents to train him after he saw us sparring. Mom, Dad and Kakashi all three agreed before we ever left Konoha that Mom and Dad would train us in our family styles and Kakashi would train Sasuke. Basically all three of us being an apprentice, but that's not good enough for him. Damn it, I think I should have just let him run away that day at the academy if this is what was going to happen. Tenten sighed and looked around and said, come on, Mom and Dad said they wanted us to come have some fun and relax while we are here, and they would look for clues of finding either Jiraiya or Tsunade. Kakashi taken the bastard off to teach him about lightning manipulation, so we got the day to ourselves basically. Naruto smiled slightly and said, all right, what do you want to do? Tenten said, basically the only thing I see in this town to do is gamble, let's go spend a little and try it out. Naruto nods and follows Tenten into a casino, and Naruto looked around and said, what do you want to play? Tenten said, let's try the slots first. As she pulled out some money and went to the cash window. A few moments later she returned with a bucket full of coins. An hour later both Naruto and Tenten were sitting with a couple of buckets full of change, and Tenten said, this is so not fair. How the hell can you have such good luck? I mean, you win 90 and lose 10. That's your average. Naruto shrugged and said, I don't know, beginner's luck, I guess. Hey, what's going on over there? Tenten turned to look where Naruto was looking, and Tenten frowned and said, I don't know, but that woman looks like she's in trouble. Can you hear what they are saying? Naruto sent chakra to his ears and said, I hear them say something about he master owing a debt to the casino for a loan they gave her master. Damn it, they're either going to make her master pay for her release or she's going to become property for the casino to use to make money back. Tenten frowned and said, what should we do? Naruto thought a moment and said, I got an idea. You got any of those low-grade tags on you? You know, the ones I created to catch fish. Tenten said, yeah, why? Naruto said, act like you need to go to the restroom and slip one on the machines as you pass. Wait until you're in the restroom to activate it. I'll take care of the rest. Tenten said, are you sure? I mean, I don't want someone getting hurt. Naruto said no one will get hurt. Now hurry, I don't like the way those guys are looking at that woman. Tenten got up and left and Naruto waited a moment after seeing where she put the tag and got the machine directly across from it with his back to the tag. A few seconds later, there was a small explosion and Naruto screamed out in pain as he fell to the ground, catching the attention of everyone in the casino. Naruto held his arm as blood flowed down his arm and said, "Oh god, the pain, my arm, someone get a doctor, oh the pain." Tenten, who came back, saw Naruto bleeding and screamed, "Naruto, oh god, what happened?" Naruto said, "I don't know, I was playing a new machine when there was an explosion and something struck my arm. I don't know if I'll ever be able to use my arm again, oh the pain. Find the manager and tell him if he doesn't get me a doctor in quick. I'm sending word to the feudal lord about the death trap he's got here and tell him that this place is going to hurt the feudal lord's profit by making people go to other countries that are safer, oh my arm," as he rocked back and forward cradling his arm. The woman both had seen earlier rushed over and said, "I'm a medic, let me see your arm." Naruto's eyes widened slightly and thought, damn, I didn't know she was a medic. "Oh well, that works also." And said, "Please hurry, I'm losing feeling in my arm." The woman nods and her hand began to glow green, and as she started to scan, she looked at Naruto to judge his reaction to the treatment when she saw him wink and mouth the words "play along." The woman blinked and then Naruto's entire arm was covered in green chakra and healed quickly, and Naruto said, "Wow, you're amazing, lady." As the chakra faded and Naruto's arm healed and he began to move it and said, "Thanks lady, now who the hell's the owner of this place? I've got a bone to pick with him." A man in a suit walked forward and said, "I am." "Now what seems to be the problem?" Naruto said, "My problem is you're going to have to reimburse me for the pain and suffering I felt thanks to your casino faulty equipment. Not to mention part of my winnings fell on the floor." The man said, "Like hell I am." Naruto said, "Yes you are. I heard part of what you guys were saying to this lady here about her owing you some money, and if she didn't pay you were going to basically make her a slave. Well, you owe me money, so either you're going to pay me or I'm going to make you my slave, bitch. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. I'm sure once I tell the other casino in this town about how you're not paying up on your debts, they would be more than willing to help me collect in exchange for part ownership in your casino, and if you haven't noticed, we collected a pretty good crowd who I am sure would like to spread gossip about you business not being honest and paying when you lose." The man frowned as he glanced around and said, "How much did you lose?" Naruto thought a moment and said, "About $2,000, give or take $200. I could have lied, but I'm honest about what's owed me." The man said, "Fine, I'll pay you $2,200, but I never want to see you again." Naruto said, "No, I'll take your offer, but this lady fixed my arm. I don't know how bad it was really, but your machine could have cost me my livelihood, but she saved it and in doing so saved your ass from being taken to the cleaners by me. You pay me what you offer as well as clear whatever debt you're holding over her head, and I'll leave peacefully along with this lady and never come back to your place. If not, I'll take you to the cleaners for the pain and suffering you caused me in not only my body but also ruining my vacation with my wife here." As he motioned to Tenten. The man frowned and looked at the crowd and said, "Deal, but I don't want to see any of you in here again." Naruto said, "Right, give me my money and we'll leave." The man pulled out his wallet and paid Naruto quickly, and Naruto offered Tenten his arm and they both began to walk out along with the woman who healed Naruto. Once they were on the streets, the woman said, "Thank you for that. I don't know what I could ever do to repay you." Before either could say anything, a shout of "Shizun" drew their attention. All three turned to the source of the shout and Tenten gasped and said, "Tsunade-sama," causing the now identified Shizun to look at her. Naruto blinked as he looked at Tsunade and thought, "So that's my grandmother, great." Tsunade walked up and said, "Shizun, we're leaving, who's the brats?" Naruto said, "The son of the bastard you and your sensei had, grandma." Tenten slapped her forehead and Shizun blinked and looked at Naruto and then at Tsunade, who was frozen, and said softly, "What did you say?" Naruto said, "Cut long ways next time, grandma. Come on Tenten, let's go." As he started to walk away, Tenten said, "Hold on a damn minute. We've been searching for her for the past 2 months and now that we find her you're going to get PMS again, what the hell's your problem?" Naruto said, "Grandma here nearly had this lady become a sex slave because she wasn't going to pay her debt. If we hadn't have did what we did, then from the looks of it, since I saw the way grandma was looking around looking out for someone, most likely a debt collector, she was going to leave this woman here to pay granny's debt while grandma made her escape. You may respect her and want to be like her, but any respect I had for her is gone now. A swirl of leaves appeared in the middle of the road and Minato appeared and said, "Oh Naruto Tenten, you both ready to go? We got a hot lead on mom." As he finally noticed Tsunade standing there, Naruto said, "We got one of our own, grandma, your bastard your mother, I'm going to get drunk." As he turned and started to walk away, Minato shot a questioning look at Tenten, who sighed and said basically the story of his life. Gets all excited about meeting a relative only to be disappointed. "If you will excuse me, Tsunade-sama, I need to go stop my husband." As she took off toward the bar Naruto had just entered. Just as she was about to enter, a shout of Rasengan was heard and a figure could be seen flying out of the bar backwards, covered in a ball of energy. As the figure slammed into a building, everyone could see it was Jiraiya, who had just been hit with the Rasengan, and a moment later a kunai stabbed Jiraiya in the leg before a yellow flash appeared, and with Naruto driving a knee in Jiraiya's balls. Jiraiya cried out, "Why?" as he looked up in pain at Naruto's face. Naruto said, "Hello Godfather," before he spat in Jiraiya's face and yanked the Hiraishin kunai out of Jiraiya's leg. Naruto then turned and walked back toward Tenten and said, "It's a topless bar and the pervert was getting a lap dance." Before he turned and began to walk away, Tenten shook her head and looked at the shocked Tsunade, the angry Minato, the passed out bleeding Jiraiya, and then at the retreating back of Naruto, and thought, as much as I want to tell him he's being an ass, I honestly have to say they each deserve it, and these are the role models we were taught to look up to. No wonder the world's so fucked up. As she ran after Naruto. End flashback. Tsunade said, "What does that have to do with anything, brat? Why is Jiraiya and that other guy wearing a cardboard box?" Tenten giggled and said, "Well, remember how Jiraiya said he would do anything to make it up to Naruto for not being there after that, and after Minato chewed his ass out for failing Naruto as his godfather. Naruto pulled the same stunt we used to free Shizen that day and told Jiraiya, since he caused Naruto pain and suffering, especially after he learned Jiraiya took all Naruto money that was supposed to be given to him out of your accounts and invested it and lost it all, that he was basically a slave to Naruto, who actually put a seal on Jiraiya. As such, any time Jiraiya gets a nosebleed or giggles pervertedly or even gets a hard-on from peeking, the seal activates and causes him to feel like his balls are being cut off. Since it's made it where Jiraiya can't do his research, he hasn't sent his editor any new books, and so Jiraiya was summoned to the Windlord and he brought Naruto and me along to prove his story, and the Windlord ordered Naruto to release Jiraiya so he could continue his books, and Naruto told him no because Jiraiya books caused him pain and suffering. The Windlord offered a compromise and asked how much Naruto wanted in order for him to release Jiraiya so he could continue his books. Naruto said he wanted everything the person who profited the most from Jiraiya's books owned, and he would release Jiraiya from his debt. The Windlord agreed, thinking Jiraiya would be the one who would have to give up everything, but the Windlord and Jiraiya were equal business partners, 50-50, so by his own order Naruto now owns everything Jiraiya and the Windlord owned, including their cloths, which is why they are like that. Why is Sasuke chained to the wall wearing a leather thong? Over against the wall, Sasuke was chained to the wall wearing only a thong and a ball gag. Naruto burst out laughing and said, "Oh god, I need a camera. What happened? Why is Sasuke like that?" Minato said, "Well, basically while you were taking over a country, Sasuke got the bright idea to try and cheat using his Sharingan to count the cards. He thought if he used a genjutsu over his eyes, that nobody would find out, even after all the signs warned about ninja cheating. As such, Sasuke was caught and arrested by the casino, and he's now owned by the casino." Naruto asked, "But why was he cheating?" Tsunade said, "I made a bet that he could never be luckier than you are at gambling, and he offered me a bet the entire Uchiha fortune versus the secret to my super strength I've been teaching Tenten. He lost over $4,000 in an hour and tried to use his Sharingan to cheat, and the rest is history. At least I won the Uchiha clan fortune." Everyone blinked and Shizen said, "You won, Tsunade-sama." At this, everyone began to pale before there was a rumbling sound, making everyone to look around, and Kakashi said, "What's that noise?" The next moment, a three-headed snake busted through the walls of the casino, and there stood Orochimaru on the head of the snake, and Naruto thought, "Damn it, grandma, your fucking luck strikes again." Chapter 23. Naruto groaned as he heard a knocking on a door, and he looked around quickly. He said, "Damn it, not again," as he rolled over and pulled a cover over his head. A few moments later, there was a small boom sound and a thud as Naruto's door fell in on the floor, and Naruto groaned even more as Tenten's voice said, "Oops, Naruto, you here?" Naruto said with his head covered up, "We're sorry, the party you are searching for is not in right now. Please leave your name, address, message, and a 3x5 sexy picture at the beep beep." Tenten said, "Great, you're imsing again." Naruto blinked and sat up and said, "IMS. What the hell is that?" Tenten smirked and said, "Irritable man syndrome." In other words, male PMS. Naruto sighed and said, what do you expect? I just saw Grandma Tsunade get ate by a 100-foot-tall white 8-headed snake while she was frozen in fear from seeing the blood where Orochimaru stabbed Mom through the heart. I saw Jiraiya get taken out by that dude with the bones. Shizune was taken out by that 6-armed freak. You were captured by those fuckers who merged with your body. I was fighting that fat ass and that flute chick. Mom might have been able to help if one of us could have gotten to the sword and pulled it out of her heart, but none of us could, and Dad wound up summoning the Shinigami. I don't know what the hell happened to Sasuke during all of that. Tenten sighed and sat down on the bed next to him and said, tell me about it. That was the hardest battle I have ever been in. Naruto said, yeah, if that's the strength of what we are going to have to face, I'm scared. Tenten, I lost everyone else already twice, and I'm worried that I'll lose you. Tenten looked down and said, me too. When I lost control of my body when those guys merged with me, I couldn't stop thinking that this is it, that I was going to leave you, and I came to a decision. Naruto asked, what decision? Tenten began to make a few hand signs and her hands glowed and she touched her stomach and then touched Naruto's stomach, confusing Naruto a moment before his eyes widened and said, Tenten. That Tenten said, yeah, I may not be ready to be a mother, but I am ready to be your wife in every way. Naruto. I sent a message to my team and told them I couldn't make it today and I came immediately here. We got 3 hours before you have to be at the academy. That gives us 2 hours to have a proper honeymoon and an hour to get cleaned up. So the question is, are you ready to become my husband in every way? Her answer was Naruto kissing her as he made a couple of sealless Kage buns to go fix the door to his apartment. After that, Naruto then pulled Tenten close and began to kiss her passionately before moving slowly down her jaw to the base of his neck and find her pulse spot and began to nibble on it, causing Tenten to moan and asked in a gasping breath, where did you learn that? Naruto smirked and said, my grandfather's a pervert, my father's a closet pervert, my godfather a super pervert, and my sensei an open pervert. Needless to say, I was given lots of ideas. I hope to try out with you, my love. Tenten said, is that so? Well, you should know, I've also learned a thing or two from the Ice Queen of Konoha, the Snake Mistress of Konoha, and the legendary Sucker. The next moment Naruto found himself pushed back on the bed and his boxers shoved down to his knees. A few minutes later, after the two clones fixed the door, they heard Tenten moaning before they heard Naruto grunting, and the two clones looked at each other and one said, you put up that privacy jutsu and then go train on chakra control. I'll go to the academy and replace boss for the exam. The other clone said, hey, why do you get to go to the academy and not me? The first clone said, well, if you insist, I'll go train then. Don't forget the privacy jutsu, oh, and remember you can't do anything to show off besides the actual test, or you could be discovered and cost boss his height. See ya. As he shoe-shined away. The second clone blinked and blinked again and screamed, God damn it. As he thought, I got tricked by myself. As he quickly put up a privacy jutsu and left. In the bedroom, Naruto, who was on his back feeling Tenten oral skills, looked at Tenten, who froze and looked toward the door going to the rest of the apartment when she heard the shout of God damn it, and Naruto said, my words exactly. I think turnabout's fair play. As he flipped Tenten and pinned her to the bed before continuing to kiss the pulse spot on her neck before he unbuttoned her shirt and shorts. Meanwhile, on top of the Hokage monument, the clone who tricked the other one jumped into the woods and put his hands in a seal and said, Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. And as the clearing was filled with nearly 200 clones, the original clone said, all right, listen up, we need to help boss and the other generation 1 clone as much as possible. I want 25 of you to work on leaf balancing, 25 on tree climbing, 25 on water walking, 25 on kunai balancing, 25 on wind manipulation, 25 on water manipulation, and 25 on earth manipulation. A clone asked, what about the last 25? The original clone said, body study. We know what our body can do. See how out of shape our body really is by running, jumping, swimming, kicks, punches, and anything else you think will be off between these bodies and our old ones. Boss is going to need to know what he can and can't do. Quickly begin. A few hours later, both Naruto and Tenten were passed out asleep with Tenten laying on top of Naruto's chest. At the academy, a Kage Bunshin of Naruto who had sat in the back of class thought, I am such an ass, I am going to kick my ass when I get out of here. Ruto, hello, are you paying attention, Naruto? Naruto blinked and said, you say something, Iruka-sensei. Iruka got a twitch on his eyebrow and said, I was calling you to take your test, Naruto. You should be more observant, Naruto. Naruto said, sorry about that, Iruka-sensei, but I was trying to figure out something that has been bothering me since the last time I took this test. How can a guy who can't even use chakra pass or a kid who has a fake arm? Iruka asked, what do you mean? Naruto said, Rock Lee, that kid on Team 9, he has a condition that makes it where he can't use chakra. There's also that girl who lost her arm as a baby in the QB who passed a few years ago. How did they both pass? Irika said well, Rock Lee passed because even though he was unable to use chakra, he worked hard enough to get his taijutsu up to Chunin level to compensate for his ability not to pass. As for the girl you are speaking about, she also got her skills of chakra strings up to Chunin level. Why do you ask? Naruto said, so you're saying that if someone is unable to pass in one area, if they are able to compensate for it in another area with at least Chunin level skills, they would pass. Irika said yes, now come on, it's your turn. Naruto said no need Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. As 10 Kage Bunshin appeared and Naruto smirked and said fangirl no Jutsu. As each of the Naruto in the room turned into different girls who were member of Sasuke fan club, and each of them said, oh Sasuke-kun, we found out about the Clan Restoration Act that says that you have to have more than one girlfriend or wife, so that means we can share. Isn't that great, Sasuke-kun? We don't have to fight over you anymore. As each fangirl replaced themselves with the original fangirls in the class before dispelling, and Naruto said, see sensei, if they could pass with Chunin level skills, the fact I can do a Jounin level skill means I pass also, right? Irika looked at Naruto in the back of the class and asked, how did you do that? Naruto said, which part? The Henges, the replacements, or the clones? Irika said, all of it. Naruto said, well, Kage Bunshin can do almost anything the original can do, and since they're solid they, hey boss, what are you doing here? The real Naruto, who ran and huffing and puffing for breath, said, sorry I'm late Irika-sensei, I got lost on the road of life. Irika looked back and forward between the two Naruto, as did everyone else, and Irika said, Naruto, what's going on here? Dispel the Kage Bunshin and explain. Naruto dispelled the one who was in the back of class, shocking everyone, and the real Naruto said, well you see Irika-sensei, someone tried to break into my apartment real early this morning and broke my door right off the Henges. Luckily, the noise from the door being broken in woke me up, and I was able to use some leftover paint from where I painted the Hokage monument to throw it on their face mask to temporarily blind them, and I used Henjin Kage Bunshin to make it look like a team of Umbu appear in my apartment to find out what the noise was, and the person I hit with the paint saw them and threw a kunai at me before shining away. Luckily, I was able to use replacement with one of my clones to save myself. After they were gone, I sent a Kage Bunshin to find an Umbu and tell them what happened, but none ever showed up, so I started to repair my door and clean up the paint to protect my stuff while I sent a Kage Bunshin here to tell you I was going to be late until I could get my door fixed since I didn't want to have my stuff stolen. Wait, damn it, I told him not to do any pranks. He just had to reveal that Sasuke literally screwed, since now his fangirls can join together and chase after his affection since he's the last male of his clan. I bet Sakura and Ino already knew this, with Ino being a clan heiress who had to study all the laws of her station, and Sakura being the top kunoichi and book smarts who spends her time studying at the library instead of training probably looked it up also. And this whole rivalry they had going on was a lie to make the other girls not see them as a threat, since they've been secretly working together all these years to sabotage the other girls' chances of being with Sasuke. I guess you both must have taken the lesson about deception to heart like true kunoichi, huh? As he looked at Sakura and Ino, who both had a deer in the headlight look as they saw Sasuke and the other girls looking at them, and Ino said, that's right, I'm surprised you figured it out dead last. Sakura said, yeah. Come on Ino, let's share Sasuke like we planned all along. As she moved to sit by Sasuke, and Ino quickly moved to the other side of Sasuke. Of course, this caused a catfight to start, where Ami grabbed Ino by her hair and yanked her out of her seat while another girl yanked Sakura out also by her hair. Naruto, who glanced around the room, saw everyone, but Shikamaru was looking at what was going on with the girls while Shikamaru looked at Naruto, who winked at him, and Shikamaru muttered troublesome. It took 10 minutes to get order restored to class while Naruto took a hide and sat down in the back of class, avoiding what was going on while thinking, I hope you like the show 1010. As he glanced out the window where 1010 was hiding in the tree. Irika finally screamed everyone in their seat now. Using his big head no jutsu. Once everyone was in their seat, Irika said, now Naruto, what are you doing with a Hi8? Naruto said, what the test is Henge replacement and the Bunshin no Jutsu. I can't do the Bunshin no Jutsu because I have too much chakra, and you and everyone else knows it. I mean, I made Kage Bunshin. They're a Jounin level jutsu. If someone would have taught me that jutsu 2 years ago, I would probably already buy a Chunin and graduated early instead of being the bottom of the class. After all, book smarts will only get you so far in life, and most of the book stuff we had to study in the academy has been sent through so many filters to make sure other villages don't learn our village secrets that it's basically useless. I mean, look at the Shodame Hokage. We studied 2 whole months on him, and the sad thing is you can go up to any civilian in any village and ask them who was the Shodame Hokage and what was special about him. They will tell you his name was Hashirama Senju. He could use the Mokuton bloodline. He founded Konoha by making peace with the Uchiha clan, had a brother who became the Naidame Hokage. Died fighting Madara Uchiha, who is believed to have died at the Valley of the End, but it can't be proved since no body was ever discovered for either of them. They could have both died there, or one could have lived for a while and died later in secret, or any number of things, but we spent 2 whole months learning all that when anyone could have gave us that info because it's common knowledge. Naruto saw he had everyone's attention and he said most of the things we studied have been that way, so the way I see it, the actual book grades don't mean shit in the world, and while my book grades may suck, the only person in this class I haven't beat physically at least once is Sasuke. What good is book grades going to do any of us when an enemy sneaks up behind us and stabs us in the back with a kunai because our actual skills suck so much? But answer me this: if I'm really the dead last, why is it that I could paint the Hokage monument in broad daylight wearing orange without getting caught until I was done? If that paint had been exploding tags and I was an enemy ninja, then half the village would have been destroyed by that. Also, I outrun and evaded Umbu-Chunmin and Jounin for a while, and the only person who actually could catch me was you, sensei, and that is only because you're a trained sensor type. If I'm wrong, then why is it only 3 teams out of every 9 who graduate actually pass to become ninja? It's because most of the people in this room will fail to prove they are both physically and mentally prepared to be ninja. Everyone was listening and looking at Mizuki, who had his eyes narrowed, and Irika said, "How do you know the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto?" Naruto said, "Well, I met this really old dude a few weeks back. He said he had came back to the village to pay his respect to his daughter Grave, who died on a mission, and he saw me and we talked, and he said that the current way the academy is teaching us is the same bullshit that wound up getting his daughter killed. He told me that in the Hidden Mist village, they don't do the graduating test like they do here. I hear they have students live together, eat together, sleep together, and then on graduation day, they have the student fight each other to the death. The winners become ninja, the losers are buried in mass graves. Is that true, sensei? Is that why they call it the Bloody Mist?" Irika frowned and saw all the student there looking at him, and he said, "Yes, Naruto, that's true." Naruto nods and asked, "Then what good is book grades going to do against that kind of training? Sakura, the top kunoichi of our class, because of her book grades, but if she faced an academy student from the Hidden Mist today, she would either be raped or killed because she can't run longer than 10 minutes without needing to stop to catch her breath. Her chakra reserves are so small that using replacement more than 3 times tires her out, and she's not very fast or strong either. I'm not trying to make any of you feel weak, Sakura, I'm just using you as an example as the top kunoichi of our class. Seriously, though, do you disagree with what I said? I'm just trying to get you all to open your eyes and wake up to the reality of what you are about to face so you can save yourselves before it's too late." Irika said, "You shouldn't be trying to discourage others, Naruto." Naruto said, "I'm not. That was why I asked you if what the old guy told me was true. He told me that out of the 9 teams that graduate, only 3 will actually become real teams, that the others either get sent back to the academy or for remedial training. That today's test isn't really the real Genin test. That is actually given to us by our Jounin sensei, and those tests are to see if we are willing to put the good of the mission in front of our own personal goals. Like the bell test, where the Jounin gives 2 bells and tell us one of us is going to fail no matter what. In truth, it is a teamwork test to make it where teams are willing to work together for the good of the mission, because on a real mission, the one who gets sent back to the academy would be the one who had to sacrifice their lives to delay the enemy so the other 2 could return with the info to save the village." Irika got a nervous look on his face and asked, "How do you know about that, Naruto?" Naruto said, "That old man I was telling you about. He told me how his daughter had went on her first mission outside of the village with her team. She was the top kunoichi of her class, and the academy made her believe that book smarts is all she needed. They were attacked by bandits and both her teammates were killed, and she was captured when her body was found a month later. When a team was sent to investigate, they discovered she had been raped repeatedly before they cut off her toes and let her bleed to death. I don't want to see that happen to any of the girls in our class, so will you tell us the truth, sensei? That situation that the old man's daughter was in, how common is that? I mean, is it a once-in-a-lifetime thing, or are we really going to face that kind of danger out there? If so, then why does the academy focus on so much edited information and not on actual training? I mean, they make girls learn flower arranging and tea ceremony. How often does a genin kunoichi have to actually use those skills? I mean, those are used to help kunoichi infiltrate enemy villages where they would most likely have to seduce their targets. Those are Chunnin level missions. Why teach those skills in the academy when kunoichi should be learning to defend themselves instead of being the weakest member of their teams? I may be the dead last in book smarts, but I'm physically strong enough to defeat any of the kunoichi in this class, possibly any 2 or 3 of them at a time. Doesn't our village care about kunoichi as something else than hookers and prostitutes? I mean, isn't that the cover most kunoichi are given for infiltration missions? Iruka saw the looks the others in the class were giving him and he said, well, you see the academy education is approved of by the council. Naruto said, why, I mean, this is a ninja academy, ninja fall under the Hokage command, not the council. Why do they get to decide on what the ninja should learn when most of the council are civilians who never even been ninja in the first place unless they are the ones wanting the missions done? I mean, I know a lot of the adults males in this village are perverts. Are they making kunoichi education so weak so they could be used to get their loads off since most adult women find them disgusting or not up to standards to please them? Why is it that you don't stand up for our kunoichi, Iruka-sensei? I mean, wait, is that why you pass out from my sexy no jutsu because you are a pervert too? That's why you don't stand up for them. I bet you and Mizuki-sensei have been planning which ones you were going to try and have sex with later, weren't you? Oh my god, that explains why our seats are set up the way they are, so that when you are at the front of the class you can look up the kunoichi dresses and see what's underneath. You perverts. Outside the classroom in a tree, Tenten had her hand over her mouth to keep from bursting out laughing as she heard everything from the open window. Tenten watched as all the kunoichi began to shout at Iruka and Mizuki, and then began to beat them down. Inside the Hokage office, the Sandaime eyebrow twitched as he looked at what happened and said, Kurenai, when you retrieve Tenten, please bring Naruto as well. Kurenai said, yes sir, though I do think he made some very valid statements, sir. The Sandaime said, perhaps, but orchestrating a mob to beat down your sensei is not something I was expecting to ever see from Naruto. Kurenai said, I'll go and get them at once, sir. As she shoo-shined away. As Kurenai arrived at the academy, Naruto glanced at the window and thought, Tenten, shit, we don't have the whirlpool seals right now. As he turned quickly from where he was pulling a kunai and throwing it from 20 feet away from the window out the open window toward where Tenten was. Tenten, seeing this, eyes went wide and began to move before the kunai was covered in a puff of smoke, and Naruto appeared before replacing himself with Tenten, who appeared next to Naruto, now facing behind her where a Shushin was finishing, and the form of Kurenai could be seen there. Inside the classroom, the Naruto there went up in a puff of smoke, catching everyone's attention. Most had missed the kunai being thrown out and looked outside to see what was going on. Kurenai said, are you the real Naruto or another Kage Bunshin? Naruto said, real. Kurenai nods and said, the Sandaime has asked me to deliver you both to him. My name is Kurenai Yuhi. Naruto glanced at Tenten, who said, I guess we should go see him. Kurenai places her hand on both their shoulders and shoo-shined away. When they reappeared, they were inside the Sandaime office. Naruto blinked and looked around the office and said, that's strange. Catching everyone's attention. The Sandaime glanced at Naruto and asked, what's strange? Naruto said, I don't know, the room just doesn't feel the same as it usually does. I can't place my finger on it. As he looked around the room. The Sandaime coughed and said, I'm sure you know why you are here. Naruto said, not a clue. You. Tenten said, none either. As she looked confused. The Sandaime said, I see the reason I have called you both here is originally, I wanted to ask you, Tenten, why you were not available to train with your team yet you had time to spy on the graduating class. Naruto said, she was with me trying to talk me out of leaving this village. Causing the Sandaime and Kurenai to go wide-eyed a moment while Tenten just glanced at Naruto. The Sandaime asked, what do you mean leave the village? Naruto said, I'll answer your question if you answer one of mine first. What do you know about my family? Kurenai said, you're an orphan, Naruto. Naruto looked at her and said, what about it, Gigi, what do you know about my family? The Sandaime looked at Naruto and said, I told you before, Naruto, that I don't know who your parents are. Naruto looked back at him and said, do you know anything about the Uzumaki family then? The Sandaime said no. Naruto looked at him and said, just so you know, you just lost my trust, Sandaime-sama. After all, Mito Senju, wife of the Shodaime Hokage, maiden name was Uzumaki. My mother was Kushina Uzumaki, originally of Whirlpool Village, who moved here and became a ninja of our village. The Uzumaki were a clan from Whirlpool before Whirlpool was destroyed by the Hidden Mist Village. You were the apprentice of the Shodaime and student of the Nidaime. You trained Tsunade Senju. You were very familiar with their family because of this. Also, when my mother came to Konoha and joined it was during your original term in office, meaning you had to approve of her becoming a Konoha ninja. Want to try again? The Sandaime and Kurenai both went wide-eyed and the Sandaime asked, how do you know that? Naruto said you see the story I told to Iruka-sensei about being late as well as how I learned Kage Bunshin was mostly a lie. I did meet someone who did teach me the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu to help me where you failed. He also informed me about another secret that you have hid from me all these years on top of my mother. That secret is why I am hated. I have more chakra than anyone in this village. Where everyone else has to learn to move a twig or a small branch the way they want, I have to learn to move two fully grown trees. In order to learn to make a single Kage Bunshin, I had to learn leaf balancing, tree climbing, water walking, and kunai balancing. Before I learned all those things, I couldn't make less than 100 of them. Making a single Bunshin no Jutsu would take perfect chakra control, something thanks to Kyuubi I'll never have, but you know the thing is I learned all of that last night. A hand on his shoulder caused him to stop and Naruto glanced at Tenten, who said, "Calm down Naruto, please." As she was the one who placed her hand on his shoulder. Naruto closed his eyes and took a deep breath and said, "Fine." The Sandaime seeing this asked, "How are you involved in this, Tenten?" Naruto said, "When I was leaving the village I passed by a cabin in the woods her family owns. She heard me passing by since she had stayed there last night and she stopped me and convinced me to talk to her. The rest you could say is history." The Sandaime pulled out his pipe and began to smoke it and said, "What are your plans now, Naruto? I assume that you are not planning to leave now since you took the Genin test." Naruto looked at him as his focused and clouded over several times and Naruto said, "That's it, no trying to deny it, no telling me you're sorry, no telling me you had orders from the Yondaime, no telling me anything. You could tell an entire fucking village that hates my guts for saving their ass, and you can't even tell me shit, that's it you, As he was silenced by Tenten, who turned him around, driving a knee into his stomach, causing him to lose all the air he had in him and doubling over her knee. Tenten then raised him up by his collar and said, "You have every right to be pissed. I know you're upset. You find out not only about Kyuubi but also that the Yondaime was your father, your mother was from Whirlpool and was secretly married to the Yondaime, your grandmother was Tsunade Senju, and that bastard over there is your grandfather. Your godfather is Jiraiya of the Sannin, and everyone your entire life has lied to you or only cared about you out of debt to your parents or orders, but you're better than this, Naruto. It's not whose blood flows through your veins that makes up who you are, it's what you do that defines who and what you are." Naruto closed his eyes and lowered his head against Tenten's shoulder and after a moment said, "I think you broke my rib." While Kurenai was looking at the Sandaime with wide eyes, while the Sandaime had gone pale. Tenten bit her lip to keep from laughing and said, "I try, you want me to tell them? Kurenai is someone I trust." Naruto shrugged with his head still on her shoulder and Tenten said, "The person who informed Naruto all of this was the Yondaime himself. From what Naruto told me, the Yondaime sealed part of his soul in the seal of the Kyuubi. He did this because Jiraiya-sama was supposed to have already taught Naruto the basics of seals so he could have a good foundation to build off of, so when the part of the seal activated that held the Yondaime's soul, he could then begin to teach Naruto how to repair and keep the seal in good working condition, as well as how to use the Kyuubi chakra safely. Since seals degrade over time and Jiraiya-sama is already an old man, someone would be responsible with the upkeep of the seal, and who better than the person who has the most to win and lose by making sure it worked properly. Since Jiraiya-sama failed so far in his duties as a godfather, the Yondaime was forced to begin with the basics last night and trained Naruto as he slept. He didn't have enough time to teach him everything and his soul is now gone, but he did give Naruto enough and told him the secret of the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu so he could use Kage Bunshin to experiment and study seals as well as train in other areas. So with the number Naruto is able to make, he can learn a year or two worth of seals in a day, depending on how many Kage Bunshins he wishes to focus on seals." The Sandaime pulled off his hat and said, Naruto said, "Save it, I'm a reminder of a mistake at best, or the village's secret weapon at worst." The Sandaime said, "You are neither, Naruto." Naruto looked at him and said, "How can I trust you? The only person in this entire village I know I can trust is beside me. The only reason I'm not halfway to wave is because of her." The Sandaime asked, "Is there anything I can do to prove it to you?" Naruto thought a moment and said, "I want to get to know my family, but I don't want the world to know about them yet. I don't know if my dream is still to be Hokage, but I do know I want to prove I'm me and not the Kyuubi, and I don't want special treatment by being related to every Hokage. I want to earn my own respect. I would like access to info on seals though. I need to learn more about them if I am going to keep the Kyuubi seal working properly. I could use a couple extra missions that could be done solo to pay for my supplies and needs, since Tenten told me Genins usually get $25 for every D-rank mission they get, and I can't afford to live off of just a single mission a day." Kurenai said, "What makes you think you will only get a single mission a day?" Naruto said, "Dead Last and Rookie of the Year are always put together with the top kunoichi of the class. That means I'll be with Sakura and Sasuke, and that also means we will have Kakashi as our sensei for not only him being Dad's student but also because of the fact he's the only other known Sharingan in the village. Sarutobi blinked and said, "What do you mean by known Sharingan?" Naruto said, "Gigi, I may not be book smart, but I know that there was more to the Uchiha massacre than what first appears. I mean, Itachi kills every member of his clan by himself without one of the censors in this village, detecting the chakra usage and investigating. Either you or someone else in this village ordered people to stay away during the massacre, meaning Itachi had help. If it wasn't you, then that means someone else had a hand in helping Itachi do it, and the question is why. The only answer I could think of is someone wanted to get their hands on the Sharingan without causing a stink like Dad told me happened with Kakashi. That means someone high up now has access to the Sharingan that they most likely have either transplanted to themselves or others under them. Dad told me something he couldn't prove, but if you didn't do it, then the person Dad told me to be wary of would be a prime suspect." Sarutobi asked who. Naruto said Danzo. Dad told me he had reason to suspect Danzo was funding some kind of experiments on a seal to create super soldiers while making them loyal to him, and also something about bloodline experimentation. He didn't have enough to convict Danzo, but he thinks that having Root help Itachi would have been a more reasonable explanation than Itachi doing it himself. What does Danzo look like so I can avoid him? Sarutobi said, "Kurenai, would you mind hinging into Danzo a moment?" Kurenai nods before hinging into Danzo, and Naruto looked at it and said, "Looks like a Kakashi imitation." If Dad's right, then Danzo might have a Sharingan under those bandages on his face, and splitting them slightly would allow him to use it on others without being caught. The Sandaime thought it over a moment and said, "Whichever case, I think you should listen to his advice and avoid Danzo. So is there anything else you want besides what you already stated?" Naruto said, "I don't want others to know about Dad training me in seals. I want nothing to do with Jiraiya right now. My mind may know what it's doing, but my body doesn't yet, so I am going to have to train my body. I don't want Tenten punished or harmed in any way by being friends with me." Tenten snorts and said, "Friends, really? Is that all I am after everything we've been through together?" Naruto said, "Well, I was trying to save your dignity and honor by downplaying our relationship." Kurenai said, "Relationship? What kind of relationship?" Tenten said, "I know more about Naruto than anyone else in the world. I know his dreams, fears, hope, doubts, strengths and weakness, and he knows mine. I accepted him for him and not his family and not the Kyuubi. I respect and believe in him and he respects and believes in me. He's told me his secrets and I've told him mine. We have a relationship of faith, respect and trust of each other. That is the relationship we have." The Sandaime bowed his head and thought, "Thank you." Kurenai said, "So basically you just want to meet your family, keep your friends and family a secret and earn your own respect." Naruto said, "You forgot that I want to earn my own place in the world. Not have it handed to me for being related to who I am. Also, I want you to get a new desk, Gigi. I was conceived on it." Causing everyone to look at the desk in a new light. Kurenai shook her head and said, "I can see why you have become such good friends so quickly, Tenten." Tenten said something like that, "I'm sorry for not going to my team practice today, Hokage-sama, but after everything that has happened, I felt that being close by and showing I believe in Naruto and being there to congratulate him on passing was more important than team training today. That is why I didn't go to practice today." The Sandaime said, "Very well, I'll inform Guy that your absence was indeed an important personal matter that you do not wish to share." Tenten said, "Thank you, Hokage-sama." Naruto said, "So is that it? I mean, can we go? Cause I need to go by my place and get my money to head to Tenten's shop so I can get me some actual cloths that don't scream 'Here I am, kill me.'" Kurenai said, "Holy shit, you're a miracle worker, Tenten." Tenten frowned and said, "No, it's just that he couldn't come before because he was a civilian and civilians wouldn't let him get other things." Kurenai and the Sandaime frowned as they heard this, and the Sandaime said, "Well, in case you both don't know, you can't tell about the Kyuubi or who Naruto is related to without Naruto said my approval. I'm an Uzumaki, and while my clan is not a Konoha clan, it is a clan, and as the last blood Uzumaki I have final say in clan matters. My family jutsu seals, and if I decide to reveal Kyuubi to those who don't know, it is my choice. If there is any way to make that legal where I have the same rights as other clans where the council and Hokage can't get involved in clan matters, I would appreciate it and I am willing to pay for it." Sarutobi said, "So you don't want my involvement in your personal life?" Naruto said, "Partially. You're an old man who could die of old age any time. The next Hokage could try to strip me of everything I own. I have to protect myself somehow." Sarutobi said, "Very well. I'll have the correct documents when you come for your first mission should you pass the real genin test. Be at the academy tomorrow at 10 a.m. Naruto nods and opened the door and Tenten walked out with Naruto following her. Once they were gone, Kurenai said they were lying, sir. I know Tenten very well and I can tell she was hiding things. The Sandaime said I know, but about what I can't figure out. Naruto really was trained by Minato somehow. Of that I am sure. The question is what are they hiding, and why? Kurenai thought a moment and said I think I know sir, you couldn't see it but I saw small bruising around Tenten neck, she also had a small lump sir, I believe that their relationship is more intimate. Sarutobi said I see, that's understandable, it is similar to the situation that conceived Minato. Everything that happened her today is classified. Kurenai said about that sir. Sarutobi said yes. Kurenai put her hand on her hip as Sarutobi held his face and Kurenai said forgive me Hokage-sama for my disrespect. As a leader I greatly respect you but as a person I think you are a sorry piece of shit. As she bowed. The next moment the Sandaime desk exploded, sending wood splinters in every direction. Kurenai was wide-eyed as she saw the destruction of the desk while the Sandaime screamed knew all that finished paperwork my pipe my Ika. Kurenai looked at the knocked out Sandaime and said pervert. As she quickly left a couple of blocks away, Naruto began to chuckle lightly and Tenten asked what's so funny. Naruto said Gigi needs a new desk now. Tenten eyes widened and said you didn't. Naruto nods and Tenten said well I guess I can forgive you if you could do that thing with your tongue again. Naruto said surprise, you're not the only one to be taught a trick or two by Anko. Tenten blushed and said you know there's no hurry to get back to the shop. It's not like I can't open up shop for you. Naruto said my place. Tenten's stomach growled and she said for dessert, yeah, but let's get lunch first. Naruto said sure. As they went to Ichiraku and got takeout to take back to Naruto place. Chapter 24. After lunch, desert dinner and desert, Naruto and Tenten finally made it to the wolf claw weapon shop. It was a little after 5 and as they walked in Dustin looked at Tenten and then at Naruto and said hello dear, who is this? Tenten said this is Naruto, he came to get some proper ninja equipment. Naruto, this is the guy I was telling you about, my father Dustin. Naruto said it's a pleasure to meet you. And thought again. Dustin frowned and looked at Tenten and then at Naruto and then back to Tenten and said who are you and what has happened to my daughter? Tenten asked what do you mean dad? Dustin said I know my daughter. She's worked herself to the bone to where her body and mind are perfectly balanced with each other to use her weapons perfectly. Your body and mind are out of sync, so that tells me you are not my daughter. Who are you, a Yamanaka? Naruto sighed and started to say something when Tenten said hey, get fucked for the first time in your life for nearly an entire day long and see how much your body is in sync dad afterwards. Dad, by the way, you're going to be a grandpa. Naruto paled as he saw Dustin's eyes widen and then he turned to look at Naruto as he unleashed a massive amount of ki and Naruto looked at Tenten in desperation as she said my ass still hurts from you putting your finger in it. Naruto just had a moment to dodge, but in that moment his orange jumpsuit was sliced going from bottom to top as he dodged to the side and said but I shit. As he dodged another strike from the long sword Dustin had pulled out and was swinging at Naruto, who jumped up and grabbed a Kwandoe and used the shaft to deflect the next strike before he forced the long sword away and swung it around to attack Dustin's side, who brought his long sword around to deflect it, and Naruto then began to thrust it in different positions to try and immobilize Dustin. Laughter stopped all movement in the room as both Naruto and Dustin glanced over at Tenten, who was laughing, and Naruto said what's so funny? Tenten said I'm laughing at how easy it was to manipulate you, and dad, by the way, how does that weapon feel in your hands? Naruto blinked and looked at the Kwandoe and said I'm not sure. It feels more comfortable than the swords I was using before. Why? Dustin said you ever use a weapon like that before? Tenten said nope. Looks like your weapon found you, Naruto. Of every other weapon that you could have grabbed, that was the one you instinctively reached for like it was a part of your body. Naruto frowned and said, but that still doesn't explain why you lied to your dad. Tenten said, because now that dad has showed he will hurt you if you hurt me, he can't use the overprotective father thing again since we are an item now. As for what I am out of sync on dad, I pulled a muscle in my back when I drove my knee into the Baka stomach here, convincing him that he needs to get cloths from our store now that he's a ninja instead of that shit the villagers who can't tell the difference between the sword and the sheath sell him. Dustin eyes widened and said what are you talking about, dear? As he glanced at Naruto and Tenten. Naruto said furball. Dustin frowned and said so you both know, I take it. Naruto said yeah, worst secret in the village. Tenten said now you don't have a problem with Naruto, do you, Dad? Dustin said first, how far is your relationship since I didn't think you knew each other before today? Tenten said sorry Daddy about not telling you. I can say we have known each other far longer than you know of, but it wasn't until today that we could actually start to be together. He was an academy student before today, and while he's not an active genin yet he at least is out of the reach of the council. Dustin thought a moment and said I see I can understand where you are coming from, so how long have you actually been dating? Tenten said let's see last night was a year since we first met, we started to casual date after 2 months and actually officially became a couple after another 2 months last night, I snuck out and met with Naruto at the cabin for our 1-year anniversary and well some things happened. Dustin put his hands to his temples and said you had sex. Tenten said not last night some other shit happened a second seal on Naruto activated somehow when it happened it affected me also. Dustin looked up with narrowed eyes and said affected how? Tenten bit his lip and said until last night we didn't know about the Kyuubi when the second seal activated it sort of pulled Naruto into his mind and me as well, we met the Yondaime Hokage and his wife Naruto parents. Dustin's eyes widened and said what? Tenten said calm down Dad the Yondaime sealed a piece of his soul and a piece of Naruto mother inside the second seal and when it activated we both were pulled inside the seal and it may have only been a few hours in real life, but to Naruto and me it was like months that we talked and were trained by them Kushina taught me lots of things as did the Yondaime from time to time. Naruto was also taught a lot of things as well by his parents, it was a one-time thing but mentally we're probably 6 months to a year older which is one of the reason my body is out of sync today with my mind. I know things my body doesn't. The same could be said for Naruto, but with what happened in both of us discovering about the Kyuubi as well as the rest of Naruto family and having to cope with it and coming to terms of it brought Naruto and me closer together than ever. Dustin said, but why would Minato do that? Why did the seal activate last night of all nights? Naruto said well, you probably know this already, but seals degrade over time and so Dad created the second seal to make it where he could finish my training that my godfather was supposed to have started on seals. Unfortunately my godfather abandoned me all these years and Dad had to spend most of the time teaching me the basics that I should have already known. As for why last night, well I sort of asked Tenten to be my wife. Tenten said, and I accepted Dad. Dustin paled and said so you're engaged. Naruto said secretly though. Me and my family have a lot of enemies and well, they would like nothing more to hurt us and use our friends and family against us, so for now we are going to keep our relationship a secret. Dustin was quiet for several minutes and said so this seal activated because you asked my daughter to be your wife. Naruto said is that so hard to believe? I mean, since I was supposed to be trained by my godfather all these years, he would try to talk me out of getting married until I was strong enough to protect myself and my loved ones. The seal was designed to activate it when I asked someone to marry me so that way I would be mentally and physically strong enough to handle all the information I was given. While mentally I am strong enough, I'm not physically yet, but Mom and Dad told me things to help fix that, so until then nobody but Tenten me and you know this for both of our protections, but I would like your permission to be with your daughter as her husband. I would have asked before now, but raising myself all these years there are some things I didn't know were proper respect like that. Dustin looked at Tenten and asked are you sure about this, I mean are you truly happy with him? Tenten said there is no way I could ever love or trust anyone as much as I do Naruto Dad, I do love him. Dustin said alright, I trust you to take care of my daughter Namikaze. Naruto said Uzumaki sir Dad took Mom's clan name when they got married. Dustin nods and said then you have my permission, but how are you going to support yourselves? Tenten knows already the dangers that ninja face and how easy it is for ninja to not be able to retire because they have no other skills to fall back on. Naruto said I know this, and I have an idea I have talked over with Tenten and she agrees. Dad taught me a lot about seals. I can make custom seals to sell once I get my writing seals perfected to make seals correctly. As long as I have at least one hand, I can support myself and her if need be by selling seals. Dustin said yeah, I suppose you're right, but I would feel better if you had something else also. I mean you could survive off of them, but it wouldn't be much. Naruto said, I know, just trust me, I'll take care of Tenten if she needs it. Dustin said, and kids, what about if you have kids? Tenten said we'll be fine Dad. We got things we're working on, and I'm not helpless. Even if I someday have to quit being a kunoichi to raise a family, I am skilled as a blacksmith and weapon store operator. Dustin closes his eyes and said alright, just be sure dear. I don't want you to regret making a decision that can change your life later. Nothing personal against you Naruto, it's just as a father I have to look after my little girl. Naruto smiled and said I understand. I would do the same thing in your shoes. Dustin said, so you're here to get some supplies, huh? What do you need? Naruto looked at Tenten and said, well, an hour later Naruto left the shop and was dressed in a pair of black pants with a blue shirt with fishnet over the top of it. He also had a vest with 10 scroll in it. Naruto looked at his hand and saw a storage seal drawn on it and thought, this is definitely going to have to change. That looks like a chicken druid I need to train. The next day Naruto arrived at the academy, and when he walked into the room, all noise in the room stopped, and Naruto, who was dressed in a matching set of the cloths he got the day before, saw everyone looking at him and asked what. Kiba said, what's with the new cloths? Naruto looked at his cloths and said, oh, these. Well, I'm an orphan and have to buy my own cloths, so while we were in the academy, I've been secretly saving up my money from the orphan's allowance over the years and have been waiting until we actually graduate to get some real ninja cloths, because these cloths are more expensive than civilian cloths that we usually need here at the academy. Since I graduated yesterday, a friend of mine agreed to give me a small discount to be able to get properly outfitted. Cost me most of my saving, but if it saves my life later, it's well worth it. Sakura said, so then, that orange crap you used to wear was only 'cause it was cheap? Naruto said partially. If you want to know the other reason, think about the Hokage monument. Think about what wearing orange like that would be used for. Shikamaru said, stealth training. Naruto smirked and said, bingo brains. Ino said, so wait, I'm confused, you're saying wearing that orange was a good thing? Naruto looked at Ino and said, maybe not. We're ninja. Those of us who pass the real test will have to grow up and face the cold hard reality that none of us may make it to our next birthday. A woman once gave me the best advice I think all of us should hear. She told me, as ninja of Konoha, we are a family. Your squad is your brothers and sisters. Your fellow ninja are your cousins. Even when you leave by retiring or death, you're still family. We eat together, we fight together, we kill together, we drink together, we live together, and we die together. We protect each other and destroy those who threaten our family. She told me most teams show this by getting drunk together to show we have a union as teammates, friends, allies, and family. I may not be friends with you or even liked by some of you, but right now we are all equal in the eyes of the village. We are a family after today. Some of us may not still be here, some may not pass the final test, some may get injured or may be killed, but if my words have any effect on you and you agree with me, I would honestly like each of you to stand up and tell you name and rank. So from this day forward, no matter what future awaits us, we will remember this one day as a day our family that we have spent all these of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears beside was united for one moment. So when our children and grandchildren hear stories about our lives, we can say, let me tell you all about this one crazy-ass kid who painted the Hokage monument wearing orange. He was Naruto Uzumaki, initiate Genin of Konoha. A few moments of silence was heard and Kiba stood up and said, Kiba Inazuka, and my companion Akamaru, initiate Genin of Konoha. Shino stood up and said, Shino Aburame Genin, initiate of Konoha. Choji said, Choji Akamichi Genin, initiate of Konoha. Shikamaru said, troublesome Shikamaru Nara Genin, initiate of Konoha. Ino Yamanaka Amihai Hina Hinata Hyuga Sakura Haruno. One by one everyone in the class but Sasuke had stood up and said their name. Sasuke said HN. As everyone looked at him, Ino frowned and said, come on Sasuke-kun. Everyone else did it. Sasuke said, it's a waste of time. An elderly voice said, I'm sorry to hear you think that, Sasuke. I actually found it to be quite an inspiring display of the will of fire. Causing everyone to turn and see the Sandaime walk in along with Iruka, as well as 9 Jounins, including Kakashi Asuma and Kurenai. Naruto thought, I wonder what Gigi here for. The Sandaime said, usually a speech is given about the importance of being ninja of Konoha, about the dangers you may face, and how proud Konoha is to have you serving our village. Usually it's your sensei who gives the speech. Sometimes if I have the time I will come to give it, but in all my years I cannot remember once a time where there has been a speech given and a display of the will of fire that has made me more proud than the one we saw and witnessed from outside the classroom. As such, I'm not going to try and surpass it. I think you each should take what you have seen and heard to heart. After letting the words sink in for a moment, the Sandaime said, now the reason you are here, normally you would be divided into teams of 3 under a Jounin sensei who would test you and see who should become ninja of Konoha and who shouldn't, with usually only 3 teams passing, but because of the fact each of you know the secret behind the standard test given now, I am going to change the arrangements of teams slightly. There will still only be 3 teams passing this time. Causing murmurs to go through the room. The Sandaime waited a moment and when he saw someone was about to argue said, but each team will consist of a total of 12 Genins and 4 Jounins. I have decided that this year, for an experimental project that should prove beneficial, I will make a standard for all Genin graduates. You will be divided into 3 teams of 9 Genins under 3 of the Jounins behind me. You will then have a team of experienced Genin under another Jounin instructor also join you. Each of these Jounin specialize in one form of jutsu over another. Ninjutsu, Jinjutsu, Taijutsu, and Kenjutsu. They will work overall on all of the Genin in these 3 teams to improve the current level of everyone to a higher level. I believe if this idea works, then each of you could become a Chunin within a year. Now, are there any questions? Sakura raised her hand and the Sandaime said yes. What is your question? Sakura asked why did you want to start this with our class? The Sandaime looked at the class and said the Chunin exams are going to be held in 6 months. The hosting village of the Chunin exams always has the highest number of applicants. The idea of a rookie Genin class entering the exams and making it to the finals is stupid. Catching everyone's attention. Irika said, what was that, Naruto? In a scolding tone. Naruto said, I said that his idea is stupid because there are several things he has not taken into consideration. The Sandaime said, oh, and what might those things be? As he narrowed his eyes at Naruto. Naruto looked around the class and said, what is in this class? What is there more of in this one class than there has been in any class in the last 20 years? Clan heirs and heiresses. Since the exams are going to be in Konoha this time around, and with all these clan heirs and heiresses being Genin's, politics demand that they have to be put in the exams even if they are ready or not, but the thing you should realize is that this is also a free shot for other villages to weaken Konoha. Besides the Hyuga and Inuzuka clan, there is no other clan that has another heir or heiress to replace them in the clan head family. It would be too big of a target for at least one village to not use the exams to try and either capture one of Konoha bloodlines or eliminate the future leaders of the village. Even if there are other members of the clans that could replace the heir or heiress, they would have to take years of preparation to help them lead the village after the current clan head stepped down. It's not just other villages you have to worry about either. This is a perfect chance for non-clan ninja families who have been overlooked because of clans, and also civilians who want to gain their family more power in the council to make a move against the clans. They could hire other villages to send a team in for the exams to assassinate an heir or heiress. The Sandaime pursed his lip and said, Konoha does not do that. Naruto said, Orochimaru. Off to the side, Asuma curled his lip slightly and thought, game set match. The Sandaime said the actions of one. Naruto interrupted him and said, Aoi Rokosho. The Sandaime said the actions of 2. Naruto said, Mizuki team. At this everyone in the class looked confused. The Sandaime said, what do you mean, Mizuki? Naruto blinked and said, you mean you haven't found him yet? Damn, you might want to send a couple of Anbu to your office and have them check the Hokage vault. I saw him sneaking in your office window last night and found him inside the vault with some huge-ass scroll with the words forbidden on it in his hand. Since I know about some of the seals in the Hokage office, I know that when you're not in the office, the seals there make it where no one can use jutsu to enter or leave the office while inside the office, and I figured the vault was the same way, so I closed the door to the vault while he was distracted and I activated that Anbu messenger seal you showed me on your desk when I was a kid. I figured the Anbu would have found him when they came to the office to see who summoned them, but you really need to send someone to get Mizuki. He was locked in there all night with no bathroom and only scrolls and whatever he had in that bag for toilet paper. The Sandaime looked at Kakashi, who nods and shushins away, and the Sandaime said, why didn't you stay and notify the Anbu of what you found? Naruto said, hello guy who got the Anbu in trouble for not noticing or catching me for painting the mountain versus the word of a respected Chunin instructor. Asuma said, he's got you there. Just then a swirl of leaves appeared and Kakashi said, I am afraid what he said is true. You might want to air out the vault though. Most of the scrolls in the vault have been tampered with, though the seals wouldn't let him get into all of them. The Sandaime said, and Mizuki? Kakashi said, currently in the hands of Ibiki. He tried to open the trap scroll the Yondaime created and was knocked out. Naruto said, I don't know if it's important, but I heard Mizuki before I closed the door mention the Hidden Sound Village. I never heard of it, and it could have been something he was reading in that scroll, but I thought I would mention on it. The Sandaime said, I'll look into it. I want to thank you, Naruto, for doing a great service for Konoha. I do not know what Mizuki wanted the Forbidden Scroll for, but it could not have been for a good reason. As such, I am going to award you with an A-rank mission for not only capturing a traitor but also saving village secret. Shocking most of the room. Naruto said, cool. The Sandaime said, now as I was saying about the teams. Naruto said, it's still stupid. The Sandaime got an eyebrow twitch, causing a few to snicker, including Koreani and Asuma. The Sandaime said, you will follow my orders. Naruto said, those who don't follow the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Your orders put the lives of my comrades at risk for an experiment. Causing Kakashi's eye to widen a moment before he smiled behind his mask. The Sandaime slapped his head and said, "You are definitely Kushina-san." Naruto asked Kushina who? Looking confused. The Sandaime eye twitched as he winced at his slip and glared at Naruto, who smirked slightly and said, "Relax, I'm just messing with you. I already know that my mother was Kushina Uzumaki, originally of the hidden Whirlpool village, before it was destroyed. I also know that Whirlpool and Konoha were such close allies that this symbol right here that is on most of the cloths of Konoha is in fact the symbol for Whirlpool. It was Konoha's way of honoring the bond our two villages had before Whirlpool was destroyed." Sakura asked, "How do you know that?" "I've never read anything about it before." Naruto said, "Well, I had sex with a feudal lord's wife once." Causing everyone in the room to go wide-eyed and several people to scream, "What?" While Naruto thought I was the Wind Lord in Tenten and I did have sex and she was my wife. The Sandaime said, "You shouldn't joke around like that, Naruto." Naruto said, "You say something. I was just thinking about going and getting lost on the road of life." At this, all the adults in the room turned to Kakashi, who was reading his book, but you could tell he was smiling behind his mask. Just then an umbu arrived in a swirl of leaves and said, "Forgive me, Hokage-sama, but someone has painted the Hokage monument again." Everyone turned to Naruto, who said, "What? I was right here the entire time." Just then a shout of "Boss!" was heard before a panting Konohamaru came into the room along with Yuden and Moegi, also out of breath, holding paint cans in their hands, and Konohamaru saw Naruto and said, "Boss, you were right, nobody saw us until we were done. Today's the day you die, old man. Boss taught us the ultimate Kage killer move." As he saw the Sandaime in the room. Before anyone could react, all three members of the Konohamaru Corp put their hands together and said, "Sexy no jutsu," as they were covered in smoke. Once the smoke cleared enough for everyone to see, there stood three Tsunade, each wearing a bikini, and all three said, "Oh, Hokage-sama, we're here to be punished," saying it in a seductive tone as they walked forward. Everyone was wide-eyed while the Sandaime turned bright red, and he quickly covered his nose and turned to Naruto, glaring at him, and Naruto said, "Payback's a bitch, ha, Hokage-sama." Just then the Sandaime screamed out in pain as one of the Tsunade kicked him right between the legs, causing every guy in the room to cover themselves before all three Swanda were covered in smoke, reverting back to the Konohamaru Corp, and Konohamaru quickly grabbed the Hokage hat, slipping it on, and he said, "Yeah, we did it. Let's go to my new office and break in the Hokage desk like boss said all Hokage do." "You're in the middle, right, Moegi?" Moegi said, "Right, Konohamaru-kun, you ready to do the back door, Yuden?" Yuden said, "Yes, let's go." All three kids left the room quickly as Naruto burst out laughing, holding his side, while everyone was shocked hearing and seeing what they just did. Irika was the first to recover and said, "Naruto, what have you done?" Naruto calmed down and put his feet up on the desk while crossing his arms and said, "Revenge is a dish best served cold. The Sandaime here has lied to me my entire life about knowing who my parents were, as well as the fact that I have family still living. He hid the fact because he took my father as a hostage as an infant away from his mother because he wanted to keep the secret that he had sex with her. My grandmother was forced to leave the village, leaving her son here to be raised as an orphan to keep the secret. Both my parents died the day Kyuubi attacked from what I heard, but because of him trying to keep his honor, my father had to live nearly his entire life without ever knowing who his parents were, just like me." The Sandaime, who was holding himself, slowly stood up and said, "Naruto, you have to understand what I did was for both your father and your grandmother's own good." Naruto said, "Oh, let me see, I remember the story right. My grandmother's little brother had been killed by Iwanins, and he was all the family she had left alive at that point. She tried to drink herself death when Jiraiya came in, being the pervert he was, tried to use her guilt and the fact she was drunk to get some, since the only woman who would ever be with him had to either be drunk, drugged or paid. She may have been drunk, but at least she was sober enough to beat his ass, but because of that she was arrested and locked up in jail, where she decided to try and kill herself since she felt she had nothing left to live for. She was saved by someone coming to check on her, and you had her taken to your place to keep her quiet, where one thing led to another, and you took advantage of her moment of weakness and had sex with her. I also know that an Iwa assassin tried to kill her while she was under your care, and because of this she became extremely paranoid. And I know the rest of the history after that, where over time she eventually became a mother, but she was so paranoid that assassin from Iwa would come and try and kill her son after they tried to kill her and did kill her brother, that you took him away from her and told her she had to become a kunoichi because she wasn't fit to be a mother in your eyes. You told her the only way she could ever have her son back was to not only become a kunoichi but also find a man and marry him, which she tried to do until you sent her fiancé on a mission that got him killed. Once she saw that you wouldn't ever let her have her son, she had no choice but to leave Konoha because of knowing the fact she would have to watch him grow and not be allowed to go near him was too great of a pain for her, where all these years later she still hasn't returned to Konoha and you keep the secret that she has a grandson from her. Did I forget anything? The Sandaime closed his eyes and said no, your version is too close to the truth for me to discredit, though there are a few pieces that are twisted to paint me as a bad guy. Naruto said you changed her diapers when you were a genin. She was depressed, vulnerable, and looked up to you as a father, and you took advantage of her in her moment of weakness. You were the bad guy, even if I did edit the story slightly to make you seem more evil because you deserve it after all the years that you let me believe that I was a poor no-name orphan, when in fact I am the son of the clan heiress and related to 3 other clans who have ties to Konoha who could have taken me in or helped support me instead of forcing me to live on the streets and eat out of the garbage to survive when I was younger after the orphanage kicked me out at the age of 4. Your own student Jiraiya was supposed to be my godfather, and he took the money my parents left for me and all our possessions and went and used it on women and booze. You could have stepped in and reclaimed what was owed me, you could have ordered him to take me with him or stay here to raise me, or you could have done a million other things to make my life even slightly better, including adopt me yourself, since the Hokage and the council are not allowed to interfere in clan business. But instead at the age of 5 you had the council make me an adult so I could never be taken in by anyone and forbid all the clans who had legal right to me that I could have joined their clan since I am related to them, but you made a law saying they couldn't. You lost my respect. I told you that the only reason I am staying in this village is because of one person and only one person. If it wasn't for that person, I would have walked out and never looked back. The Sandaime sighed and said, what is it you want? Naruto closed his eyes and said, I want you to contact my grandmother. I don't care how you do it, but I want you to have her return to Konoha so that I can meet her. I have a very good idea who is going to be on the team I am, as well as which older genin team is going to be given to us. I want Enko as an additional instructor added to our sensei. People treat her like shit because she was following orders of her sensei. You know this, and have let the council and others treat her like shit, even blocking her promotions when she should be with those jounin up there as one of the elites of Konoha when the council won't let you promote her higher than a special jounin. This is a chance for her to be given the respect she has paid for and earned over the years in blood, sweat, duty, honor and humiliation, as others made fun of her and call her a snake whore just because of her sensei. The person I am staying in Konoha for has 2 relatives outside of the village. One is an uncle who is a missing nin for another village, and the other is his adopted daughter. He's a missing ninja from the Hidden Mist, and he became a missing nin after fighting against the Yondaime Mizukage who was sponsoring the bloodline civil war, and his adopted daughter has a bloodline Hayaton. She may be the last one in the world. I'm not going to ask you to let them be ninja of Konoha, but I would like you to let me make them retainers of my clan, which will protect her from being used as breeding stock for her bloodline and give him a legal reason to live here with her instead of living the life as a missing ninja. Also, since my clan symbol and the hidden whirlpool symbol are one and the same, I want to change the symbol for my clan. The Sandaime asked, and that would be? Naruto smirked and said, it's something I saw when I was preparing for a prank not too long ago. It was actually on an Umbu mask that hasn't been used yet. The Sandaime asked, and how do you know that? Naruto said, because I took the mask to help escape from Umbu headquarters when I was getting the security patrol route, so I knew when to pull my prank on the Hokage monument. Causing everyone's eyes to go wide, and Sakura screamed, you what? Naruto said, did I stutter? I broke into Umbu headquarters to get the patrol routes of village security so I would know when to pull my prank. Then I just took an Umbu cloak and mask from the storage area and put it on and walked right out of the building. Kakashi said, but how did you get in? Naruto said, I observed the building and saw the 4 plain-clothed Umbu who were supposed to do guard duty and map out their schedule. One is a woman who is supposed to be drinking tea at a tea shop, but she usually just sleeps until someone comes in or the manager of the tea shop wakes her up when one of the higher Umbu are in the area. The next is a guy cutting wood and putting the wood shavings in his bag, but I saw him pull his lunch out of the bag one day, and he never actually makes a cut on the piece of woods. Another is disguised as a drunk in the alley, but the bottle he supposedly drinks out of is dated nearly 30 years ago, so the alcohol would have ruined in it and poisoned him if it was real. And the other guy acts like a clerk in a lobby, but every morning at 8:15 he lets a hooker in out of the side door who gets under the desk and gives him blowjobs all day. Getting in was easy, I just had to henge into a beaky at 8:22 a.m. enter the building, and the 4 Umbu are so scared they will get into trouble for goofing off that they never bother to see if it was really him or a henge. If they had ever bothered to actually learn anything about Ibiki, they would know he always makes a report to the Sandaime every day at 8:22 a.m. The Sandaime coughed and then slightly giggled, and then burst out laughing and said, oh god Naruto, you are definitely your parents' son, so what the mask you took? Naruto reached into his vest and pulled out a scroll and opened it before unsealing a Hydra mask and an Umbu cloak and said the Uzumaki clan will have a Hydra as our symbol for two reasons. The first is because of our affinity to water. The other is because of the fact you don't know if you're really talking to me or a Kage Bunshin, and a Hydra is known because every time you cut off its head two always grow back in its place, and well, you get the picture. As the room was filled with Kage Bunshins. By the way, you might want to make a decision unless you want to become a great-grandfather soon, because Konohamaru is in your office popping Moegi cherry. Inside the Hokage office, Moegi, who was sitting on the Hokage desk, said, "So are you ready to pop my cherry, Konohamaru-kun?" Konohamaru said, "Yeah, let's pop this baby." As he drew back and shoved forward, slapped Moegi's hand which had a cherry in it, causing the cherry to fly into the air, and Yuden, who was behind Moegi, moved under it with his mouth open and caught it and said, "Now it's your turn, Konohamaru." Konohamaru said, "Man, being Hokage is so cool. Remember to mark the wall under my picture showing we done this in the office like the other Hokages." Back in the classroom, the Sandame looked to Kurenai, who frowned and shoo shins away. After she was gone, the Sandame said, "Is that all you want?" Naruto said, "Besides the stuff I told you yesterday when I first confronted you." The Sandame said, "Very well, were you able to stop them, Kurenai?" As he saw Kurenai arrive, Kurenai said, "Unfortunately, no sir." Konohamaru and Udon both popped Moegi cherry, and the fluids from it are going down her legs. Back in the Hokage office, Moegi said, "Damn that woman, she spilt the jar of cherries on my lap." What was she so upset about? Yuden said, "I don't know, but after we told her what we were doing, she seemed to relax." Back in the classroom, all the people in the room were wide-eyed, and Kurenai said, "And they didn't use protection either, sir." The Sandame groaned and looked at Naruto and said, "I hope you are happy, Naruto, you have ruined 3 academy students' lives." Naruto said, "Actually, I think I made it more fun, and they will be doing that over and over and over again in the future." Kurenai said, "I agree, Hokage-sama, they were really enjoying themselves before I showed up. Hell, I bet they are already at it again. Since it was too late to stop them, I just left them alone." The Sandame screamed, "You what, damn it." As he shoo-shined away. After he was gone, both Kurenai and Naruto burst out laughing and said, "I can't believe you played along like that." Kurenai said, "That is definitely a new way to pop a cherry, Naruto. You're going to give the poor man a heart attack." Naruto said, "Nah, just make his life miserable until my grandmother gets here. She will be the one to kill him." Asuma asked, "What were you laughing so much about, Kurenai? Hearing my nephew had sex is not something I think you should laugh about." Kurenai said, "Whoever said we were talking about sex? We were talking about this." As she pulled out a cherry and threw it in the air and caught it before she shoved it in her mouth and swallowed it. Asuma blinked, as did everyone in the class, and several people burst out laughing, and Iruka said, "You're hopeless, Naruto." Naruto said, "No, actually, thanks to a real special person, I have a lot of hope now, Iruka-sensei, but you should be scared. I decided to teach Konohamaru and his friends all my prank skills, and they will start your class in the new semester." Iruka screamed "Nuu" as fake tears fell out of his eyes. Just then the Sandame appeared and said, "I'm going to get you for that, Naruto." Naruto said, "No, you're not. You're going to be dealing with the fallout of today until you retire. All these children of clans and council members. You can count on the headaches they are going to give you unless you find a new Hokage soon. Since Orochimaru a traitor and Jiraiya a perverted dead man walking, your only choices are Kakashi, who is always late, Danzo, who is crippled, or Tsunade. Looks like you're going to have 2 pissed-off women on your hands soon, Gigi, with my grandmother being one of them. And Thought and Shizen the other one." The Sandame said, "And what will Tsunade do to you when she sees your newest creation from my grandson, who used her as a model, huh?" Naruto said, "Tsunade, known as the legendary sucker around the world for her luck at gambling and possibly her skills at blowjobs. Since she was a student of yours at one time, I wonder if you were with her like you were my grandmother. Is Tsunade really a legendary sucker, Gigi?" The Sandame couldn't keep the blush off his face, causing several to go wide-eyed in shock. Sakura said, "You know, now that I think about it, Naruto, Tsunade had blonde hair." Naruto said, "So do the Yamanaka clan, the Namikaze, and the Uzumaki." "What of it?" Sakura said, "Oh sorry, I was just about to say that I thought Tsunade was your grandmother." Naruto snorts and said, "Next you're going to say I'm the son of the Yondaime Hokage Minato Namikaze. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. My father and mother's married name were Uzumaki. My father worked under Jiraiya of the Sanins for a while and each earned the other's respect, which is why he was chosen as my godfather. Unfortunately, I don't have breast right now, so he doesn't want anything to do with me." Sakura blushed in embarrassment and said sorry. Naruto said it's cool Sakura, it would be awesome if my dad really was the yondaime and my grandmother was Tsunade. It would even be kind of cool to have the pedophile here as a grandfather. That would make me related to every Hokage of Konoha, but I'm just an Uzumaki. Only 2 of us are left in the world that I know about and it's up to me to rebuild and recreate my family the best I can. Kurenai said, who is the other one, Naruto? Naruto said, all I will say is her last name is Uzumaki. For her privacy, I won't tell you anything else about her. Sasuke, seeing a chance to get back at Naruto for revealing the clan restoration law, said, so dope, since you're the last of your clan that means you fall under the clan restoration law like me also. That means you can have more than one girlfriend or wife. Naruto smirked and said that law doesn't apply to me, the Uzumaki clan isn't a clan of Konoha team. The Sandaime, seeing a chance at revenge, also said it is now, and since you are considered an adult already by civilian and ninja standards, that means you also have to attend council meetings, Naruto. Naruto said, not really, I'll get kicked out the first time I'm in there by walking up to Danzo, ripping the bandages off his face and spitting in his face. I'm an immature brat who doesn't have any family to teach me right from wrong or proper manners, and by the time I am finally taught them, my grandmother will be in the village and will take my place on the council. Asuma said, I can't remember the last time I saw Dad get his ass handed to him in a debate like this. Naruto said it's 'cause he hasn't been with a woman in years. If he had, then he would know the rules. Asuma asked, rules, what rules? Note, I don't remember where I found this and I give credit to whoever created it, but it is too funny not to use. Naruto said the rules are as follows. 1. The female always makes the rules. 2. The rules are subject to change without notice. 3. No male can possibly know all the rules. 4. If the female suspects the male to know all the rules, she must immediately change some of the rules. 5. The female is never wrong. 6. If it appears the female is wrong, it is because of a flagrant misunderstanding caused by something the male did or said wrong. 7. If rule number 6 applies, the male must apologize immediately for causing the misunderstanding. 8. The female can change her mind at any time. 9. The male must never change his mind without the express written consent of the female. 10. The female has every right to be angry or upset at any time. 11. The male must remain calm at all times unless the female wants him to be angry or upset. 12. The female must under no circumstances let the male know whether she wants him to be angry or upset. 13. The male is expected to read the mind of the female at all times. 14. At all times what is important is what the female meant, not what she said. 15. If the male doesn't abide by the rules, it is because he can't take the heat, lacks backbone, and is a wimp. 16. If the female has PMS, all the rules are null and void, and the male must cater to her every whim. 17. Any attempt to document the rules could result in bodily harm. 18. If the male at any time believes he is right, he must refer to rule number 5. End quote. Everyone was looking at him with wide-eyed except Kurenai, who walked up and patted Naruto on the back and said, good boy. I see you have been trained perfectly. I'll have to give your friend an award for doing such a good job. Naruto said no reward is necessary. Kurenai-sensei, men are placed here for the sole purpose of catering to women and their needs. Not our wants. Kiba said no, he's been brainwashed. We must return to him his nuts before they are lost forever. Naruto turned to the sound of flesh hitting flesh and saw Kiba being beat down by half the girls in the class. Naruto thought, thank you Mom, Granny, Shizun and Ten. The Sandaime said, Irika, please read the teams off. I feel my sanity snapping. Irika said, right, Team 7 of registered Team 3 is Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Team 8 of registered Team 3 is Kiba, Hinata and Shino, and Team 10 of registered Team 3 is Ino, Shikamaru and Choji. Naruto said, thought so. Irika said, Sensei, please take your students and go. I need a drink. As he walked over and pulled out a bottle of sake from his desk. Asuma said, all right Team 3, let's meet on the roof. Before he left with Kurenai while Kakashi shined away. Naruto said, well come on, fate's bitch awaits us. As he got up and walked out the door followed by the others. Chapter 25. As Naruto and the other genins moved up the stairs to the roof, a puff of smoke appeared in front of them and an umbu said, Naruto Uzumaki-sama. Naruto looked at the umbu and thought, rude huh? And said yes. The umbu said, you have been summoned. I was ordered to retrieve you. Naruto turned to the other genins and said, looks like I get to have round 2. Tell everyone I'll be back and to keep an ear in the air. Carry out your orders, let's go. As he looked at the Umbu moved forward and put his hand on Naruto's shoulder and shined away with both of them. Kiba said, anyone else feel like we are missing something with Naruto? Shikamaru said, troublesome. As he walked up the stairs with the others. When the 9 genins made it to the roof, they saw Kurinai, Asuma and Kakashi there along with a man in spandex, a kid who looks like his clone Hyuga, and a girl with buns in her hair. Tenten looked around and said, where is Naruto? Before anyone had a chance to say anything, Naruto's voice was heard all over the village. To what do I owe the great honor of meeting you 3 in such a unique and wonderful place as this? Newsflash: just because you're doing things illegal doesn't mean you have to hide underground, so let me see if I can identify you 3 so well. We have Koharu and Hamura, the village elders, and Hiruzen, former teammates, and let's not forget the choke artist himself, Danzo. What was it, the extra choke of your chicken or the orgasm you had from jerking your chicken that kept you from opening your mouth that day, and saying you would stay behind when the Nidame was trying to decide if you or Hiruzen would be the Sandame Hokage? Eyes all over the village went wide as they heard this, and Danzo said, shut up, Nine-Tails child, and know your place. Underground in a 20 by 20 foot room was a desk with Danzo sitting behind it, and on each side of him were Koharu and Hamura. Across from them was Naruto, who was standing in front of them with his arms crossed. Naruto said, I would be careful with how you address me, Danzo. A voice behind Naruto said, oh, and why might that be? Causing Naruto's eyes to widen, and he jumped across to the side of the room quickly while turning to look at the person who was behind him and paled as he thought, oh fuck. Naruto said, Anko was right, you do look like a gay pedophilic son of a bitch, Orochimaru. Across the village, eyes widened as several ninja began to look around, and Anko, who had froze moment before when she heard that voice, now began to frantically look around. In the underground room, Naruto had one of his hands behind his back against the wall, sending chakra to his fingertips, drawing in a small area while eyeing the room. Orochimaru chuckled and said, your tongue seems quite quick. Naruto said, yeah, my fiancé says the same thing. Across town, Tenten's face became red as she froze, and Kurinai glanced at her and thought, oh, we are so talking later. Danzo said, fiancé, huh? Naruto looked at Danzo and said, tell me, Orochimaru, what are you doing in Konoha? I thought you would be preparing to assassinate the Kazekage right now. Orochimaru frowned and said, and why would I do something like that? Naruto looked at Orochimaru and said, I don't know what the choke artist and his 2 puppets over there have told you, but you know you shouldn't trust him. I've been planning to kill the bastard for a while now, and I've been gathering info on him and his operation, and I learned a lot of things that would surprise you, like Danzo has 4 adult Sharingans in his possession. Orochimaru's eyes widened and glanced at Danzo and said, does he now? Naruto said, yeah, 1 under those bandages on his face and 3 in that arm you grew him that contains the Mokuton bloodline. Danzo scowled and looked at Naruto and said, silence, boy. Naruto said, oh, it's boy now, before it was Nine-Tails child. Did I impress you, or is it that you're worried that Orochimaru going to find out you've been tricking him and plan to double-cross him at the Chunin exams? Orochimaru, who had changed his position, said, was he now, and how would he do that? Naruto said, his plan won't work, he doesn't have info on you like I do about your immortality jutsu. Orochimaru turned to Naruto and asked, and how do you know that? Naruto said, I overheard Kabuto giving a report to his other master Akasuna no Sasori. Orochimaru scowled and said, I see, I'll have to tie up that loose end, it seems. Naruto said, before we go all medieval and try to kill each other, I want to ask you something if you don't mind, Orochimaru. It's about your curse seal. Orochimaru blinked and said, oh, and why do you want to know about it? Naruto said, well, I got a chance to look at Anko seal once after I heard Kabuto speaking with Sasori, and I've come to a couple of conclusions about it. I know it has only a 1 in 10 chance of survival. Have you figured out why so many die? Orochimaru said, no. Naruto said, I see, have you checked the veins in the heart of those who died? Orochimaru blinked and said, no, why? Naruto said, well, you see, I think I have some info from studying your curse seal I might be able to bargain with you about if you're willing to help me get info out of these 3 first on another subject. One I think you might also be interested in. Another set of Sharingans in the world, besides those in Konoha and Itachi set. Orochimaru looked intrigued, while Danzo said, what is going on here? Naruto said, so you figured it out, Danzo? Danzo said, what have you done, Nine-Tails? Naruto said, I know whatever reason an S-rank missing nin like Orochimaru here is for will most likely end in my death, and I want to see you die before I do so. I activated the trap I have been setting for you, so that way if I can convince Orochimaru to let me die after you, then at least my current goal in life will be achieved. All I did was create a seal on the wall that makes your Sharingan and Mokuton bloodline useless while in this room, as well as make it where you can't Sushin out, and since Orochimaru has the only entrance to this blocked, if he decides to kill you for trying to betray him, then either way win. Now what was your plan again? Oh yes, as Orochimaru impersonates the Kazekage and attacks the Sandaime Hokage while the Suna and Oto shinobi attack the village along with the Ichibi no Shikaku, your root agents will wait until either Orochimaru kills Hiruzen or Hiruzen kills Orochimaru, and then while the winner is weak they move in and make you look like the village savior for killing Orochimaru, or they will disguise themselves as sound means and attack and kill the Sandaime. After that you use your Sharingan eyes on the council as well as the VIP and feudal lords, and have them vote for you as the Godaime Hokage. Since Hamaru and Koharu haven't moved or said anything this entire time, Orochimaru can see they are in fact under the Sharingan hypnotic abilities right now waiting on your orders. Danzo said, I see, it appears you are more like your grandfather than I first imagined. Naruto asked, oh, my grandfather, who might that be? Danzo said, do not try and act innocent, Nine-Tails child. I know for a fact that you are the grandson of Tsunade Senju and Hiruzen Sarutobi. Naruto smirked and said, ah, I see. You're trying to anger Orochimaru at me so he will kill me, giving you a chance to escape. I'm as good as dead anyways, so I won't confirm or deny anything right now. I want to know though, when did you join an alliance with Madara Uchiha Danzo? Orochimaru turned to Naruto and said, Madara Uchiha. Naruto said, yeah, he faked his death at the Valley of the End, went to the Land of Water, assassinated the Nidaime Mizukage, became the Sandaime Mizukage, started the bloodline civil war in the Land of Water to weaken those who could fight against his Sharingan. Then he created the Jinchuriki of the Sanbai named Yagura, who he made Yondaime Mizukage and uses his Sharingan to control. Before Danzo here sold out the information about my parents and where the Kyuubi was being sealed at here in Konoha, so Madara attacked my parents and then stole the Kyuubi before unleashing it on Konoha, where the Yondaime sacrificed his life to summon the Shinigami to seal the Kyuubi in me after forcing Madara to flee. Madara didn't take losing kindly and had Danzo here frame the Uchiha clan, saying they were planning a coup against the village, and had the elders who were under his Sharingan control to order Itachi to spy on Madara and kill the Uchiha clan so Madara could get his revenge on the Uchiha clan for betraying him to Hashirama, while also getting Itachi as a tool to aid him in destroying Konoha later. Madara then aided Itachi in killing the Uchiha clan, but Itachi knew it was a trick and tried to warn Sasuke by telling him, hate me, despise me, live an unsightly life, and when you have the same eyes as me, face me and there will be three of us with those eyes. He tried to tell Sasuke not to listen to him and that the real enemy was Madara, who is the third set of eyes he spoke about, but Sasuke was too young and stupid to realize it. Isn't that right, Danzo? Danzo said, it seems you have everything figured out. Naruto smirked and said, of course I do, after all, I'm not who or what you both think I really am. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes and Danzo said, what do you mean? Naruto chuckled and said, I can't believe after all this time the Sandaime's trap has finally worked. Both Danzo and Orochimaru eyes widened and Orochimaru said, what trap? Naruto said, you're just an added bonus right now, Orochimaru. You see, for years now Danzo has been using the people of Konoha as a hostage against the Sandaime Hokage. He's had his Rudambu ready to carry out his orders, which would have resulted in a civil war that would have cost several lives here in Konoha. As you know, the Yondaime Hokage did seal the Kyuubi in me the day I was born. The reason he did so was a very closely guarded secret. Orochimaru said, because you're his son. Naruto chuckled and said, maybe not. No, the real reason is because I am an Uzumaki by blood, and the Uzumaki clan has a special bloodline that allows us to drain, purify and use demonic chakra, where we can either weaken them or kill them. Until Madara Uchiha stole the Kyuubi from my clan back before Konoha was founded, my clan was given the task by the Six Realm Sage himself to keep the Bijou under control and drained of their chakra. As Danzo can tell you, Mito Senju was Konoha first Jinchuriki. When she went to the battle, Madara used the Kyuubi against Hashirama, and she sealed the Kyuubi in herself to keep it from being used. She did that because her maiden name was Uzumaki. When her life was nearly over, she sent word to the rest of the Uzumaki in Whirlpool to send someone else to guard the Kyuubi and keep it weakened, since it is impossible to kill a Bijou. They said my mother Kushina Uzumaki, who sealed the Kyuubi in herself and guarded it while protecting Konoha. Even if Madara hadn't have attacked and used his Sharingan to take it from her when I got old enough, I would have still became the Kyuubi Jinchuriki to ensure the demon doesn't harm anyone. The only reason it was able to the day it attacked Konoha was because Madara killed my mother when she was weak from childbirth. That's why all these years later, the QB has never once escaped from me because it can't unless an enemy destroys the seal holding it back. All those people who attacked me as a child here in Konoha were attempting to release the QB because of their ignorance. Naruto smirked and said, but the Sandaime and the Yondaime are not idiots. The Yondaime asked Jiraiya to be my godfather to begin teaching me about seals, so when the time was right a piece of his soul he also sealed in me could awaken and teach me the rest I needed to know to not only protect Konoha from the QB, but also other enemies like the two of you. It was for that reason the Sandaime has secretly had me become a specialist where I am most likely Konoha greatest expert on demons and seals. I played the idiot to make people underestimate me to also hide the fact of how good I really am. Think about it, could a regular academy student paint the Hokage monument in broad daylight wearing orange, sneak into the Hokage tower and capture a traitor who tried to steal the forbidden scroll, spy on Dasno and his root Umbu, as well as study your curse seal and your immortality jutsu, or sneak into Umbu headquarters and steal a mask and uniform? Danzo scowled and Naruto said, yeah, I knew you had the Sandaime's office bug, and so everything you heard about me being his grandson and Tsunade grandson was all an act, so you would try and confront me about it, Danzo, so that way I could spring the trap. Last night while you slept, I broke into your home and took some blood from you. Then I used one of the very secret seals that clan heads use to transfer the most heavily guarded secrets from clan head to clan head when they take over, you know, the ones that the other members of the same clan can't get into. I used one of those seals modified and tricked the seal you put on all your root agents into thinking that I am your chosen successor, Danzo, and so root is now under my control, and this whole meeting has been nothing but a setup to take out a traitor like you, and in the process I caught Orochimaru as well. You will both find that neither of you can use chakra at all in any form to escape, and right now half the Umbu and root in the village are stationed outside the space along with the real me ready to take you both out. See ya. As he went up in smoke. Up above ground, over 200 ninja were standing near the Yamato woodworks hearing the words that had been spread over the air and glancing at Naruto, reevaluating him, and the Sandaime Hokage looked at Naruto and thought, we will have words later, Naruto. Tenten, who was nearby in the trees, thought, well, you certainly changed your image, now Naruto, you're still dead though. Kakashi asked, is there a chance they could escape another way? Naruto said, I doubt it. I had Root secure the other entrances in and out with exploding tags and locking seals. Remember everyone, my chakra distortion seal will only work within 100 yards of that entrance, we have to keep them inside that area or they will have the use of all of their jutsu instead of taijutsu and kenjutsu. Also, if you pass that line on the ground you will lose the ability to use chakra, but do not kill Orochimaru. If you do, his immortality, jutsu will kick in and he will take over someone else's body elsewhere. This is a one-time chance. It was pure luck he fell into the trap we had for Danzo. Anko scowled and said, then how do we kill him? Naruto said, I have a jutsu that will do it, but you will have to keep him from moving while I do it. I'm the only one who can deal with him permanently. The Sandaime asked how. Just then, the bloody figure of Danzo appeared, walking like it was a zombie who moved 1 foot at a time slowly across the ground before he fell to the ground face first. The Sandaime motioned toward a couple of Umbu who began to move, and Naruto, who narrowed his eyes, screamed, stop, get back. It's just then a 20-foot-tall white snake appeared out of Danzo's body, and the snake had the face of Orochimaru, who dove at the two Umbu. Naruto, who had began to use chakra writing to draw seals in the air, said 6 realms sage Kuchiosios no Jutsu. 5 puffs of smoke appeared near Naruto, and while the smoke was covering the figure, chakra chains shot out as well as chakra strings striking the white snake before vines began to wrap around the snake as red chakra could be seen entering the snake while blue chakra was being sucked out of it as the snake, who had frozen in place a foot from eating the Umbu, was screaming trying to get free. As the smoke cleared, there was 6 Naruto standing there with 3 of them having chakra chains shooting out of their bodies binding the snake in place, while one Naruto was sending red chakra on chakra strings into the snake while another had chakra strings draining chakra out of it. The final Naruto, who was holding his hands on a glowing seal glyph on the ground, was panting and said, a little help, please use ninja wire to tie him down. I'm running out of chakra here. The shock that had come over everyone quickly wore off, and the Sandaime said, you heard him, quickly bind him. Is there anything I can do, Naruto? Naruto said, yeah, get Tenten over here and tell her to draw the whirlpool seal on all 6 of me, the one with chakra strings and me holding this seal glyph. She'll know what to do. Tenten landed and said, I heard you. Which one's the real you, since I need to use blood? Naruto said, doesn't matter, they're Bija Bunshins. Tenten eyes widened and said, but. Naruto said, talk later, help now please. Tenten quickly moved to one of the Naruto and cut him, and as he bled, she pulled out a jar of ink and mixed the blood and ink before she began to quickly draw the whirlpool seal on the 3 she was told to. After a few minutes, she said, done, want me to put it on the other 3? Naruto said, in a few minutes. Everyone stepped back. My chakra about to get toxic a moment. All the ninja did, and the three Naruto with the whirlpool seal on them were covered in red chakra before they were covered in blue chakra that got bigger and bigger. After a few minutes of this, the chakra receded back into all the Naruto, and Naruto said, "Okay, Tenten, you can do the other three now." The Sandaime asked what was that, Naruto. Naruto said the Uzumaki clan are one of the three descendants of the Six Realm Sage. The other two are the Senju and the Uchiha clan. The Uzumaki though have special jutsu that were given to us by the Six Realm Sage. One is this jutsu I am using, and what I just did was absorb about a tael's worth of Kyuubi chakra and purified it and send it into all three of my bodies as purified chakra. Hey Anko. Anko, who was watching the snake scream, said yeah. Naruto said, I need you to head to the chicken farm south of here. I need you to get an egg with an unborn chicken in it and bring it back, and quickly. Anko said, why? Naruto said, no time to explain, just hurry and make sure you don't break the egg or kill the chicken inside, unless of course you want the bastard to escape into another person. Anko frowned and shoo-shined away, and the Sandaime said, what are you going to do, Naruto? Just then Anko appeared and said, I got your egg. Naruto looked at one of the other Naruto who had chains coming out of him, and that Naruto nods and moved over to Anko and said, I need you to cut your finger and give me some blood. As he took the egg, Anko glared at cut her finger, and the Naruto took the blood and quickly drew a seal on it before he began chakra writing, and then threw the egg which was covered in chakra at the glowing seal glyph, and suddenly the snake quit moving and suddenly fell to the ground while the clone dove forward and grabbed the egg. Everyone was looking at the clone and the egg, and the clone said, it's over. The Sandaime said, what did you do? Naruto fell on his butt and said, Orochimaru's soul would have transferred to another body no matter what we did. It would have just taken him longer to take control of it, so what we did was give him a body but made sure it was one that we could control and that he would never be able to trade bodies again after this one. We summoned the Shinigami and used the unborn chicken's soul as the price to summon it and sealed Orochimaru's soul in the chicken's body. Now Orochimaru is inside that shell, and the best part is Anko gets to have her revenge on the bastard whenever she wants because he can't go past 100 yards from her and he can't die until Anko dies, but Anko can torture him any and every way she wants, and in a few hours he would heal back to new where she can do it all over again every day for the rest of her life. Anko looked at the egg, and the clone holding it said, Happy birthday and Merry Christmas. As he handed her the egg, Anko looked at the egg and dropped it on the ground, and a pale, weak, sick-looking baby chick appeared out of it and looked around, and Anko got a sadistic look on her face and pulled out a senbon and got on her knees, and the chick looked at Anko and a look of fear appeared on its face and it squeaked, and Anko said, squeak for mama. As she began to stab the chick over and over again as she began to laugh and cry at the same time. Naruto said, if you wait about a month and learn the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu Anko, I'll remove the curse seal from you. Anko eyes got wide and said, really? Naruto nods, and Anko said, how would you like to be a daddy? Naruto paled and said, I'm engaged. Anko said, I'll share. Naruto said, Anko said, I'll even get rid of that pesky virginity. Naruto said, too late. Anko pouted and said, how about I teach your girl how to do this thing with her tongue? Tenten walked over and said, already did. As she put her hand on Naruto's shoulder. Anko blinked and said, Bunch, you're his fiancé. Tenten blushed and nods and said, yeah. A root ninja said, what are your orders, Naruto-sama? Naruto said, search the base and find Koharu and Hamaru. Then retrieve all records and equipment that belong to Root and set up a base at the Chunnin exam stadium. Anko, for your years of loyal service to Konoha, I hereby give you control as Captain Commander of Root. Root, you are to hereby follow Anko orders as if they were mine. In the event Anko is unavailable, you will report to Ibiki or Inoichi Yamanaka. Your identities can only be known by them and the Hokage, and you are to follow the Hokage orders over all else's including mine, but you will report for mission orders from the three commanders I have stated. Understood. The Root said hi. Naruto said good, then pass the orders to the others and carry them out. Go night. As he fell back on the ground passed out, and the 5 other Naruto burst into ash and blood before they caught on fire and burned away. Tenten quickly moved to Naruto's side and sighed and said, chakra exhaustion again. The Sandaime said, Kakashi, take Naruto to the hospital, and I want a trusted team of Umbu to guard him besides myself. Tenten here is the only other visitor he may have. As he saw the look on Tenten's face, who smiled hearing the order. Kakashi said, hi, you coming? As he picked up Naruto. Tenten nods and gets to her feet, and they quickly left. Asuma walked over to the Sandaime and said, "So Pops, is he my nephew or not?" The Sandaime saw several people listening in and the Sandaime said, "I will speak with you and Naruto later and the entire truth about what has happened will be told then." Not until. As he looked at the snake body and then at the chick on the ground that Anko was poking and then at Danzo body and saw the bodies of Koharu and Hamura being brought out of the tunnel and thought, what a mess. Chapter 26. The sound of a heart monitor beeping echoed in a hospital room and Naruto slowly opened his eyes and closed them quickly while groaning. Tenten, hearing the groaning, moved from the chair she was in to Naruto's side and said, "Naruto, can you hear me?" Naruto groaned and said, "I hear angels." Tenten blushed a moment before she punched him in the head, causing him to scream as he sat up quickly and rubbed his head where she punched him and said, "What the hell was that for?" Tenten said, "For scaring me like that. Do you have any idea what went through my mind when I heard your voice in the air like that and then hear Orochimaru and Danzo?" Naruto said, Tenten punched him in the stomach and said, "Don't say it, you ass is sorry, alright. You publicly embarrassed me by talking about our sex lives. You revealed our relationship to the world without asking me, and then you a couch caught both their attention." And both Naruto and Tenten blinked as they saw the six-realm sage Naruto standing there and he smirked and said, "Hi." Naruto frowned and said, "What are you doing here? How are you here for that matter?" Sage said, "Well, I came by to congratulate you, Naruto." Naruto blinked and said, Congratulate me for what?" Sage said, "For doing what I prayed you would be able to do. You changed my history and destroyed the Bijus." Tenten said, What do you mean?" Sage said, "Please sit down, both of you, and know that like you did to Danzo, I am having what I am here to say to you broadcast around the world right now. Not just this village. I have also sealed this room so I can talk to you and explain the truth. For those of you who are listening to this and wondering who I am and what is going on, I have gone by many names over the years, but the name I am most famous for is the Six-Realm Sage, the man who gave chakra to the world and Jinchuriki of the Jubi. But I was originally born Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki and became the Jinchuriki of the Kyubi no Kitsune when it was unleashed on Konoha by Madara Uchiha. By the way, Madara, your plan for the Biju is over. As we speak, they are ceasing to exist. Ha 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 ha." In Rain Country, Madara clenched his fist and screamed in rage. Back in the hospital room, the sage said, "Now I guess you have a lot of questions as many others do. I guess I can start off with telling what Madara plan was. You see, in 3 years' time Madara and his Akatsuki group would have had collected the first 8 Biju and extracted them from their Jinchuriki. Madara wanted to recreate the legendary Jubi that was supposedly sealed inside of me and use its power to take over the world. When Madara played everyone to get Itachi Uchiha to kill his clan and leave Sasuke alive, he did this because Sasuke was the key Madara needed. He had Itachi torture Sasuke, mind turning him into an Avenger who then would receive the curse seal from Orochimaru when he was strong enough, be forced to use it several times until he fell to the lure of going to Orochimaru for power, who would drive him more insane while twisting his mind and turning every thought he had into revenge and power no matter the cost. He would then have Itachi and Sasuke fight, where he used his Sharingan to have Itachi feel guilt for killing his clan so Sasuke could kill him, but then he would turn Sasuke against Konoha, increasing his anger where he would want more power at any cost, using the curse seal more and more. He would force Sasuke to use the Mangekyo Sharingan to get his revenge until Sasuke went blind, where Sasuke would then have Itachi eyes transplanted into his own, unlocking the secret power of the Uchiha clan. After that he would kidnap a Hyuga. At the time it was Hinata who had confessed her love for me when the false leader of Akatsuki named Pain, who possessed the Rinnegan, came and destroyed Konoha. Sasuke, under the influence of Madara, raped and impregnated Hinata to create a child that would have the genes of the main house Byakugan and the eternal Sharingan, and then he planned to transplant the Rinnegan from the body of Pain when I killed him into the child, while sealing all 9 of the Biju into the child, who would be formed into the Jubi. Around the world people were shocked hearing this, and Sage said, but his plan didn't work right. Itachi, before his final battle with Sasuke, transplanted part of his Sharingan powers into me. Before Hinata would have gave birth to the child, a team was sent to try and rescue her when we found out where she was, since we didn't know what Madara and Sasuke wanted her for. It was Niji Lee Tenten and me who had went after her as well. At that time all the hidden villages in the world had been destroyed by Madara, and we were the only survivors from Konoha. When we got to where Hinata was being held, Sasuke and I fought and Sasuke lost, but before I could kill him Madara appeared and tried to capture me to take the Kyubi. I was able to kill him at the cost of my eyes. Hinata gave birth during the battle and died from it. Niji and Lee also died. Tenten, who had learned medical skills, took the Rinnegan that was still in Pain's body that Madara had with him and gave them to me, while Sasuke escaped with the infant to go where the other 8 Bija were being stored. After Tenten transplanted the eyes into me, we went after Sasuke. When we got to him, he was in the process of trying to seal the 8 bijou into himself while using the infant as a hostage. The chakra from the bijou, when it entered his body, merged with the curse seal. I knew there was no way to stop him once that happened, so I replaced him with myself in the sealing circle, sealing all 8 of the bijou inside of me with the Kyuubi. But Sasuke, who was using the curse seal, also began to be sucked into me as well. That was when Itachi gift to me activated. Tenten asked, what was it? Sage said Itachi didn't want Sasuke to die. He thought that I would kill him, but he didn't want to kill me either. His gift caused a black hole to appear similar to Kakashi Mangekyo Sharingan that can absorb things and send them to another time and place. Tenten the infant and I were all 3 sent back in time. I don't know how far it actually was, but the curse seal and the chakra from the bijou all merged together. I was a toad sage and was able to use nature chakra to fight against it for a while, and I eventually came up with a way to save myself. It was when I created the bijou as legend told. Naruto said, what, why did you do that? Sage said the chakra was toxic. If I would have died, the chakra would have been released on the world, destroying everything on the planet, every human, bug, plant and animal. I began to teach people to use chakra to defend themselves should I lose control, so they could fight and hopefully kill me. I had to remain in sage mode nearly every moment of every day. Tenten and I began to raise Hinata child as our own over the time, and eventually we fell in love and had 2 children, a son and a daughter. The son, having been born while I was using sage chakra, was able to draw on chakra from nature naturally. He was the first ancestor who became the Senju clan, while Hinata's son became the first ancestor for the Uchiha clan. My daughter became the first ancestor of the Uzumaki clan, who was born with the ability to drain and purify demonic chakra, while both my sons were able to use their ability to suppress or control me whenever my control started to slip. Tenten said, so that was when you created the bijou to save your children and the world? Sage said, yes, I created a special clone called the bijou clone that is basically a body without a soul that, as long as it has chakra, can heal from any damage and cannot be destroyed. I made 10 of them. Using the Rinnegan, I was able to split my soul between the 10 bodies. I created the whirlpool seal so that the bijou bunshin would drain chakra from me before I died. I used the Rinnegan to seal myself inside a tomb of earth and sent it into space, where it became what you now know as the moon, entrusting the bijou in the control of my children and their descendants. Naruto said, so if that is my future, why are you here? Sage chuckled and said, that is not your future, that is my past. You changed the future. When you made it impossible for Sasuke to get the curse seal, you erased the bijou. There were several ways to change the future. It was all linked on Sasuke. If Sasuke never got the curse seal, he couldn't have tainted the chakra of the bijou, making it where the Uzumaki clan who would drain and purify the demonic chakra, which resulted in the birth of nearly every bloodline on the planet, would have successfully drained the bijou before now. Even as we speak, if you notice, the whiskers showing you hold the Kyuubi are fading, but you know what the best thing is? As soon as it finishes, the world will shift one last time, revealing the true reality: a world without chakra, a world without demons, a world without ninja and shinobi. You both, who have the mark of the Shinigami on you, will wake up the day I first appeared in the past, but don't worry, you will like it there. As he faded away and the world went white, both Tenten and Naruto blinked as they found themselves on a beach. Tenten said, what the hell, where are we? A female voice said, that depends. Both Naruto and Tenten turned, and Tenten eyes widened and said in an unsure voice, Mom, is that you? A chuckle could be heard as Dustin could be seen walking up as well, and he said, yes, dear. Naruto eyes went wide and said, no way, Mom, Dad. As he ran over toward where he could see Minato and Kushina quickly grabbed him in a hug and said, oh my son, I am so happy to see you. Naruto said, but how? What? A chuckle was heard, and Naruto turned and paled as he saw the Shinigami standing there, who took off his mask and said, hi. Naruto blinked and said, what the hell? Kushina said, remember the 2 children you gave me? Meet your brother. Naruto said, but if he's my brother, then Shinigami said, don't worry about it. The future will take care of itself. Right now, your wife, her parents, you and your parents have a long life ahead of you to live. What you do with it will be your choice. You're in water country right now. You still have your memories and skills. What you do with them is your choice. Live a long and happy life and don't question how, because unlike you, I'm a good ninja who knows how to keep my secrets and my mouth shut. See you in the future someday, my family. As he was gone in a yellow flash, Naruto felt a tap on his shoulder and turned, seeing Tenten with tears on her face as well as a smile, and said, Naruto, I would like you to meet my mom, and this is the real her from the world where she engaged you and me, the one where Dad popped your mom's cherry, and those are your parents from that world where a family we. I'm so happy. As she hugged him, Naruto hugged her back as he looked at the 4 smiling adults and thought, he's right, why question things when I got everything I ever wanted? Family and love, what more could I ask for? As he pulled back and kissed Tenten passionately before picking her up and spinning her, as both began to laugh. The end.
Thank you for your views, likes, subscriptions, and overall support of my ongoing efforts to bring great content to all of you. Check out my Patreon for more mature fanfiction. The link is in the description and like everywhere on my channel.